Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown and Velez, and this is now episode 168. In this episode, we are going to talk about Giannis possibly being the best Buck ever, if LeBron's LA tenure has been a flop, the Sixers' issues, and Mitchell leaving Utah. We'll also have on draft expert Rafael Barlowe on to preview the national championship and give us his thoughts on the top prospects. A quick Patreon shout out to Jake the Snake, Corrupt, G Boog, Kobe, Dylan, Afosa, Mason, Rico, Gentile Drew, Cade MVP, Mark, SP4Z Shot, Jordan Watt, Evan, Dylan, Joel is the GOAT, Mayo, Andre, Matthew, Peter, Daniel, Ben, William, Ruthless Rootster, Sensei Stevie, Joel B, SA Crimes, Kevin S, Eagle Dollar, Tizzy, Corey, Get Funkoed, Dylan, Playboy Dom, Orlando, Big Chuck, Michael, Greg, Cole, Liam, T Grove, Tua Sucks on Ka, Ryan, Epic Lankiness, Travis Ball, Aaron Moran, It's Black Ace, Anthony, BJ, PJs, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Ruben, Dave, Muffins, John, Sean, Burner Hoops, Court Cousins, P. Dot, George, Akari, Mateen, and Jay Aqua.
Good old Jay Aqua, man. Let's get into it.
I also cannot forget about Danko and Matthew Jimenez, YouTube members. I'm going to start saying them first, so Jay Aqua goes last as always.
Okay.
I'm not cool with that, but whatever.
You don't want Jay Aqua to go last?
No.
Did you see that we're voting on the Discord MVP?
I never understood what that was. I voted on it.
I didn't vote. I voted for Dylan.
Whoever wins the MVP in a Discord server gets a free hoodie.
Really?
So yes. Serge is going to win unanimously.
Now is it unanimous? Now
he's damn near up about 6-7 votes.
Unanimous means that he gets all. He got all the votes.
I get it, but he damn near. It looked like he damn near going unanimously destroy everybody.
If we didn't vote for Serge, he was gonna have a stroke.
I didn't vote for Serge.
I know you didn't. I was shocked.
I did it on purpose.
Who did you vote for?
Dylan.
You voted for Dylan?
I honestly only voted for Dylan because he was the only one with one. So I just felt like I needed to be like the odd guy out. So I gave him 2 votes.
That was sweet of you.
Yeah.
Hakari's been.
Serge has been pissing me off as of late.
Has he been?
Yeah,
I mean, that's just his role.
Yeah, so I didn't vote for him. You voted for Serge?
I voted for Serge. Yeah, I think he's the MVP.
You guys are suckers, man.
I mean, you want to know why I think he's the MVP? I'm not saying that most people are active. Like Novel's active, Hakari, Jake, Rico, Dylan, Epic. They're all super active. There's no doubt about it. But also Monster. But I know that it doesn't matter any time of the day, 24/7. If I at Serge and I say something, he's going to answer like immediately, two seconds later.
Now he is the MVP for sure.
So that's why I have.
He's been trolling me for like 2 weeks.
he does the Madden League. He's the commissioner for the Madden League, and he keeps that.
Oh, so that's really why you.
But I heard he does a bad job
of being commissioner.
That's what I've heard.
He takes it too seriously. I feel like people that take things too seriously do bad jobs and things.
So that's really why you have him MVP, because he's the Madden.
He takes care of it.
No, that's not why. I just, you know what? The real reason why is because he's been a Pick a Side fan for so long, and I feel like especially since he's in high school, he won't be able to buy a hoodie. So I think this is the first opportunity for him to get a Pick a Side hoodie.
Okay.
So that's why
he doesn't have one yet.
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure he does not have one.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, he told me he know more about Pick a Side than half his schoolwork. So. Yeah.
He keeps up with every single take.
Serge is crazy, but nah, I'm not voting for him. I'll vote for him next time.
Okay.
I just finished watching this anime called Ranking of Kings, and
I saw that.
The character in it, his name is Boji, one of the most sweet characters I've ever seen in anime.
Is that who you put on your story that you were like, this is my new favorite anime character?
He's so pure in the way that he does things. It is influential. Ranking of Kings is a story about this little boy who is trying to be a king. He's trying to aspire to be a king. He's born into a royal family. His dad is a giant, but his dad was cursed, and the curse was that his son was going to be born weak. So Boji was born weak, and he was also born deaf and mute.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So, and people ridicule him and make fun of him, and he overcomes it and goes on like his journey. And it's a really great anime. It's really good.
Okay.
Like, it's one of the best that I've seen in a while.
What's it called again?
Ranking of Kings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's on Funimation.
How many episodes?
23.
Just one season, 23?
Mhm.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it just came out. It's really freaking good. I finished watching it like in 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
it's
many?
really good.
How long are the episodes? Or what? Like 23?
Like 22, 23
Word.
minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
I have like the ad-free Funimation, so it goes by rapidly.
I know what you're
Like,
saying.
I have no ads.
Tough.
So yeah, I was able to watch a lot and really binge it. It's really great. And Attack on Titan, the last episode of the series comes out today.
Really?
I have this tendency to when I'm watching a show, if a part gets boring, I skip throughout the part, like that whole scene, and I do that a lot in shows. So realistically, if it's a 50-minute show, I'm only watching like 20, 25 minutes.
It's pretty weird, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it
to
is
you.
extreme. That's why I can't watch shows, because I really can't. Like if a part is like
Boring.
I
you,
get
you're
into
just
my
like,
vibe where I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear them talk, or I don't
Uh-huh.
want to see this weird kissy. I just skip
But
the
most
whole
of that
part.
is part of the plot. It
I
moves the
know
plot
that's
forward.
why I just stopped watching.
So you'd be
shows in
mad
general.
confused at some point.
I do, in fact, to be extremely confused when I get to a point, like, because I tried to watch get back into Snowfall, and I was just like, nah, this part is boring as shit. I gotta skip this part, and I'm trying to not do it,
Okay.
but I just keep doing this. I don't even watch shows anymore.
I think there's a problem, bro. Your attention span is fucked.
It is mentally destroyed. It is, honestly, and I'm trying to get it back, but I can't.
That phone of yours, man. Throw it in the trash.
It's not my phone. Even you think it's my phone?
Technology, man.
What are you talking
It's
about?
frying your brain up.
I don't know. I'm trying to watch.
Do you
shows.
spend a lot of time on TikTok?
You know I don't.
You don't?
You spend a
Well,
lot
just
of
watching
time here.
videos. I know you don't make them, but
Like
watch
if I were to ask you to pull up like your screen time, over under 10 hours.
Over under. It would be under an hour. If you want to know.
No.
If you
that's
wanna,
a lie.
No, I swear to God, you want to know what's my like most screen time? It's YouTube.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
No,
your
you can
phone.
see your screen time.
On my phone.
Yeah.
Weekly screen
I'm
time.
sorry. I thought he meant TikTok. I
Your
apologize.
weekly screen time.
Oh, like 16, 17 hours.
Oh my god. That's
Yeah,
horrible.
I mean, my daily average is not something I'm proud of either, bro. Mine's like 11.
I can look at it right now.
Yeah,
Let me see.
11's a lot.
How do I do it?
You go into settings.
This past week I was at like 10.
Yeah,
Go to
that's pretty good.
settings.
Go to settings. You scroll down. It's under focus. It should say
Screen
screen time.
time. Oh, mine's is actually not that bad. 5 hours and 13 minutes.
That's all day.
That's your screen time?
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's actually not bad.
49% down from last week, though.
You
Nice.
might be in the 1% of people that have it that low. That's a low number.
Really?
Yeah, that's a low
Yeah,
number
so-
for this generation. Yeah.
It's only today. It's
Oh,
only
yeah, it
talking
is
about
only today.
Yeah.
Damn.
Today you've been on your phone for 5 hours already?
All right, I'm sorry.
Holy shit, what the hell?
So, yeah, that was a day.
I mean, mine's pretty bad then. Saying I was on the phone for 11 hours today.
Damn.
I don't think that's true, honestly.
That's horrible.
Well, the week just started.
I was on Roku for 7 hours.
Okay.
Which is my TV, which is
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, so that shouldn't even count.
Oh, okay. So,
Interesting.
I found out my weekly average. It's like 121 hours a week.
Okay, I'll do
Divide
that.
that by 7.
Okay.
121 divided by 7.
Let's see. So I was right.
were.
Bro, you average 17 hours. Damn, your eyes are cooked.
Yeah.
Not only your eyes, bro. That brain of yours is.
You know, a lot of it
done
is
up.
in Discord. I really be in Discord a lot. So
I mean, listen, that's a good thing.
yeah, Discord and YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Just
Okay.
like random. It'll be just
That's
like,
probably why. Yeah, I'm gonna change my lifestyle to make it to where I'm only on the phone for a little bit.
I'm trying, man. It's hard, bro. I be bored. The game got boring. So games out. TV gets boring for me.
You got to do deep work. That's what it's all about.
What's that?
You got to just distract yourself from your phone by doing things that are consume your time, like work.
Yeah. I try to read a book.
Like reading books
I
helps.
I can't.
Oh.
I can't sit there. I sit there. I open a book. I get to
It makes you
actually
feel better. I don't read either, man. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
nah.
not intriguing to me either.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm reading is notes for school. That's the only thing because I'm forced to.
Or audiobooks. You can use that. You can do
Audiobooks does sound like
I listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Really?
The audiobook version.
You know what?
yes.
I'm gonna try that next. Audiobooks. I think that's the next go-to move.
Okay.
So we have a packed show today. We have a lot of topics here that I know are going to get heated, and there's going to be some debates in here. And also we're going to have Rafael on the show, who's an NBA draft expert. He works for NBA Big Board.
Nice.
So we're going to have a big-time guest on. First topic. Giannis recently passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points in Milwaukee Bucks history. Giannis now reigns supreme at number 1. Is he already the best Milwaukee Buck ever? Just won a championship, 2-time MVP. Riv, the floor is yours. As somebody who has said Giannis is not an elite offensive player, He's this and he's that.
Wow, setting me up.
I'll tell you what, I like that. I like that. You call out takes, so bang, right back at you.
You set me up to the Bucks fan free. That's crazy. I like that. No, I think it's too early. I think, what Giannis is doing, he's probably having one of the greatest, if not the greatest, 4 or 5 year peak, like 4 or 5 year stretch of just great runs. He's 2-time MVP, DPOY championship, all NBA first teams, all defense, all that good stuff. So he's definitely having one of those great stretches. But you look at what Kareem did, averages of 32 points a game, 35 points a game. Like, looking at his numbers, 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds, 17 rebounds. He won an MVP. He won a championship. He didn't make the playoffs a few times, so that's something to be seen. But I think, it's still, for somebody to eclipse one, they'll have to do a lot more. And I don't think Giannis has done a lot more. I think for Kareem, what he did coming out of college, being the greatest college player in history, and then going right into the NBA and being that dominant from day one, kind of puts him a little bit ahead of Giannis, who had to learn, who had to grow into becoming that player. So I think for me, I would still have Kareem a little bit over him. But probably in a year or two, when Giannis, gets to the finals this year, possibly wins another MVP, which he will, he'll definitely go over Kareem.
Tell you what, Kareem's accolades in Milwaukee is impressive. You have, in 6 years, 3 MVPs, 2 scoring titles, a Rookie of the Year, first-team All-NBA from 71 to 74. In his first year in the league, he was second-team All-NBA, 2-time All-Defense first team, 2-time All-Defense second team, 2 finals appearance, 1 in his second year where he won finals MVP and the finals, obviously. And his second year, before leaving Milwaukee, he made it to the finals also. He only missed the playoffs one time, and that was his last year in Milwaukee. And that's when he decided that he wanted to request a trade and get out of there, and he spent the rest of his career in LA. But coming into the league and being this dominant off rip is something that you can't ignore. He also did 4 years in college at the University of Southern California, UCLA. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it stands for. I'm not going to lie to you. But I know he went to UCLA.
He was UCLA, brother, man. UCLA.
Correct. What does it stand for?
Central Los Angeles.
Central Los Angeles. Okay, I apologize. But in those 3 years, he's arguably the greatest, if not the greatest, college athlete of all time. For him to translate it immediately into the NBA, and over his 6 years, averaged 30 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, and steals, and blocks. Shout out to Joel Moran. He had about 5 of those in his 6 years at Milwaukee. He was absolutely fantastic. I think that Giannis will easily eclipse him as the greatest Milwaukee Buck, no doubt about it. But I think as of right now, where it stands, I can't put him above him.
I'm surprised that you guys are saying that. I think he's already the best Milwaukee Buck of all time. And if you look at Kareem's stats in Milwaukee, you say, wow, he's definitely better than Giannis. And we're talking about being a better player. Okay, he was a better player in his 6 seasons than Giannis has been in those 9 seasons that he's been in Milwaukee. There's no doubt about it. But when you talk about the story of Giannis, how he's constantly gotten better, what he's already accomplished, this is somebody who was scouted all the way from Greece, who nobody thought would become this good. Milwaukee Bucks fans saw Giannis as a rookie continue to eventually ascend to an all-star in his 4th season, and then to a superstar in his 5th season. There's something to be said about a fan base watching a player grow into an exceptional player. Kareem was already that off-rip. They watch Giannis grow. Giannis, I feel like, is ingrained in that city. The fact that he didn't turn down a max extension. He signed the max and didn't demand a trade to a better situation showcases the loyalty to Milwaukee. And you look at the accolades. Yeah, Kareem is a 3-time MVP in those 6 seasons. But Giannis is already the all-time leader in points, in blocks, in triple-doubles, 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, going to get another one this season. He's already a Finals MVP. He's won a championship, a 50-year drought that Milwaukee had. Kareem in his 6 seasons won 1 championship in Milwaukee. Giannis has won 1 championship as well. And
in 7 or 8 seasons.
You're right.
Took him to 2. Took him to 2, though.
But who's to say that Giannis can't win this season? It can very well happen. It can very well happen.
I'm with you there.
He's a 2-time MVP already, Defensive Player of the Year. The award wasn't given at the time Kareem played. Yep. That's why he probably didn't win it. And Giannis, 4-time All-Defensive Team. The only thing Giannis doesn't have over Kareem at this point is just that 1 more MVP, which, considering how the MVP ladder is shaping out right now, he can very well get it after this season. because Jokic team and with the Nuggets, they're a lower seed. They might not give it to him. Joel Embiid, they're slipping. The Sixers are slipping in the seedings. The Bucks feel like the team with the best player in Giannis and a record that is respectable enough to give Giannis the award. Because of that, what doesn't Giannis have that Kareem has when it comes to being a Buck? Just being on the Bucks only. I feel like Giannis is already the greatest Milwaukee Buck of all time. And another thing that also helps him is his personality. Every single game, even after he broke Kareem's record, he was still saying dad jokes. He has a book that he brings to every press conference titled Dad Jokes, and he tells a dad joke to the media. The way he's loved, the underdog story he has, and he's built it mostly in Milwaukee, to me, I don't think Kareem ever had that type of personality to where he had that type of relationship with the city. I think Giannis has that, and he has the performance, the accolades, and the statistics to back it up on the court. That's why I think he's already the best Buck ever.
I think.
And he means not only that, he means more to Bucks fans than Kareem means, and part of that is time, of course. But another reason is because what Giannis is doing is recent.
And now you're saying that exactly recent. It's a little recency bias in this sense where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came to the Milwaukee Bucks in their second year as a franchise ever. So this
the NBA also, yeah.
I understand it was just starting out, but I'm saying he was one of the main pieces. You had their inaugural season. The year after that, that's when they got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He built that foundation for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they hadn't reached that same success since he had left, like you mentioned, a 50-year drought where Giannis had ended that drought for them. But he can't be ignored what he did immediately. And I understand what you're saying. He means a lot to the city. I'm sure before Giannis Antetokounmpo came to town, all they ever could preach about was how they had the greatest basketball player of all time on their squad. Not every fan saying that, but Milwaukee fans can say that they feel like that because that's how much Kareem Abdul-Jabbar meant to the city of Milwaukee.
Let me give you an example. And this might be a little bit far-fetched. It might not be a good example, but I think the reasoning here will suffice. Miami Heat.
I was just going to say that. That's
LeBron
crazy.
brought the Heat 2 championships. He was the best player by far, even though Dwayne Wade was still on those teams. I think every Heat fan resonates more with Dwayne Wade and his story more than LeBron and his when he went to Miami.
And here's the answer to that. Dwayne Wade was drafted by the Heat. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks.
But he left.
He started his career with Milwaukee.
Dwayne Wade left the Heat for one season to go to play for his hometown in Chicago, but he left already past his prime. He was a Heat for life. It feels like Giannis is going to be a Buck for life. And you look at these accolades, they're both 6-time All-Stars. Granted, Giannis has 3 more seasons on him.
The question initially was, who's the best Milwaukee? Is he the best Milwaukee Buck right
too
now?
much
but this is the thing.
Because we all can agree right here at this table, Giannis will be the greatest Milwaukee Buck ever, easily. But if we're talking about right now, in a span of 6 years, he accomplished more than Giannis has in the 9 seasons.
He hasn't.
And he just got started. Well, are we talking about totality or are we talking accolades?
Yeah, these are the actors right here. In the 6 seasons, Kareem has been with the Bucks. In the 9 seasons, Giannis has been with the Bucks. Okay. They are both 6-time All-Stars. They are both 6-time All-NBA performers. Giannis is going to get his 6th this season for sure.
Oh, yeah,
we know he's going to be that. Kareem was a 3-time MVP. Giannis was a 2-time MVP. Both had a Finals MVP. Right. Kareem, 4-time defensive team. Giannis, 4-time defensive team. Going to get his 5th.
Does Giannis have a scoring title?
No.
He does not have a scoring title. He can get it this season,
Kareem
though,
has too. LeBron probably will get it.
So what we're saying is essentially what Kareem did in 6.
What I'm saying is that the only thing Kareem has over Giannis at this point in terms of sheer accolades
is the extra MVP.
It's also
and another finals
you
appearance.
You can't forget statistical dominance. I understand Giannis has the totality because he's played more seasons in Milwaukee, but if you're just looking at what Kareem did in his 6 years from 100%. The statistical standpoint, he dominated the league a little bit better than Giannis in his 9 seasons. Even his playoff numbers are better than Giannis's as a Milwaukee Buck. So I think looking at that, and also what Kareem did in 6 as opposed to Giannis's 9. Obviously, Giannis has the DPOYs because Kareem.
And it took him a little bit to get going. He was younger. It took time,
Giannis,
and I don't hold that
I get what you're saying, though. Like the D-Wade LeBron one was a good example because it was a good example because of the idea. D-Wade was loved, and he got there drafted. They watched him grow. So I understand from the love aspect why Giannis, people would consider that him the best Buck. But I think
there's something to be said about remaining loyal to a city.
Yeah, I agree.
Kareem didn't do that. Giannis is doing that currently.
Again, but we're talking about
when
right
he had
now.
a big opportunity to leave.
I agree.
Two teams like the Golden State, two teams like the Miami Heat that were one piece away. Giannis decided to stay and say, you know what, Jrue Holiday's enough.
But does that change from who's better as the one, or does that just show who's more loved?
Who's better as a player, or who's the best Buck of all time?
Those
are in my opinion, the context of those two questions are very different.
Who's the best Bucks player of all time? That's the question.
Who's the best Buck of all time? Has Giannis passed Kareem as the best Buck of all time? I think he's passed him. He's already the number one leader in points. Right now, Giannis is number 2 in a lot of stats like rebounds.
Already, but 3 years more.
Yeah, but he's already.
Was.
You're right, but 3 years more. But
he was younger. I agree.
He didn't get the consistent starter minutes until his third, fourth season, and he didn't make that big of impact until his third, fourth season. We look at these past 4 years from Giannis. He has won 2 MVPs. He's been in the MVP race every single season. You can argue last year he should have finished top 3 in the voting had voter fatigue not been a thing, and the playoff failures that were a stain on his career have not been a thing. What Giannis has done, the story of Giannis, makes him the best Buck of all time. Coming from all these playoff misfortunes that he suffered, to come back down 0-2 against Brooklyn, to come back down 0-2 against Phoenix, and drop 50 points in the finals when your knee, is inches away from giving out because he hyperextended and he could have had a serious knee injury. That all matters in the context of this conversation.
In year 2, Kareem won the finals and finals MVP. In year 2.
You're right. You're right.
Year 2 is kind of crazy.
You're right. Year 2. But Kareem, we knew he was that.
Facts.
Kareem was the best college player to ever play.
Lou Alcindor, baby.
Yeah, Lou Alcindor. He was destined to be the greatest.
He was loved in Milwaukee. I do firmly believe that. There was a shift in when he changed his religion where he felt like very like everyone like I don't want to.
He left Milwaukee because he said
going on in his life.
Said the Midwest doesn't fit his cultural needs. That's exactly what he said.
And he wanted to go back home.
I mean,
yeah, but no, actually, the Lakers were not his first option to get traded.
What was his first option?
The Knicks were the first option. I forgot the other team, but the Lakers were his third option.
I just watched the documentary, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar one on HBO Go. That's why I'm wondering.
You don't remember his second option?
I don't. I know the first one was the Knicks, though.
That's crazy. Imagine y'all would have got
the Knicks were good in the 70s.
Imagine y'all would have got Kareem, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Y'all just be folding, bro.
We could have had Kareem with Walt Frazier.
And y'all won in the 70s, too.
They won in 73.
He requested a trade from Milwaukee. Kareem did.
Yeah.
And he said that he privately requested a trade to the New York Knicks, with his second choice being the Washington Bullets.
Wow.
And his third, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Damn.
Washington Bullets.
Huh. He never spoke negatively of Milwaukee fans, but he said that being in the Midwest did not fit his cultural needs.
Okay.
So that's what he said.
Washington Bullets. Interesting.
Yeah, adjusting to that cold weather is a different type of mentality, too.
Wasn't the Washington Bullets in D.C.?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it the same weather as us?
Yeah, but not Milwaukee.
That is true. Yeah, it is ice.
No, it's
there.
different. It's different over there.
Giannis over Lou Alcindor. I'm calling him Lou Alcindor so early.
I think Giannis is already the best Buck of all time. He's number 1 in, like I said, points, triple doubles, and blocks. He's going to be number 1 in rebounds and assists eventually.
I feel like the media has a lot to play into that too, though.
He's going to finish number 1 in almost every single Bucks category.
The Bucks.
And I'm talking about like it's gonna be in 2 seasons. Next year, 2 seasons.
See, but that's what I'm saying. If we're all projecting, of course we're all gonna agree that he's gonna.
But
be
right
the best.
now, the only thing Kareem has over Giannis is the MVP. That's the only thing he has over him.
And how quickly he was able to accomplish everything.
I understand that, but different parts in their development. You're also talking about Kareem, who came into the league, went to college for 4 years, and came at 22 years old. Giannis came at the league in 19. And I feel like the story of I think Bucks fans call Giannis the best Buck of all time. Now, I wouldn't be shocked.
Milwaukee won 27 games in their inaugural season. The very next season, they won over 50 with Kareem.
Yeah, Kareem
His impact
is a legend.
was immediate.
No, I'm saying Kareem is a legend, but
I do get it.
Listen,
Giannis,
we're talking about the greats. There's no saying one's bad.
But this is just the accolades of the things.
I get it.
There's no accolade Kareem has over Giannis that Giannis isn't going to get or already has. Like it's only the MVP.
Oh yeah, I think in about a year or two, this conversation would be dead anyways. You know, I think Giannis.
This conversation is I'll actually be honest about it. This conversation is another Giannis playoff run away this season from being over
100%
already.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
But that's how close it is. It's this close.
100%.
That being said, I have no regret putting him already there.
No, that's not.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
I don't know. Like, I just look at what Lou Alcindor did in 6 years.
Listen, Kareem's gonna watch this. He's gonna be upset at you, bro.
Calling him Lou Alcindor.
It's not his name anymore, bro.
Wasn't that his name in Milwaukee?
It was.
So I'm
but
calling
then he
him
changed it.
Oh, I'm talking about Milwaukee. Lou Alcindor. What he did in 6. It's pretty tough, man. Some legendary stuff of what he did in 6 years,
kidding
man.
me?
But different era. I feel like media, like I said before, media has a lot to play in it, and like I think different era, different vibe, different energy. So, but for Giannis, him being like that D-Wade, that Steph Curry type for his franchise, it does hold some extreme weight, especially because his story is a lot deeper than both of those guys. So it definitely holds some extreme weight. So I don't think it's a bad take. I think it could go either way. But Giannis will probably shatter it, and like you said, either a playoff run away or next year. It's gonna be over soon. He'll be, once his career is over, he'll be the undisputed greatest Buck ever. So.
We stopped the show for a moment because Keys is now on the show with us. You guys may have remembered him from a former episode we had. He was on the show once before. He wasn't here for the first topic because right now it's Ramadan, right?
Right. So I just had to pray, 4:30 prayer. So I had to start late.
So what time is that? Like a set time for everybody that does Ramadan?
No, the time changes by the sun. So basically, your location is going to determine what time it is to pray. So sense. A lot of people might have prayer at like 4:31. My call is like 4:36. So it's different times, but when you call, you go.
Okay, I see. So we're gonna start this show with Keys talking about the Lakers. They have been a failure this season. There's no doubt about it. The 11th seed. The Spurs have surpassed them. The rebuilding Spurs have surpassed them. The Lakers probably not going to make the playoffs, right? We can all kind of agree on that.
Whoa.
No, they're not going to make the playoffs. You're going to make the
play-in.
play-in.
How far back are they?
They're a game and a half of a play-in spot.
And LeBron.
But they have a hell of a
today.
schedule left. Game. Who's on there? The Warriors are on there still, right?
They have one of the toughest schedules left.
I know they still have the Warriors on there.
They're
playing Denver right now. But AD was doing good when I checked.
I mean, it's AD. He just needs to stay healthy. They can kick it off.
With that being
they lost
said,
to the Pelicans.
Has the LeBron Lakers tenure been a complete flop or a flop in general? Because I know that one championship you can't actually say complete, but it has been a flop. I'll start with you, Keys.
If you think LeBron's tenure in LA has been a flop, I just need you to think back to 2015 Lakers starting five right now. What were they doing? They were doing nothing. There was a point in time once Kobe Bryant went down, the Lakers were irrelevant. They get LeBron James, his first year, he's hurt. Okay. They were on pace to make the playoffs that year until he got hurt. Okay. Second year, he wins a championship. Third year, struggle. Okay. Fourth year, he's having okay. He's 37 years old.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Putting up 31 a night. You have to respect it no matter how you look at it.
I already love having him on the show.
No matter how you look at it, bro. You might think it's a flop because they're not champions. They've been relevant. They've won a championship in the past 3 years. How can you say that's a flop? You made a move for LeBron to win a championship, and you did that. You traded for AD to secure that, and you did that. That was their point in trading for AD.
Listen.
Now, I understand we all had this dynastic image of the Lakers. We thought that, a younger guy next to AD could carry the ropes. But you did what you set out to do, which was win a championship with LeBron and AD. I don't see that as a failure.
I see how this table's going to go.
If you want to go.
The LeBron tenure with the Lakers has been a flop. It hasn't been a complete flop. And I'll give credit to LeBron in this aspect. Had it not been for LeBron, we're talking about the Lakers the same way we talk about the Knicks currently.
Maybe worse.
A dysfunctional franchise, maybe even worse. Bottom of the barrel. We're talking about the Lakers as a bottom of the barrel franchise. When they got LeBron in 18-19, he played 55 games. Lakers went 37-45. You can use all that he was hurt. Well, that's part of this discussion.
He played how many games, though?
In 1920, 55 is still missing 23 games.
I'm almost sure when he got hurt, they were fourth seed.
They were. But then he came back and said 0 dark 30. I'm going into that mode, and they missed the playoffs.
But on to my point. This is what I'm going to say. LeBron's first year, he plays 55 games and missed the playoffs. His second year, he plays 67 games. His healthiest year in LA, they win the championship. A lot of people attribute that to the shortened season. To the season being stopped. And now Anthony Davis, who's very injury prone, getting a lot of time to rest. I understand.
Those are the haters.
I'm not going to take away the championship, though, because
haters.
I feel like it holds validity.
And I don't think a lot of people's accurate.
In the third season with the Lakers, he plays 45 games. The Lakers lose in the first round. Another unhealthy season for LeBron. And this year, he's played 56 games, isn't probably going to be available for this later stretch to get the Lakers into the playoffs, and they're going to miss the playoffs.
Okay, but can we be fair
I'm not done yet.
Okay, go ahead.
LeBron with the Lakers, 3 out of the first 4, 3 of the seasons have been failures. First round exit, didn't make the playoffs, and now they're not about to make the playoffs again. And outside of the 1920 season, LeBron has played 156 games out of 246 games the Lakers have had. That's almost 100 missed games in those seasons. It has been a flop. And had it not been for the 1920 bubble championship, we're talking about this LeBron to LA move as one of the biggest failures and flops in NBA history. There's no doubt about it. That's how we're talking about this move.
Okay, before you go, real quick, I'm gonna just ask Joel to add context. Because that third year, he lost to the most dominant team in the NBA over the past 2 years.
You mean the Suns?
Right.
What he said's right.
No, I
What I said is completely right.
What I wanted to make sure.
Who did you have favored in that series?
We know who I had favored in that series.
I think we all had
Everybody had the Lakers favored in that series.
Even though the
And we
Suns
would've
won.
can't be revisionist
What were the
about
Suns,
this.
2 or 1? Were they 1?
They were two.
They were two.
And the Lakers were 7, right?
Utah was one.
Yeah. I mean, I favored LeBron and AD, but go ahead, guys. I'm gonna let you go.
Flop.
That's a tough word.
It is an extreme word.
It's a flop. It's what LeBron does too. On the court too.
It's insane because before LeBron got there, like you said, the Lakers were literally
This guy
garbage.
used to like LeBron.
I know.
can't even believe
No,
it.
I know.
I can't even believe it.
He really used to like
Listen,
LeBron.
you can like LeBron, but be
I like LeBron.
Yeah.
And I'll say this.
I don't want to hear it. Go ahead, Rez.
I'm objective about this because had LeBron not gone to the Lakers, before LeBron got there, they were on a 6-season playoff drought.
Yeah.
Had LeBron not got there, we're viewing the Lakers as one of the worst franchises in the NBA currently. LeBron has helped mask the dysfunction a little bit, but bad roster construction. And it's just the truth about LeBron is that he bullies teams into making bad moves. The GM is a real thing. This roster has gotten worse when they acquired Anthony Davis each season, and now you ended up with Russell Westbrook, and you can't get better from that.
So he bullied the GM into making this move, right? To trade for AD, traded Brandon Ingram, traded Kyle Kuzma, traded Lonzo Ball. They won a championship that same year. There are 11 teams in the NBA that don't have a championship. 11 teams. There's no way that you can look at this time with LeBron in LA and look at it as a failure.
disappointing is the word I would like to use.
And you know what? And I'll shake your hand because
Right.
it's LeBron James. You have the expectation as the
But I
sky's
don't
the
even
limit.
I don't even
Call
blame
it a
LeBron
failure.
for this. I don't blame LeBron. I blame Anthony Davis. And the reason why I blame Anthony Davis is
I can't say that
he's-
because I'm a stan and everyone's
Yeah,
going to say that I'm
I
so
wanna hear this, though.
blindsided.
the reason why I blame Anthony Davis is because he's supposed to be the guy LeBron trusted to take over the keys.
I love that you're
He
saying
was
this.
supposed to be the guy that's okay. I know for a fact I'm getting older. Nobody can beat Father Time. AD, you come here. We just won a chip. You just had one of your best seasons. You just had one of your greatest playoff runs. You're supposed to take the mantle from me and be the best player on LA. And I'm supposed to be the secondary guy. Injuries have hurt AD. His inconsistent play, him not wanting it hard enough, him not wanting it like a Giannis. Remember, we were comparing him to Giannis when he won that ring. He was on that type of level. Like, he was one of the best players in the league. And I feel like that type of hype, it kind of like I wouldn't say got to his
He
head,
got
but
complacent.
He couldn't live
He got
up to it. He
complacent.
didn't play hard. And I really attribute
He's
this.
got hurt though.
I attribute.
Right.
He got hurt, but when he came back, his play wasn't consistent enough. His play, he wasn't the
Is
same
that,
Anthony
is
Davis.
that the injuries or is that his motor?
A little bit of both.
But we say that I
Fair.
feel like that is more evident
bit of
this
both.
season
That's fair.
because last season when he came back against the Suns, if he stays healthy, I feel like that series is completely different.
They had a whole offseason.
No, I'm saying this season, 100% with what you're saying is at the forefront at him.
But even in the
not having
regular
the same
season last year,
desire,
he
same
wasn't
drive.
playing that. He was all
No,
right.
you're right. Regular season, 100%.
He was good.
But
People
come
were,
playoff
like-
time, he was a different beast.
I
Let's
understand.
do a little trivia here. Let me break it down this way. And I want you guys to look at the Lakers not from the aspect of LeBron's statistics and his personal achievements. So just because LeBron had a good year doesn't mean the season was a flop. I want you guys to look at the team as a totality and tell me, did the team either succeed or fail? LeBron's first year, they go 37-45. Was that a flop or was that not?
Fail.
Let's be real though. Going into the
Man, you have to add context
that-
when you make these statements.
going into that free agency, and he had the teams that he could have chose from. The Lakers weren't even on that list for me of places that I wanted him to go that he could succeed. I was looking at the Rockets. I was looking at Philadelphia.
They had no cap space.
He chose 100%. You're right. He chose the Lakers because he wanted to go to LA and he felt like he could build something there. He wanted that Lakers legacy. I wasn't expecting a championship year one. I was expecting the playoffs.
So all that to say is
okay.
fail.
I'm not
disappointment.
For one, I have a different criteria from you because you've said repeatedly that you think not winning a championship is a failure.
True.
I don't feel that way.
Well,
If LeBron
they won a championship.
I don't.
next year.
Okay, but we're doing it by individual years.
But you're talking about his whole tenure there. That's the question.
going year by
but
year,
let me
though.
break it down. And this is the thing. With that roster in 18-19, I'm not expecting a championship for LeBron. Just to make the playoffs. But granted, I understand he was hurt. But the team 18-19, was it a flop or was it not?
It was a flop.
You said it was a flop.
I can't say it was because they were in position to make a run in the playoffs.
Ultimately, it didn't happen though.
Okay, but I can't say that season was a flop because as an
And Lonzo
organization
was hurt
leader,
too, and we forget how Lonzo's impact defensively was huge for them.
He had a
look,
chance to get back, though.
you're gonna look at that season and say, I have a good sense of hope going into next year because we were in the 4th seed. Our best player got hurt. We fell out of the playoffs. We keep him healthy. We have a great shot at doing whatever we need to. I don't see it as a flop.
LeBron, who hasn't been healthy for most of his tenure with the Lakers.
LeBron, who's averaging 31 and age 37 right now.
I understand that. But so you don't think year one in LA was a flop?
I can't consider that a flop.
Year two, we understand won a championship. It can't be a flop.
Success. Yeah.
Third year, losing in the first round of
Flop.
Phoenix.
Third
Is that a
year's
flop?
I would consider that year as a
We all
flop.
see as flops. This year,
Flop.
is this not a flop?
Come on.
They were the preseason
We don't have to
favorites.
talk about
They were
it,
the
yeah, of
preseason
course.
So what
favorites
you're telling me-
The Nets were
in the West.
okay. There you go.
They were the preseason favorites. It's a flop.
From that breakdown, Riv and I agree. It's 75% flop. You guys think it's 50-50
I would
flop.
say 50-50.
I think this year is bigger than the first
you're
year.
looking at
you have
a
to
grand
put
screen.
you have to put this year. You have to hold this year more weight to his first year with LA. You have to because this year they had
You said
opportunity to win the
65 wins,
championship.
bro.
Okay, we can always bring that up into any debate with the Lakers, and you make it look
It's
bad.
important.
I'm just
But
saying
let me
it
finish,
is.
Let me finish my point. The topic was LeBron's tenure in LA a flop?
Right.
If we go by the definition of tenure, his time in LA,
Agreed.
4 years with a championship, when there's 11 franchises that don't have a single championship, it's impossible to say his
2
tenure
years
was a
he
flop.
the
might not
most
make
part,
the
it was a
playoffs.
flop.
1 year he won. He
if-
won a
if
chip.
you
and then
really
the
wanna go into
third
it that
time
much-
he made the first round. That's not really a success.
Okay,
Let's look at great teams right now in the NBA that haven't had a championship in these 4 years. Philadelphia, Boston, your Warriors. When was
Miami.
the last time that they won?
The Warriors.
What,
Miami
been-
didn't win championship.
Miami's another team.
What
Well,
are
we're
you
going-
doing?
We're going at great teams.
What are you doing?
saying.
My point
In the
is,
4
in
years.
these 4 years, these great teams haven't won a championship. But the Lakers, with this flop
The
of a
Miami
team
Heat
right now,
don't have
you wanna-
LeBron or
this is
Anthony
different.
Davis.
they're
what's
still
crazy?
number one,
Well,
number two, number three in the Eastern Conference
people,
every year.
When
They were number 6 last year.
when
at least, but
LeBron
they were
and
hurt.
D Wade and Chris Bosh got together, right?
Okay, why are we
No,
going to
listen,
Miami
just
though?
answer this question.
In
When LeBron,
2012,
when LeBron,
2013.
D Wade, and Chris Bosh got together and they won 2 rings, did people not say they still underachieved because they only won 2 rings in LeBron's tenure there? And that was in 4 years. And you mean to tell me in LA, he has 1 chip. He's about to miss the playoffs again. He missed the playoffs already 1 time, and he got lost in the first round another. So that's 3 disappointing years is the 1 championship. You mean to tell me that's not a failure
And
so
not
far?
even 2. And out of those 4 years, 2 of them, you're not making the playoffs. One of them, you're losing in the first. You're not even getting deep playoff runs.
Okay.
Year 1, that roster was not built to compete. I do believe we should have made the playoffs. I don't
should at
disagree.
least made the playoffs.
Year 2, we win the whole
You get
thing.
that year.
Year 3, last year was disappointing because we were hurt.
And then this year's what?
This
year's
year, no,
atrocious.
this is the worst year by
Yeah,
far, in my
definitely.
opinion.
But this year-
I
this-
can't
so
look
then
at
it's like-
last season when if Anthony Davis is healthy, we could still go and run the whole
Run it
table.
right back. They definitely
we could
can.
run the table. The whole
definitely
point of
could.
making that
But it
trade
didn't happen.
Okay,
We all
but
picked
we
the
can't
Lakers
blame
because
we
we
can't
thought
blame
AD was coming
LeBron
healthy.
for that.
I didn't blame. I said
No,
I don't
I'm
blame
just
we're
was
not-
saying
hold on.
LeBron's. Hold on, let me finish.
Go ahead,
Jesus. We can't say that we're looking at LeBron's tenure and calling it a flop when one, the big move, you mentioned led GM and he makes all these moves that ruins team. That move that he made to get Anthony Davis, that same year won a championship. That next year with Anthony Davis and him playing, Anthony Davis drops 2 30 balls, back-to-back games, goes 2-up, 2-1, going into LA, then gets hurt. The series completely changes. Led GM was built and predicated on Anthony Davis's health. And he went down, and that was the series.
Are we forgetting Chris Paul couldn't dribble in that series?
And what does that have to do with anything? Because
It has a lot to do with that. It has a lot to do with that.
Was that series?
Yes, it
was.
was.
I thought it was the Clippers one.
I'm almost
No. He went on the JJ Redick podcast and said I couldn't dribble past game 3.
It's true.
On the Lakers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what do you mean it has nothing to do
That
with it?
Suns team went to the finals.
Hold on.
So wait, so it was an extension.
Hold on.
After game 3?
Hold up. Let me just say this. Weren't you the same person that called Chris Paul a superstar?
In Houston, correct.
No,
And still.
you called him a superstar still.
He still is.
Okay, so you're telling me Phoenix's superstar
I thought he was.
Phoenix's superstar player couldn't dribble a basketball. Their main engine.
They have another superstar.
The guy with
They
the
have another
most playoff
superstar.
experience.
They have another
But
superstar.
you're saying if
And they have
Anthony
one of the
Davis,
deepest
you're
teams
saying
in the NBA.
okay, you're saying if Anthony Davis doesn't go down, the Lakers run the table.
They could.
Chris Paul
They could.
went down.
We're talking about LeBron and AD
Chris
when
Paul
healthy, 2
went
top 5
down.
players. Don't play
Chris
with them.
Paul went down. Don't
play
act
with
like
them.
Phoenix was this most
Johnson,
healthy
don't
team.
come on.
Chris Paul went down.
Okay, and we're talking about LeBron better than that whole team. We're talking
LeBron
Anthony Davis
didn't.
better than that whole team. Don't
didn't-
try it.
LeBron averaged 23 points in that series
And
and
LeBron
wasn't efficient.
and there was 2 games that he came back before that series. He was hurt.
He quit
you give
in
him
game
You
6.
give him no slot because they were done. That team was.
Oh, so
they were
you're
getting washed.
acknowledging he quit and you accept it.
Okay, so what though? What does that have to do with anything?
So you're acknowledging he
Does
quit.
this
and
make you feel
this
good
is-
with having a point that you made like 6 months ago? How about we talk about the conversation we're having right now?
Right.
This is
Come on.
this is your issue when talking about LeBron and the Lakers tenure.
Gets emotion.
When you talk about LeBron,
Come on, I'm giving facts though.
when you talk
It's
about the
crazy.
LeBron,
A little emotions,
It's like
I
it
ain't gonna
gets,
lie.
it gets called emotional when I spit facts, and you guys just don't like what I'm saying.
LeBron.
I
When
love
you
what you're
talk-
saying.
when
'cause I
you
agree.
talk-
I actually agree with what
when
you're
you
saying.
talk about the Lakers LeBron tenure, you are trying to split the two, and you're trying to make it out to be, well, the
Won
Lakers
a championship. That's enough. That's the end of the conversation. You have 11 teams, no championship. That's it.
Well, the Lakers team success doesn't go hand in hand with LeBron's individual success. The Lakers
Won a
LeBron tenure,
championship. They hadn't made the playoffs 7 years before that.
the
That's
Lakers
it.
LeBron tenure goes hand in hand with the team success. The team has failed 3 out of the 4 seasons. I remember when the Celtics created the Big Three.
I can't
Ray
necessarily
Allen,
agree with that statement, by the way.
You can't.
It's
you can't.
not.
You have to because you said it's championship or bust.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying you can't look at that.
So that
it's
means
all
3 failed seasons
My point
out
is
of 4.
you're saying that it's all predicated on LeBron's success. Meanwhile, we all said
I never said that.
You literally just said that.
No, I said
you literally said
the
it
way
5 seconds ago.
The way you view this question is the Lakers as a team. If they don't succeed, that's fine as long as LeBron does what he has to do. This is the Lakers tenure.
That's
Hit the four.
who's saying
The
that? But you're
Lakers
saying
LeBron.
I'm
The
saying
Lakers
that.
LeBron era. The Lakers LeBron era is 4 seasons.
on.
3 of them, by your definition of what a successful and a failed season is. 3 of those seasons have been failures. 1 of them have been a success. I remember when the Boston Celtics traded for Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
And although they won a championship, we view that team as underachieving because they lost to Orlando. They lost to the Lakers in 2010. And though they had injuries, we don't view the Celtics as they maximized that Big 3.
You can't-
Disappointing.
Okay, so is disappointing necessarily failures, even though they won a championship and haven't won a championship since? I'm sure every single Boston fan looks at that season and they say, man, I absolutely love and adore this team. There's been no other team to reach those heights that they did.
Word.
What hurts
failure.
the Lakers is that championship they won, fans didn't get to resonate and enjoy it. There was no parade for that championship.
So what though?
That means a lot.
What does this mean?
That means a lot.
You're saying a
The
lot
city-
of empty.
The city didn't
noise.
resonate.
That's how I'm
The
feeling
city
right now.
didn't
a lot.
resonate with that championship.
That means a lot.
because
Not
of
having
COVID?
a parade for a championship means a lot.
That
no,
does mean a
it
lot.
means something because when you get to share a
Come
championship
on,
with your
y'all.
fans, that
Y'all
means
just
a lot.
coming up
That
with
really,
a
that legit means a
criteria
lot.
that doesn't mean anything.
That legit
It's just
means
an
a lot,
empty
bro.
criteria right now. Honest
mean,
to God.
It's a celebration of what you just did.
I mean,
So because they didn't have a parade, that championship
Because they
No, I
didn't,
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
because they
I
didn't
don't think he said
celebrate
that.
what they did.
Like,
I
come
don't
on.
think he
Nobody
said
said
that,
the
though.
championship. No,
don't
nobody.
think he
Yeah,
said that.
I didn't
That's
say
just
that.
a stupid point.
Nobody
Super,
said-
super
nobody-
strong. It's
no-
just unnecessary.
Nobody said
Empty claim.
the championship didn't matter. but it definitely matters when you get to celebrate the championship. The Bucks won their first championship in 50 years with Giannis Antetokounmpo. The city, the way they celebrated with that, with the Bucks or the Raptors championship that they won in the past 4 years have been the same if they weren't able to celebrate it with their fans.
But what does that matter? That doesn't mean anything.
It matters because it's not that it doesn't matter.
LA hadn't made it to the playoffs in 7 seasons. LeBron gets there in year 2, a championship. I'm sure LA fans are ecstatic.
Hold up. So 3 out of the 4 seasons, according to your criteria, the Lakers failed. Okay, so that means even if you don't want to say it was completely a flop.
And when there's 11 teams that haven't won a championship, I'm okay with that.
So you're telling me the Lakers' LeBron tenure has been mostly a flop.
You never actually answered
not
the
a complete
question.
flop.
What is it? Is it a flop or not? Disappointing?
I said no. That's initially my exact. My
So what
first
is it?
statement I actually made was there's 11 teams that have
So
never
wait,
won
what
a
is it though? What is LeBron's tenure in?
If he was
LA,
there and they
what is-
didn't win a single championship, 100%.
So what do you consider it?
I think it's disappointing.
Disappointing?
Yeah, no, which is
everybody's
exactly
stealing
what
my
I said.
word.
That's a great word.
We
That's
all
a great
looked
way
at
to
you
put
and
it,
said it's
though.
100%
I mean, yeah.
facts.
Because I mean, like you said, I mean, you're gonna put that first year against Bron. I don't know why, because he was 4th seed.
I didn't put it against. I'm not
the
putting
Lakers.
against
No,
Bron.
against the Lakers. I'm saying
that's the facts of what
team,
happened.
Any team without a second caliber player anywhere near the level of their first caliber player, if their first caliber player gets hurt, that first option, what are they gonna do?
And Brandon Ingram
They're-
broke out the
they're
very next
doomed
year.
at that point.
Brandon Ingram broke out the very next year.
He broke out in the second half of that first year as well.
He
I
did.
got to give him that
So
credit.
he was a second star, you could say, with the Lakers.
Not
at
a
that point.
star. He wasn't a star at that point.
19 points per
He was
game
an
is all-star caliber.
He was an
18-19.
He was an ascending star. I agree, but he
All-star
wasn't a star.
caliber.
Not yet.
That's what it
Not
is.
at that point though.
That's what it is. In
Not
the
at
second
that
half of the
point.
season, he definitely played at an all-star caliber level. So
He was too
what you're-
inconsistent to be
So
that.
if you're it.
Right,
Am
that's a fair
I
point.
wrong here, Riv, or is disappointing if you call the Lakers LeBron tenure disappointing, isn't it calling it basically mostly a flop?
Flop is a little bit more disrespectful.
Right, because flop is like, yo,
Maybe
you
the
just put together a
wording
team and didn't
is
work.
more
But
intense.
It's the same thing,
but
but
it's the
flopping
same
is a little
thing.
more disrespectful. That's why I guess that's why.
So
they're taking
here we
it.
go. This is how I'm gonna call it. This is a flop. Harden's time in Houston.
Ooh,
That's not a flop.
It's a flop. They didn't win a championship.
No, Harden's
I wouldn't
time.
consider that
Harden's
a flop.
time with the Nets is a flop.
So question.
Definitely.
There it is.
That's without a
There it is.
doubt.
There it
That's
is.
without a doubt.
That's a
But
flop.
My point being is Harden should have delivered a championship to the city of Houston. There's no.
he ran
there's
into
no
Golden
championship.
State. He ran into the best team that ever got assembled.
But he was up 3-2.
but then
Chris Paul got hurt.
LeBron,
he
even
was
with
up
all the
3-2.
injuries, still won a championship.
Say it again, Keith.
James Harden was up 3-2 in that series.
With what injuries
Chris
did
Paul
LeBron
got
win a
hurt, but
championship?
James Harden was still
I'm
there.
just saying, with his tenure and all the injuries,
up big.
even still, there's still a season in that
Wait,
tenure that
the-
they have a championship.
For one, this
boy.
LeBron
because
Harden.
again, we can't forget the word tenure. We're
this
talking
LeBron,
about his extended time
This
there.
LeBron Harden conversation is moot because we know LeBron's accomplished so much. But Harden's second best player went down, Chris Paul. I've already said how I feel about that entire thing. Has LeBron ever had his second co-star fall down an injury and win a championship?
2013,
Against who?
the Spurs.
Who got injured?
Who got hurt?
Dwayne Wade was playing with injured knees.
But he played. He played.
We all know Dwayne Wade was literally invincible that series.
What about Chris Bosh though? He said his third guy.
Chris Bosh, who was just
Ray Allen was huge.
So
for
you're
them.
saying-
almost
so
did
you're
it, though.
saying-
Or you're
so
saying
LeBron
this-
went.
this is the
So you're
time.
saying no.
LeBron went, and he played a team that was going to be 73-9 the next year, and he snuck 2 games out of them.
You're right. I'm not disagreeing with
So
you.
Harden hasn't even.
But don't do
touched-
that.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you,
no,
but
it's a
they
different
didn't
conversation.
win.
Different
But Harden's
conversation.
tenure was not a
didn't win.
failure though. I wouldn't call it a failure.
If you want to,
Consistency?
Yeah, consistency.
It's not
makes
a
and
it
notice,
failure,
and
no.
Rev, notice how Rockets James Harden. That's not a flop.
It's more of a
The
flop
Nets-
than LeBron in LA for sure.
The Nets.
LeBron won a championship.
he's a
Why are we
champion.
ignoring that?
You cannot
Like,
ex-
it's
yeah, like,
boggling my
the
mind.
Nets-
It's
'cause he
boggling
would've
my
checked.
The
mind.
Nets.
He
The
would've
Nets. The Nets. James Harden. That era was a flop.
We're throwing
But
KD into that mix also.
If you notice though, I'm not over here saying, oh, it was a flop because Harden got hurt and Kyrie got hurt. No. But it's the facts of what happened. It was ultimately a flop.
No, that
the
was-
same way how that first Lakers season was
But
a
Harden
flop.
was never
the
hurt.
same way how that third Lakers season was a flop. And the
gloss
same
over
way
the
how
second.
this current Lakers season is a flop as well. So if you have 3 flops out of 4, you're floppy.
You know,
But
I
if
know.
James
I
Harden-
understand.
hold on,
but
because
it's ironic because the
He's
one
trying
not
to-
flop.
but look, to be fair.
Keys, the one not flop was a championship.
But here's the
That's
thing,
it.
though, Drew.
That's the only way I can look at it.
Here's
We
the
got
thing,
LeBron stands
because
up
if
here.
Harden,
That's what it
was
See,
to
no,
get
and
hurt,
that's the thing I have an issue with because when you defend, you're trying to make a claim on LeBron, you automatically are a stan. I'm telling you the facts.
Okay,
If-
so let me.
if
okay,
So
Harden
right
was
now
to
you're
get
showing
hurt-
your LeBron hate by saying
Harden
that
was
with
to-
I said
no
it was
cha-
disappointing. And I don't even blame LeBron. I don't blame LeBron at all.
I'm not disagreeing.
Me either.
I think he was
I haven't
great.
blamed LeBron once for the
Exactly.
Lakers.
I'm not
I know
saying
it's
you guys are
mostly
blaming
due
LeBron.
to roster construction.
Yeah, I know who I blame.
Answer this question, you two, because you
Big
guys are the
Disney
ones that
World.
love LeBron.
Oh,
but
God. See, like you see what I'm saying?
They just be trying to get
Right.
I'm
Like,
just gotta
no,
ignore
the
it.
LeBron.
I blame Disney World.
Come on, Joe.
Let me ask you
Keep it
the straight
face with me.
question.
Disney.
Yes or
Come
no?
on, let's
go.
Straight question.
I can't even
Has
look
the
at
Lakers LeBron tenure mostly been a flop?
He tried to say
No.
Okay, you don't think it's mostly been a flop?
As long as you got that
Bro,
championship,
the word
you can't say
flop
it's a
is
flop.
so like.
LeBron.
You know what I mean, Joel? Bro,
You don't
flop-
think it's the same as disappointing? I think it's the same
no,
thing.
because they
Do you understand a
actually won
flop
a
is complete
championship.
utter failure?
Yeah, like they actually
3
won
years
a
have been
championship.
complete utter
They
failures.
won a championship, bud. That's it.
No,
Put it to
3
bed.
years they've been complete utter failures. The
Put it
Lakers
to bed.
have.
They have a championship. It's over. There's no conversation after that.
So you think it hasn't
done.
mostly been a flop?
It's done.
What about you? You didn't answer the question straight. I know you're smarter than that.
Flop is tough for me to just be like, yo, yeah, he just went to LA and flopped. Like he just like, no, I can't say that. I can't.
It hasn't mostly been a flop.
I can't say that. They won a
do y'all
championship
look at do y'all look at the Big Three's tenure as disappointing?
in Boston. Mm-hmm. I don't.
I don't.
They
won a
beat Kobe
championship.
Bryant.
And then the Heat
They were
assembled.
favored though.
Okay.
They got Ron Artest and it was over.
I don't know.
They had a reason for sure.
you win
True.
the chip. You win the chip once, but you miss it. You miss
Be
the playoffs twice.
completely unsuccessful. Fail totally.
You really looked it up.
Read it one more time because Joel didn't hear it. He didn't respond.
To be completely unsuccessful. Fail totally.
Let's look at him now.
And so let's again. How about we just move on to the next topic
Good.
and understand where we stand.
Disappointing for me. Definitely.
And I'll shake your hand.
Right.
Definitely, that's definitely.
I won't shake your hand, but
That's definitely disappointing for me though.
A total failure is the next one. Wow.
Oh, and I blame AD. Disney close. Gotta blame him. And Rob Pelinka. Yeah.
We should just talk about the Spurs because they're the one that are ahead of us right now in the.
I think
embarrassing.
it's mostly been a flop, to be honest.
I'm glad.
3
I'm glad you feel
seasons
that
have
way.
been failures.
You're really harsh.
No, I think
Right.
it has been. I think it has been. But by that definition and by your comparatively definition to
I'm looking at Google. Go on Google.
no,
Any
I
fan
understand.
can Google this.
No, I
Look at
understand.
the definition.
No, that's the correct definition.
Right.
But Drew has said time and time again on the show.
He has a championship or bust.
No,
And they
I'm not.
won.
I'm
They
not.
won.
I'm not counting you in this.
Okay.
Drew has said time and time again on the show that your definition
And
of
I'm not saying you're wrong.
yeah, but let me
They
finish my
won,
sentence.
but not-
Your
it's irrelevant to me. They won.
Your definition of a failure is not winning a championship.
And
so
they did.
You're right.
They did.
But
So that's
three
it.
of
Put it
three
to
of the
bed.
4 seasons they didn't win a championship. So that means 3 of the 4 seasons
Again,
they've been
let's
failures.
look at these top teams in the NBA that
wait,
haven't
Drew,
won a
can I ask you-
championship.
can I ask you
The
a question?
Lakers did that
Can I ask you
in
a
that
question?
span.
Drew, your definition is championship or bust, correct? In LeBron's tenure, 4 years. He's 3 of the times he's not going to win a championship. 1, he's going to win a championship. So according to your definition,
about
was
to
a
say
championship or
something
bust? What deemed on your definition? What is LeBron's tenure? A disappointment or not? Flop? Like what is that?
Disappointment, yes.
He flopped 3
No,
times.
no.
No, he flopped. The utter failure. He utterly failed 3 times.
How?
He didn't get past the first round 1 time.
his
out of those
first
3
year he
times.
was hurt.
And in year 2, they
He
won a
had 4
championship.
seeds.
Just put it to
Second year,
bed.
yeah,
Just
no,
stop
years.
trying to argue it.
like,
You guys,
Just stop trying to argue.
You know
think
why,
what's going
Griff?
on?
You want to know why it makes no sense? Because Drew has had this concrete
They
definition
won a
for
championship. What else do you want from me?
the first season with LeBron was that a
Why
was
are
that
we,
a
we're going in circles and we're making this a 20-minute debate when it doesn't need to
no?
be.
I'm just asking you your
So
criteria
you're going to
because
ask me the same thing you asked me already 10 minutes
I
ago.
want to ask you your criteria. So you say if you don't win a championship, it's a failure. So I'm just trying to get
They
your
won.
definition because
They
you're
won.
the one keeping going in circles.
In the 10 No,
you're
I'm
going
not.
in circles.
No, because you think-
because you're
you
not
think
answering
consistent.
the questions, bro.
you think year
What are
2
you
is the only year they
talking
played.
about? Jeez, am I going
Yo,
crazy?
next topic for real, because he's answered it. I ain't gonna lie. He
Thank
is.
you. Y'all are
He's not,
just
though.
y'all are
He
getting
won it-
lost
he
in
won
the
a
fact
chip.
that it's over.
Yeah, but no, but
It's
you
not.
keep,
It's not. It's not about that
You
because
keep acting like year 2 is the only year he played.
LeBron has been with the
When
Lakers.
it's been
I'm not-
4 years. He asked you. Year
There
1 was
are
a flop.
11
According-
teams that
I don't care
haven't
about the
won
11
a
teams. I'm talking about LeBron.
championship.
Year 1, did he win?
No.
Flop. Year 2,
Failure.
did he win?
According to you,
Yes.
failure.
Yes.
Good year. Year 3, did he win?
No.
Flop.
Failure.
Year 4, did he win?
No.
So
Failure.
3 out of the 4 are flops.
And
Utter failures.
There are teams that
I
haven't
don't
won
care
championships.
about the teams. We're talking about LeBron and the Lakers,
only-
an
there's-
historic franchise.
and look
If
at how
you
many-
fail 3 times out of the 4 in an historic franchise, they're gonna look at you like you have 5 heads. That's embarrassing.
Again,
It's embarrassing,
let's look
bro.
at it in the grand,
He didn't. Like
in
it's
the grand scheme
embarrassing.
of things, the
What's
player that
grand
has the
scheme of
most
things?
championships ever is Bill Russell. That was years ago. Other than that, you have Robert Horry, who was with a bunch of teams. You have Michael Jordan, who has 6. You have LeBron, who has 4. Kareem Abdul has 6.
What are you saying?
My point being is these championships don't come around like we give them away like free candy. Doesn't happen. 4 championships is fine, but you still look at it. He's been with one team, 2 championships. Went back to Cavaliers, championship in that 4 years. Goes to LA, championship. Everywhere he goes, he's had success at least once in that tenure.
Is Zach LaVine's time with Chicago a flop?
He's been here 2.5 years.
During
But
a
yes.
rebuild.
No, the better question is Kevin Durant's tenure a flop with the Nets? Is Kyrie's tenure with
Yes.
the Nets a flop?
As of right now,
Yeah.
yes.
Why? Because they haven't
Won
won.
a chip.
Also, because
Now
they
put
haven't
that
been
to
they
bed.
haven't played.
Put it to bed.
That's
Let's
insane.
go to the next topic.
just
So
Back
just
though.
so if you win a chip and you failed the other 3 years,
Everything
it's
is
still
synced,
everything's okay. Just want to make sure we get
The
this.
Celtics were
sure.
fine.
They made the playoffs
They-
consistently.
I'm
Relax.
talking about
They
08.
made the ECF
Okay.
consistently. Relax.
Okay.
It's a different type of
They didn't
success.
win
They
a
lost
chip,
in the
though.
finals.
But it's a different type of success. They've made the ECF.
You want to know a flop?
They made the finals
Kawhi.
again.
Kawhi in LA.
Kawhi, how? He made the second
in LA.
round. He made the second round.
They
Because he
haven't
hasn't won.
won.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
No, it has been a flop
It's been
to
a
that
flop. Yeah,
point.
it's been a flop. It's been a flop. I thought you talk about.
I understand.
San Antonio.
No, absolutely not. What he did in San Antonio
But
was
three,
great.
if three
And
of the
Toronto.
if 3 of the 4 seasons have been failures, according to the definition
It's
that
hard.
you use, not winning a championship,
It's hard
Not
to
even
look
get
at
into the
the tenure
playoffs.
and
It
say
is
it's-
the LeBron Lakers tenure has been mostly a flop.
So
Even
because
if you, that's
no,
why
so
I,
now
I
his
would
second-
never say
his second
I
go
would
around in
never say
Cleveland, is that a flop? His second go around in Cleveland, is that a flop?
no, because they lost in the
Put
finals.
it to bed. Drew, don't even
lost
answer.
it in the
listen,
finals.
They, no, it's
listen,
not, it's
yo,
not this.
listen,
Not.
Drew.
They went.
Don't even
They
answer.
went to the
Put it
finals
bed.
3 times in
sure.
a row.
For sure.
How do you compare that to 2 times he
They
didn't make
won
the
a
playoffs?
championship.
No,
But you
listen-
guys are using his criteria, and his criteria is championship.
No, that's
or bust.
no. That's
And
not
they've
my
only-
criteria though. My
still
criteria.
won.
If you're consistently
I'm
competitive, you have a
using my
chip in that
criteria.
run.
I'm
Right.
using it still.
Oh, and your
Right.
so based off your criteria,
They
is
still won a
Cleveland's-
championship.
Cleveland's
So
flop
according to
then.
your criteria, they failed 3 times.
So are they
And
a
they
flop drop?
won a championship.
It's mostly been a flop.
No, I'm talking
I
about
will never say
when LeBron
I
went back
will-
to Cleveland.
No, because like Riv said, they made the finals 3 straight times. I will never say the LeBron Lakers tenure was a complete flop.
I don't look at it as championship
but it's
or
been
bust.
mostly a flop. It's been 75% flop.
I don't look at it as championship or bust. I don't think if you.
I don't look at it that way either.
So I can't say I can't use his definition because I don't look at it. Like
I wasn't
that.
trying to either.
Like if you've consistently been competitive, you have a chip in there. You've successfully been
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Even if you don't win a chip, but you've been consistently competitive at the
Yeah.
top, you're fine. But if you win a chip and you've been ass 3 of those years, it's hard. I'm gonna say it's disappointing, especially when the odds have you being better than what you should have been. Like let's not forget the Lakers were supposed to be really good this year,
Oh, I don't
and they
disagree.
failed.
Oh, this
And
is
then
the
last
most
year injuries
disappointing
messed them
failure
up.
of
I'm
the
not gonna
season.
injuries have messed, but that's part of the game. You knew what you were getting with Anthony Davis. You knew that. You knew that. Nagging injuries have hurt him all his life. You knew that.
But
so it's
now
like
you
you
weren't
knew what you were
banking on
getting,
like that
and you
last year.
traded everybody for him. You knew what this was going to happen.
I mean, we saw what can happen when he reaches his potential. Championship. In year 1.
He hasn't made it since.
I agree, man.
It's-
Sucks. This is mostly on him.
But you've milked one out, so I think
Yeah,
that's
there
good.
you go.
Next segment, we're going to have Rafael Barlowe on the show to talk about the draft, college basketball championship, and some other top draft prospects. So he's going to be on the show next. Right now, we have Rafael on the show with us. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for inviting me on. I appreciate it.
If you guys don't know, he is the director of scouting for NBA Big Board. They drop a lot of good content, dope stuff for the NBA draft. Now, we just finished the Final Four. The championship game is set. UNC versus Kansas. How are you feeling about that game right now? Who do you think has the edge currently?
I mean, I wanted Duke to win. I really did. But, I mean, the way Kansas played against Villanova, man, it's tough. I haven't even thought about who I want to win, but I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, Carolina has overachieved, even though it's kind of weird to say a blue blood school has overachieved, but they've definitely, kind of shocked the world. They were 8th seed. You look at this team and it doesn't have like a loaded roster full of NBA talent. And I mean, they've rallied behind their first year coach. They've kicked Duke's butt twice in the last month.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's hard to go against what they have going on. But then, I mean, the way Kansas played against Villanova, I mean, they were pretty impressive in their win too, even though Villanova was short-handed. I don't know. I'm just going with North Carolina.
Ooh, okay.
Although Duke lost, and most of the blame, at least from what I've seen on the blogs and Twitter, has been put on Boncaro. A lot of people questioning his skill set now because of that game, although his teammates did struggle from the field. Yeah, on my Twitter, I've seen a lot of
he
Paolo
had 20
stuff.
and 10, and he played his butt off the entire game. I watched it live.
I've seen a lot of Paolo slander on the
me
TL.
too.
He was the only one doing anything for them in that second half.
Our guard play was so terrible.
Bro, hurt.
He's a Duke fan.
I've been a
by the way.
diehard Duke fan my entire life, and watching us struggle like that against UNC was just hard. It was literally heartbreaking because we go into halftime with a 3-point lead. I'm calling everybody talking crazy. Yeah, it's time. I'm feeling good. Caleb Love comes out the second half and sparks a 13-0 like I've never seen. Like, it was so energetic. I was watching it live and I literally couldn't believe what UNC's doing this to us on national television. But I got to give UNC their props, bro. They play hard. Mondo, they're big. Bacot, I think his last name is.
Armando Bacot.
Mondo, he's
a rebounding machine.
Yo, he's tough.
21 boards.
I think he could be a good pro. I know you just said you don't see any like NBA talent. I truthfully think that Mondo and Caleb Love are guys that NBA scouts and prospects are gonna have to start looking at. Truthfully, because these guys can ball.
I mean, I think Caleb Love is, but I don't know. I just think in today's NBA, how many guys that are just kind of like rebounding specialists that don't space the floor, that aren't like shot blockers.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, I think Bacot, if he was in a different era, then definitely. But right now, I mean, there's just not many guys that, for example, is Bacot a guy that you can put on the floor in the playoffs? No, I mean, I think teams are just gonna put him in pick and roll.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen
guard out in
his switch
space,
ability.
so that's why. Yeah, that's why these athletic guys that can at least move their feet out on the perimeter are getting more love than these old throwback bruisers.
Yeah.
But
he's a perfect
you never
college
know.
player.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he's a perfect.
yeah, I mean,
college
I
player.
think he's a perfect pro in 1997. It's just the game.
With Caleb
game
Love's
has
rise,
changed
with Caleb Love's recent performances for UNC, how high do you think a team drafts him with these current performances he's having?
I don't know. I mean, a smart team is going to go by the larger body of work. I mean, I want to say it was just like 2 or 3 games ago. I think in the Baylor game, for example, he was like 1 for 7 or 1 for 6.
They benched him in that game.
It was another game before that. What's that?
They benched him in that game.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like,
Was it RJ that took off?
I mean, I what's that?
I didn't. What game was that? RJ must have took off that game.
Yeah, it was RJ Davis.
That backcourt they have is ridiculous to me, at least in college, to see them do that. And I think NBA scouts are going to look at this duo, even though it's not a huge body of work. Scouts praise March Madness. They like to see what guys can do at the highest stage. And Caleb Love has been showing out. And I know he's had that tough game against Baylor, but he had his guy RJ to help him. And he probably didn't need to be that assertive and that dominant because he had his guy. But in nights where he needed to be, he did. He showed up. And against Duke, that's huge. Almost 30 on that stage. Final
I think
four.
so. I mean, you got to remember he was 6 of 17 versus St. Peter's. So, I mean, it's just to acquire taste. I mean, remember Sebastian.
But arguably, St. Peter's has the 4 best guards in the nation. Their guard rotation
but they're not
is
pros. They're not NBA players.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Yeah, no.
okay. That's fair.
Not
but
NBA players.
I mean, that's fair, but you got to go at what they're on the college level right now, right? So they're playing against the best guys at the college level, and St. Peter's arguably had the best 4-man guard rotation in the nation. So I know he struggled against St.
Did
Peter's.
you know St. Peter's guards 2 weeks ago?
I knew one.
I mean, come on.
Juju.
Obviously not.
I knew Juju.
I knew Juju
Yeah, I knew
for
Juju.
surely. But outside of that, no, we didn't.
I
but
think Caleb
but
Love
that's-
has had some pretty good performances, but when you look at his bigger body of work, he is an inefficient guard. He doesn't have the best size that translates to the NBA, and he's a volume scorer, and I don't know how he can transit to the NBA very well. Like I've seen some boards, they have him as a second round talent. I'm not sure where you have him, Rafael, as a first rounder, as a second rounder, late first rounder. I'm not sure where you have him. Could you give me some clarification on where he might fall on your board?
Yeah, I think he's a late first round pick. I think he's definitely helped himself with the big performance. But I think overall, like if you're a scout, I mean, if you just go by how well a player played or how bad they played in the NCAA tournament, then I mean, realistically, almost every top prospect ended on a bad game. Yeah. I mean, Jabari was like 3 for 16. So we're judging him on his overall body of work, not his last game. While I think when somebody is hot, well, I guess it depends on whether you like the guy or not. If you really like him, then you're going to go by, oh, well, he played very well his last game. He deserves it. If you really like him, if he has a bad last game, then you're not judging it. But facts. I mean, you think about Shabazz Napier, for example. He rode that UConn championship into a first round draft position. LeBron tweeted Miami selects him in the first round. He did stick around the NBA for a little while, but I mean, it was like that propelled him into be a first round pick. And, you know, depending on how you feel about it, he may or may not have been a solid NBA player. But then you look at, for example, I don't know, Chris Paul. I think he had an awful last game. And Marvin Williams finished good because North Carolina won a championship. Marvin Williams was selected ahead of Chris Paul. So
no, I wasn't making the argument that
I think you just got to go by the overall body of work.
Yeah, I wasn't making the argument that, you know, you take the guy at face value from what he does in March. I was more saying that holds value, whether we like to agree to it or not. Like seeing Jaden Ivey hit that shot, even though he lost that game, and almost hit the second shot to send it to OT, definitely skyrocketed his stock. For surely. And even though You
think so?
I think so.
I think he was top 5 regardless.
What were we just looking at off camera?
That he was the number 1 prospect
NBA,
right now.
I think DraftNet has him going to Orlando with the number 1 pick.
He wasn't there before that shot.
But I mean, I think that for most boards, he was 4th all year long on most boards. So I think certain guys like Chet. Well, if you like Chet, you felt like he did okay. If you didn't like him, you had your concerns. But I don't think there's nothing that he did in the tournament that moved him up or down most draft boards.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you feel about Chet? I have mixed feelings about him, and I respect you because my man Joel tells me you're that guy. You're a scout. You know what you're talking about, so I trust you. Give me a feel on Chet. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether he's going to be a good pro.
I don't think anybody does.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. I mean, he's such a interesting prospect, you know. I did some research, and there's nobody, no matter how skinny certain guys were, they weren't 7 foot 195. Like even Kevin Durant was like 215. Even like
how much
KG was like 215.
205, I believe.
Porzingis was like 220.
Oh damn!
Really?
Yep.
He wasn't no 190.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He wasn't 190.
These guys didn't have the ball hand other than KD, of course. KD's one of the best ball handlers. That's almost 7 feet.
But he's
tall
a natural guard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Chet's not a natural guard.
But Chet, at least he has the ball handling ability that he could take the ball up and down the floor. Like if you needed him to, if it's a break, he could do that.
I don't expect him to do that in the league at all.
All is probably strong. Depending on the team that he goes to, he's going to be relied on in certain aspects more than other franchises for sure.
See, I think with Chet, what makes it hard is, yes, he showed ball handling in the open floor, but not in the half court because he's so skinny. I mean, think about like if you're playing pickup ball and there's a kid that's like 80 pounds, he tries to dribble against you. As soon as he runs into your body, bam, his course is thrown off. So I don't know how effective he'll be in the half court as a ball handler.
Right.
I agree.
But I don't know. He's tough to predict because I mean, he does have some skills. He did his stock skyrocketed when they went into their conference schedule, right? That's when everybody starts saying, oh my gosh, he's dominating.
That's
when they
usually how
went into their
Gonzaga
conference
goes.
schedule. What's that?
That's usually how Gonzaga prospects go. Once they get into their conference, they dominate, and then they go right up.
Yeah. And so I don't think he hurt himself, but I don't think he helped himself in the NCAA tournament. And so when I watched Chet's film, like when they had their big matchups versus Duke versus Alabama versus Texas in the NCAA tournament, I can't say that he was the best player on Gonzaga's team. It was always Drew Timme. But I can't say there was a game where I felt like, dang, Chet rise to the occasion, and he showed me how great he is on offense when they matched up against a really good team. So I'm kind of torn on him. I mean, I definitely have him as a top 3 pick. He's definitely worth whatever risk you have, or whatever risk there is. I'm not too concerned about the injury. I just have concerns about how does he score in the NBA? Are you going to give him the ball in the post? No, not at all. So in college basketball, he scored most of his points shooting threes in transition or getting offensive rebounds. But when he went against physical teams, he couldn't get those offensive rebounds. So he's definitely a polarizing prospect that, there are a lot of concerns about.
Who's your number 1 guy? Who do you have going number 1?
Banchero. I've been riding the Banchero bandwagon all year long.
Smart guy.
Yes, sir.
He's 6'10", 250. He can score in the post. He's the only guy that I feel comfortable with between Chet and Jabari that I can say, all right, here's the ball. Go get me a bucket. Go make a play. I think with Jabari, he can get you a bucket, but you got to run a play for him to get open to shoot a 3. Banchero's a better ball handler, the better passer. He's more NBA ready. And he made big plays throughout the tournament. If they made their free throws, then he'd be in the championship game. So, but I've been high on Banchero, and I also think that he's not being used correctly.
Yes.
Just watching his high school film, he played a lot of point center, point forward.
Yes.
He can handle the ball. He can make plays. And I think with NBA spacing, he'll look a lot better. So I don't really see too many plays where Duke ran pick and rolls for him as the ball handler. So I think that it's kind of like Scotty Barnes in a sense. Scotty has been a way better pro in the NBA than he was in college because he had a creative coach that knew how to put the ball in his hands, allow him to play point sometimes, allow him to play the 5 sometimes. And I think a creative coach can get the same out of Banchero.
And was that something that you projected with Scotty back at Florida State? Because everybody was surprised when he was the 4th overall pick and was picked ahead of Suggs.
No, I didn't expect that. I mean, I thought Scotty was going to be good, but I didn't see the same level of aggressiveness and assertiveness. I felt like at Florida State, he'd have games where he took 4 shots and he was fine with it. And I don't know what Nick Nurse did. I don't know what battery they put in his back in Toronto, but they've made him an aggressive scorer. I mean, he's averaging 15 or 16 points per game, which, I did not see that. So, I mean, I guess that's you got to give credit to Barnes for flipping the switch and also Nick Nurse and Masai Ujiri, who took him at 4 when everybody else thought Jalen Suggs was a lock to go to Toronto to replace Kyle Lowry.
I saw that you tweeted that you have a surprise player that will be in your lottery when you drop your big board next week. See, I'm not an avid college basketball. Tomorrow. I'm not an avid college basketball fan, but Riv here is, and he may be surprised with the name you might put out. Maybe we could get a sneak peek here. I don't know. What do you think?
Nah, I gotta hold it. I gotta hold it.
I have a question.
Is
it an ACC player?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I think I know who it is. I'm not gonna say it, but I think I know who it might be.
Your board drops tomorrow, You're saying?
Yeah, it'll be on NBA Big Board.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Our episode will be dropping tomorrow. So if you're feeling willing to share with us, we would appreciate that.
I gotta.
Nah, hold it. Go ahead, hold it.
Matter of fact, here's the deal. I'll come back on to discuss it.
Okay, that's fair. That's more than okay with us.
That sounds good. I want to see Riv's reaction because I do this little funny thing that I do with Riv that whenever a player makes a good shot, I'm like, wow, man, he's a top 5 pick. And Riv just laughs. We went to the St. Peter's and UNC game, and Caleb Love hit a 3-point shot. I'm like, Riv, I think he's going top 5. And he just laughs. And he's like, oh, my gosh, like Caleb Love isn't that type of prospect. I have a question for you that pertains to scouting because a lot of people want to be in your position, watching basketball for a living, going to different places, and studying basketball. But me being a content creator, I know that it's not always glitz and glamour. Can you explain to some people that maybe want to get into that type of profession, what really goes into scouting and how much work goes into being at the top of your game?
That's a question I love to answer. And my story may be a little bit different than others. Like I wanted to be a scout, but it's not like it's a job that you can go apply for. You can't like send in your resume on NBA Teamwork, whatever.com and get a job. So I just figured like, I got to do everything on my own. And I am a content creator. So that helped me out was I could create my own content. I designed my own website. I created all like my videos, and I'm even vlogging some of these experiences because I've been in Europe since November. But this is like my first time as a full-time scout. Like for the past few years, I did video projects for people. I did skills training. And then I just did like scouting kind of like on my own. I wasn't making any money, but this is the first year that it's turned into a profit, which took me, I don't know, I guess I started the website in 2016. So you can say 5-6 years. So one, you have to have the endurance to wait that long, right? So number two, and I was just talking to you guys about it offline. So I give you like an example. So this year I decided that I was going to move to Europe and spend the whole season over here scouting. Then my wife had just got married in November. She came with me and then found out that she's pregnant. So she decided that it was best to stay back home. Thanks. She decided that it was best to go back home so that way she can like have a consistent like doctor and just felt like safer having a baby at home in the States, which is totally understandable. Luckily for me, I got a great wife who didn't say like, no, you need to be back with me. She understood what I was doing and just kind of decided like, okay, it's going to be tough being away, but pursue your dream, keep chasing it, and we'll see each other. So I go home once a month to attend all the doctor's appointments. So I go for a week. Depending on where I'm at, it's a 6 to 8 hour time difference. So I'll get used to being over here in this time difference. I'll go home for a week. My body has to try to adjust. And then I'll come back here. And then coming back here, if I want to watch a college basketball game, they come on at 1 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. So the downside that people don't see, and it's a long-winded answer, is how bad it can like wreck your body, especially if you're trying to do both. Now, if I was only covering the international prospects, then I could just, sleep normal hours. I don't have to pay attention to college basketball or know anything about the NBA, but my ambitious butt is trying to do both and I'm paying for it with lack of sleep and being exhausted. But I tell people there's much harder ways to make a living than watching basketball. So I say this, if this is something that a person wants to do, I think you have to like be fully committed. You have to love it. I don't know if it's something that if you just like doing it, then I don't know if you'll last, because the traveling sounds glamorous, but in Europe, it's not like it is in the States. In the States, if you go to scout a tournament, it's usually in a major city. In Europe, it can be in the middle of nowhere. You got to figure out, how am I going to get there? Do I got to take a train? Do I got to take a bus? Language barrier has not really been an issue, but it's not as smooth sailing as you would think.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And you're totally right about having that ambition, especially for something like that. I mean, you're going from the U.S. to now Europe. The schedule completely changes, your sleep schedule. And there are some games, college basketball games, that are big time games that you got to stay up for.
Yeah.
And there's so many prospects to cover. I know, during last year, when we were doing the podcast, we were scouting a couple players, and that took a big toll on me, and just staying up and making sure I finish. And it can be tedious, and I respect your work a lot and you for doing it. And I'm glad that you're in the position you're in, because it's truly inspirational.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it, because, like, for example, I think the Duke Carolina game ended at like 5:00 a.m. here.
Wow.
So I ended up sleeping all day. And I'm one of those people, I feel lazy if I sleep past a certain time. But I woke up, half the day was over here. Then I have to like create content for NBA Big Board. I got a podcast to do. And then on Monday, I have to stay up and watch the championship game, which is probably not going to end until Lord knows when, because there's probably going to be a bunch of commercials and longer halftime and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another day of kind of just sleeping during the day, and it just kind of throws your clock off. But
And speaking,
I signed up for it, and I enjoy it.
And on the championship game, is there anybody specifically that you're looking for on either side, like Kansas or North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm looking at everybody. I definitely want to see what Love does, if he can ride this momentum that he has, because if you look at his tournament, it's been great game, bad game, great game, bad game. So I definitely want to see if he, kind of breaks that streak, or if he continues. If there's anything that he has proven in this tournament, is that he's got big balls. He's a big time shot taker, super confident. And he's just not afraid of the moment. And I definitely do think that means something. But overall, I think scouts are going to look at him and say, he shot, I think, like 37% from the floor this season. Yeah. Ochai Agbaji, who played well. Christian Brown for Kansas. I think he's put himself in position to be considered as a first-round pick. So definitely want to see those guys. And then, of course, Baycott. Hopefully he's healthy. I thought he was done. He ended up coming back in the game. So I want to see how that kind of shakes out. And then Jalen Wilson, I think, for Kansas is an intriguing prospect. May not have like the best numbers, but he's like a four-man, has good size, decent passer. I definitely want to see him and see what he does, because he could be somebody that a team falls in love with his potential, and think that, he's draftable.
And last question before you go, we're going to have this debate later on in the podcast. Who is your rookie of the year? And side question, who is the best player that's a rookie currently?
Okay, so I answered this question on the podcast before, and man, my mentions were it's so many people that have like a dog in the race, or whatever the saying is. So I went with a co-rookie of the year. I took the easy way. I went with Barnes and Mobley, simply because you had two teams that were in the top 5. They're in the playoffs, and I valued their winning and their role that they've played. Of course, Cade has come on really strong in the last few weeks. Then now you got the Jalen Green fans that are coming along, posting his stats. So I think that co-rookie of the year, Barnes, Mobley, best long-term prospect, Cade Cunningham.
It would have been Josh Giddey had he not got hurt.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Josh was really, really good. I had watched Josh play live a few times, and I did not see him being as good as he was. I thought the player that he was this year, I thought that was like year 2 or year 3, but he came out the gates.
So Joel, is he a hater also, or is just
but you went to the extreme.
He thought the same thing I thought.
But you went to the extreme.
What was the extreme? You said he wasn't going to be good?
I just saw what I say. He'd be a
Keep
good
it a stat.
starter. I'm trying to figure out what I think. I said he'll be a good starter.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
No, he said more. I can't get it right now. He said more.
Yeah, Giddey. I wasn't high on Giddey
because I picked him as my dark horse rookie of the year to win the award, and I got laughed at for that by Riff here. But yeah, and then until the injury, it was
what's interesting about Giddey is Yeah, I mean, he was up there. I mean, but even then, I think Wagner's had a good year. I mean, this has been a
Absolutely.
really good class. But what's interesting about Giddey is, when I saw him play, I'm like, dang, like this dude is super slow. And he's the only guy that I've ever
Thanks.
seen that is like super slow. I feel like I can beat him in a foot race that thrives in a fast up tempo game. Like it's kind of weird that it's that combination, but at 6'8", I mean, he's such a gifted passer and confident passer. Like I love confidence. Like he is not afraid to whip a one-handed live dribble left hand pass through the defense. And that's kind of why I want like Jalen Duren to go to the Thunder, because I think he'd really benefit from playing with a guy like Giddey that would get him some wide open looks and just a vertical lob threat to run the floor. But I like Giddey a lot.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. We want to give you another shout out for coming on the show. You can check Rafael's stuff on NBABigBoard.com, I believe, or is it .net?
.com.
.com. Okay, I got it correct.
NBABigBoard.com. And
Yes.
then I still have NBA Draft Junkies, which is kind of what got me started. And I look at it like this. NBA Draft Junkies is my baby. This is what I started. It's like my mixtape, right? So it's kind of like,
It's the warm-up.
you're
Friday
going to
Night
find me
Lights.
talk about a 16-year-old prospect. And NBA Big Board is my album. In your album, you got to make hits. So I got to talk about the guys that everybody wants to talk about. But NBA Draft Junkies it's like, I don't know, I imagine you guys are rap fans. It's like my Benny the Butcher. It's like my mixtapes. And now I got to.
That's a good name.
An album with NBA Big Board.
That's awesome. Thank you again for being on the show. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, anytime. And then, my word is good. So you want to have me back on to talk about my sleeper prospect, we can do that.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We appreciate
As
that.
soon as it drops tomorrow, we will check it out. We'll check out the article on NBA Big Board. And I want to see Riv's reaction. That's what I really want to see.
I'm trying to see who he got too, man. You talking about the ACC? I got to see that.
All right. Thank you once again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a lot for having me on.
All right, go get some sleep. You deserve it.
Before we go on to the next segment, a quick word from DraftKings. College basketball fans join the action on the court during the biggest tournament of the year with DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. It's that simple. If they win, you win. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still join the college hoops action with DraftKings Pools. Everyone can play free pools all March long for a shot at a share of over $250,000 in prizes. Simply join a pool and answer questions like who will make it to the next round and who will hit the most three-pointers, then track your results. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with promo code TBPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, the Defensive Player of the Year award is a highly debated topic right now because it seems like there's these two sides. The sides of people that go with interior defenders and then the other side that goes with guards. Marcus Smart said that he deserves the Defensive Player of the Year. And currently he's favored at plus 120 to win the award. Now,
Really?
what do you think about the DPOY award? Is it heavily favoring bigs too much? Are guards being overlooked? Patrick Beverly talked about it on JJ Redick's podcast, how the advanced stats aren't going to be there for guards like they are for big men, centers, and forwards. I'll start with you, Riv, as somebody who is an avid Marcus Smart fan.
Can I ask you a question? You said he's the favorite right now?
He is.
He is at 120.
You
He has
called
to
me.
be the
You
favorite.
called me an avid Marcus Smart fan.
You have his jersey. Don't you own his jersey?
That's a funny jersey to have, actually, Marcus Smart.
Joel probably has it.
Does he really?
No, just being
Oh, I wouldn't put it past him, honestly.
Joe.
It's tough because I feel like big men are asked to do a little bit more than perimeter defenders. I
agree.
think as a big man, you're tasked with kind of protecting the paint, help side on your other players. I think as a perimeter guy, your task is just to stop their best offensive player, and that's tough. It's definitely a tough task, but I think big men are tasked with basically being the safety, being the guy that watches everything, being the guy that controls the backfield, being the guy that has to not only help your players but defend the rim, and the pick and rolls have to be on point. So I think like I wouldn't go as far as to say we should split the award up. I don't think that should happen. Marcus Smart does have a point. He's very versatile in his defense. He does everything for that Boston Celtics team. But I do think it's going to favor, in a regular season, it's going to favor bigs more because their task was just doing a little bit more. You know, I think, for example, Rudy Gobert, you know, the reason why he's got paid, the reason why he's put at this level because defensively, when he falls off the court, Utah Jazz are statistically one of the worst defenses in the league. But when he's on the court, they're an elite defense. They're an elite interior defense. And I think for Bam Adebayo also, this helps him. Giannis, this helps him. And it's like, it's tough because for guards, you know, them being so small, it's hard for them to truly impact the game at that way that a big can do. But I think the award is fine where it's at. You know, you got those rare guys like Michael Jordan, Ron Artest, Gary Payton, who did impact the game, who did eventually win Defensive Player of the Year. And if you have that type of impact, you'll get it. But I think right now, bigs, it's like I don't think the award should be split at all. I think it's fine where it's
Top
at.
three right now is Marcus Smart, Mikal Bridges, and Bam.
That's the order it should be.
Oh, Giannis is not in the top three no more.
Nope, he's fifth behind Gobert.
That's the order it should be.
Marcus
Damn.
Smart.
If you want to switch
And where's Robert
Bridges and
Williams?
Bam,
Robert Williams
I don't
It's
have a
not that.
problem. But Marcus Smart, I think he's the favorite to win DPOY. And I
don't
think
put it past him.
when's the last time a guard has won Defensive Player of the Year?
Gary Payton's actually the only point guard to ever win the award.
No, but didn't two guards win?
Yeah,
Jordan.
this
Yeah.
is the history of the DPOI award. There have been 39 winners. Gary Payton is the only point guard. Shooting guards have won it 5 times, none since MJ in 1988. And Kawhi and Ron Artest are the only forwards to win the award since 2000. They won it 3 times. The DPOI has been awarded to big men 77% of the time.
That stat alone should answer the question. I think it is favorite to bigs because you have guys like Marcus Smart, Patrick Beverly. Okay, remove Patrick Beverly.
Thank you.
I just thought because we were just talking about Pat Bev, but you got guys like Mikal Bridges. There's different perimeter defenders that get overlooked because they're not shown up in advanced stats what they do on the court. But when you look at the guy they had to guard all night, that superstar player, and they've struggled or took 20 seconds or anywhere from 16 to 20 seconds to get the shot they wanted, and they're shooting 6 of whatever, I think that is more impactful to a game, icing their star player, than it is being a help rotating defender, being somebody that you can rely on as a net because you can always get back. You're lengthy. So you understand the range that you have from the rim. There's anomalies like Bam that I said he belongs higher because he switches out.
You think
He's gonna be able to guard 1 through 5 because on that pick and roll you can't ISO him. You're on an island with Bam now, and so that guy, because he can do both, I would say okay, if he was to win it or was runner up, I'd agree with that. But a guy like Rudy Gobert, I mean, the Jazz are detrimentally worse defensively without Rudy Gobert, and I understand it totally. But there's a reason why the Jazz still struggle.
because of the playoffs.
There's a reason why, though. They don't have a solidified perimeter defensive stopper
But they only struggle in the playoffs.
because they don't have a
this is
But now they're
solidified.
struggling now.
But this is a regular season award.
Okay, I understand. But even then, they don't have a solidified perimeter defensive
facts.
stopper, which is why they see the problems that they see as a team. They give up these leads. They fold games they should have won because they don't have that guy to say, who's their best player? I'm going to stop him. And every team needs that in order to be somewhat successful. You can't have a successful unit without that guy.
Disagree.
I think you could. Okay, there's
I don't
anomalies.
know. Is that he's not necessarily wrong.
He's not right
look at
either.
the
Provide an
but-
example.
Huh?
The Warriors,
Utah Jazz aren't unsuccessful.
they are.
How?
Listen, we just had this whole debate with the Lakers.
No, according to your definition. Our definition wasn't the same as your definition.
But
They aren't
but
unsuccessful.
I'm telling you, mine. They've been unsuccessful.
They have not
Last
been,
year they
they
were
have
the
not
number 1
missed the
seed.
playoffs.
Okay,
I
look, let me
understand,
ask you
but
this.
they failed in the playoffs when it mattered to a team that didn't have Kawhi Leonard.
Let me ask you this: when the
true.
Warriors
Because
won
they
their
didn't have the
championships, who
defense.
was their rim protector? Draymond, but he was also their he was also their
I want to
solidified.
piggyback off that point you're making because
Okay.
I think Draymond Green, the reason why he's so favored every year to win DPOY is because he's the perfect balance between big and guard,
Right.
where he can switch out, but he's also the
Like
best
Bam.
help defender in the NBA. Exactly, like Bam.
Versatility is
Rob,
the key.
Rob Williams
Right.
also fits this
Oh
criteria.
yeah, Rob Will.
I 100% agree. And I tweeted this the other day that I feel like there should be 2 Defensive Player of the Year's awards given out, one for guards and forwards and one for a big man center and their impact. Because I think every single advanced metric will heavily favor bigs for the fact that defensive rebounding is heavily applied, and they really take defensive rebounding heavily into a lot of these advanced analytics, because ultimately that stops possessions, right?
Right, that's
it
the
stops
stop.
offensive rebounding. Therefore, you take away a possession from the offense. But Marcus Smart isn't wrong. He was quoted and he said that when I think about the best defensive player, I think about somebody who can switch all 5 spots.
Right.
Rudy Gobert can't switch all 5 spots, and I'm not knocking Rudy. He's one of the best interior defenders of this generation. But I think it goes to show that Rudy Gobert being a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and I'm not saying that Rudy's not an exceptional defender. He is. But I don't think we've ever looked at Rudy as the best defender in the NBA.
Never once.
Although he's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. It was different. With Ben Wallace, we looked at him as he's the best defensive guy.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard, we looked at him. Kawhi Leonard, we said that. Draymond, we said that. With Rudy, we don't say that. I feel like even though he's a way better defender than Marc Gasol, it's kind of like Marc Gasol's DPOY and Tyson Chandler's, where you're like, they won, but they're not the best
but when
defensive
is
player.
that- is that because of the change of the
DPOY,
game?
Like facts. That's exactly why I say that
This
too.
is something I thought about yesterday, because actually it would counter that point. The game has changed so much in the opposite direction, where in the 90s, that's the golden age of centers, right? So it would make sense for more big men to win that award because they are guarding those great dominant centers.
Great point.
In this era where we don't have 6 to 8 dominant centers, we have about 3-4 of them, and I would say only 3 offensive ones in Kat, Embiid, and Jokic. I don't classify Bam as a great offensive player who's a dominant force. Guards and forwards should be heavily favored in this era, where there is more switchability, where there are more gifted perimeter players. They should be valued more as defenders.
Agreed.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Man.
This is going to be one of my main points in my argument. To a degree, I understand the big man's getting love because some of these big men are versatile. They can play the perimeter. They can play down low. They're, like you mentioned, the eyes of the defense. They sit and they really direct traffic. They direct their guys of where to go, the positions, watching out for screens. They're calling out these guys to make sure that they're in position to be successful on defense. But to your point, 100%, this is an era where a lot of offense is relied upon jump shots. And who are these guys defending on these jump shots? The guards. I feel like everything you're saying is fact. Marcus Smart has been fantastic around the perimeter. His versatility is definitely strong, but the reason why I don't like the comment is because there are still great big man defenders that we just can't overlook just because they're big men. They didn't win this award just because they're a big man. They won their award because they're amazing at defense.
Are they elite because of Marcus Smart's versatility or Rob Williams' versatility?
Marcus
Both.
Smart is the most important player defensively for them.
I
but
just
both.
I
though.
feel like they've taken
Lost
that next level
lost
because
two
of
games since
Robert
he's been
Williams'
out.
versatility.
Yeah, both. Definitely,
they've taken
bro.
that next level.
Robert Williams
Marcus
is able to
Smart,
switch now.
Marcus Smart has always been an elite
Yeah.
defender, but I think
Yeah.
they've taken that level because
Definitely.
Robert Williams' versatility on
you need
defense
that.
has been elite.
I think they've taken that level for a variety of reasons. Rob Williams has been a huge part of that, but it's been their improvement communicating what they need to do defensively.
And who leads that?
It's not just Robert Williams.
I'm not
it's a whole
disagreeing.
thing.
Oh,
I mean,
but I'm
rotations
saying-
is a team thing. It's not just one guy calling
Fair
everything
enough.
out. But Marcus Smart is fourth in terms of every single player in the NBA that switches on ball screens. He's switched on 400 on-ball screens with ball handlers. That's fourth most. The Celtics have allowed 80.87 points per possession in those switches, which is below league average. So Marcus Smart is one of the more switchable
amazing.
players. He guards centers, power forwards on a nightly basis
He's been
and
doing
holds
that.
them down.
He's been doing that,
And he's a 6'3" guy. Like he's
He-
not the tallest guy, but he's strong.
But I don't want to say perimeter defense is because not every guy is Marcus Smart. You know, not every guy is going to be switching on point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power. Not every guy is going to be able to lock down the best perimeter players.
So how can you be DPOY? How can you be the best defensive player on the year? How can you win? How can you win 3 and not be the best defensive player in the NBA?
I'll tell you what, I don't necessarily agree with that statement. Like, we could have made a claim that Rudy Gobert was the best defensive player at least one of those 3 years that
The
he
first
won
one,
it.
that's it. That's it.
The best defender.
Even last year, you could have argued that he was the best
He
defender.
wasn't the best defender
Who was
last
better than
year.
him last year?
I think Giannis might have been better.
Giannis
I think
isn't-
Draymond was better.
but
Draymond
Giannis isn't
has
a guy
always
who
been a
guards
better.
the perimeter.
Draymond's
I
a
think
better.
Draymond's a better
We're
defender.
talking
Draymond's a-
regular season.
Draymond's
But
a
again,
better.
We're talking now. You're taking the playoffs into account, which is fine.
What?
Which
Draymond
I
didn't make the
understand.
playoffs last
No,
year.
I'm saying Giannis.
I'm not taking Giannis's playoff run into account.
Okay. So now I can adjust my statement. We're just taking off in the terms of, let's look at what the Jazz did and one of the main reasons why they were so successful. Rudy Gobert and his presence down low. There had to be some kind of acknowledgement.
But that was
in,
also why they couldn't stop anything.
in what sense?
They can't stop anything because Rudy or because they don't have a stopper.
Right, because
Was
now
it Rudy's fault
you're
that
forcing
Terrence
Rudy to
Mann was hitting 3 after 3 after 3
He
in the
did.
Western
He
Conference?
dunked on him though.
Was that none? Okay.
No, he drove on him.
nothing
It's not. It's just funny that I remember. Like as soon as he said it,
No, but
popped up.
Terrence Mann drove on him baseline and dunked on him.
Because he's trying to close out, but he made a good
Nah, that
move.
dunk was hilarious.
He made
That
a good
dunk was
move.
hilarious.
No, like I understand that most of those are misassignments, but Rudy Gobert was the in front of Terrence Mann for a lot of those baskets.
No, for sure. But what is he supposed to do? He can't really guard on the perimeter.
That's my point.
But again, why is that on
But
him?
Bam
He's
can,
a big.
though. So all right.
Can
so you're
Dwight
telling me a
Howard
guy
do that when he won
Wait,
3 years in a
where-
row?
No, but he can chase you off the 3,
So-
and that's all you needed a big to do. And Rudy can't even do that.
What do you mean by chase you off at 3? Explain
Chase-
that to me.
okay.
Rudy's not
we-
a horrible
In the
perimeter
NBA now,
defender.
guards count by 3s.
Uh-huh.
They mirror the game after to be the best
course,
3-point shooter
of
or best
course.
scorer, right? So if you can chase a guard out of their comfortable spot as a big man, you've done your job defensively.
In the sense of you just get a hand in their face, you just put a body
Right,
on them,
or
and
if you
them
just
pass
make
the
that
ball.
shot uncomfortable. I haven't
Rudy
seen
doesn't
Rudy.
do that?
No, he does not.
Interesting.
In the paint, he does.
In the paint, he does. I'm talking about when they finally get Rudy to come off of that big, and he's 1-on-1 with the guard that wants him. The guard wants him. He wants Rudy.
Because he's too.
They don't want Bam.
You're making a great point, but
They don't want
this is
They don't want Robert
going away
Williams.
from the original conversation, because the original conversation was you saying Rudy was the best defender for at least one of those. Maybe the first one, but
Maybe.
he won last year. Do you think he was a better defender than Draymond Green last season?
I think last year you can make that claim.
That Rudy Gobert was the best defender in the NBA last season.
You could, 100%.
I don't think so. I think Draymond Green.
He played a huge part in the Utah being
think
the number
Giannis-
one
Draymond
seed.
Green to me.
Giannis is the one I'll put right there. That's for me personally.
And
You
honestly,
think
last
Giannis
year,
is the better defender than Draymond?
last season,
I would
yeah.
say yeah. Last year, yeah.
I think Draymond is the best defender in the NBA. He's not winning DPOY, but he's the best
not,
defender in the NBA.
It's not a. It's not
He's
a
the
crazy
best defender in
claim.
the
It's not a
NBA.
crazy claim.
It's
Like,
a
bro,
crazy claim right now.
Not when he was playing. When he right now,
Right
now,
now,
as we
yeah,
stand,
right now
yes.
it's a crazy claim.
But when he was
He was
healthy,
running
nah, he was
away with
crazy.
the
He was
award
crazy.
before he got hurt.
I agree.
Like he was
Before the
running
injury,
away with the award.
Joel, before the injury, I shake your hand, 100%.
But even
Like
even last season, when you look at the Warriors, they had a top 4 defensive rating with Draymond Green, and that was with the Warriors team that we looked
Being
as
mid.
not
Being
talented.
mid.
They were like number 1 this year, clear before he messed up his back and got hurt. Like they were clearly number 1.
No disagreement
So
there.
that's why Rudy Gobert has never felt like the best defensive player in the NBA to me. And what you're talking about going on to the perimeter and making guards uncomfortable, I think it speaks volumes. Although the advanced analytics favor Rudy and say he's this great defender, and I'm not knocking that he is,
okay, man.
NBA players openly mock Rudy Gobert and challenge him and don't respect him defensively. Some of the top stars.
So let me ask you a question.
Because of that, I have to take that into account.
So you would, but I don't. That's weird because the numbers tell you Rudy Gobert defensively is a monster in the regular season, but the players tell you, oh, we don't really respect him. But when you get on the court, the numbers are telling you that's whatever they're saying doesn't really make sense. So if we're saying, oh, we don't think Rudy Gobert should be Defensive Player of the Year, but the numbers are telling you, well, look what he's doing at a historic pace. Then where does the award go in a sense?
You want to know why it's tough? It's tough to gauge that because although all these advanced analytics show us these things, there are examples that our eyes have shown us
I agree.
from
So what should we
games or
base the award
series
off
that
of?
we
Just-
see Rudy struggle.
Should we let the players vote who's the defensive
Well, I mean,
player?
there's not really a numerical stat for great defense. Like there's things that you can do that uphold like a great defensive
good take.
status,
Yeah. It's
a
but
good take.
there's not a numerical stat that says I'm this great defender. No, you got to watch that guy to see
That's a great
who's he
take.
doing it against.
It's a great
so
take.
Marcus Smart, he's been doing it against a lot of guys since 2022 started. Just saying, like
It's a great take.
number one defense. Robert Williams is doing the same thing right next to him, switching off on everything, chasing guys off the three, making everybody uncomfortable.
So what about Bam? A person who can guard the
Like I
perimeter.
said.
But no, what about a person who can guard the perimeter and protect the
Versatility
rim?
is so
Because
key,
if we're
especially
gonna
right
give
now.
Marcus Smart his credit for versatility, we have to look at somebody who can not only guard pick and rolls, guard the perimeter, their best star, doesn't matter who it is, and also guard the rim and on help side.
that
You know what I
player
think differs
definitely
it?
gets favored. But what
That's
I will
Bam.
say to that is that's why I feel like there should be two separate
Well,
defensive player of the years.
But Bam
to go
would
to
probably
different
get
positions.
credited because he does both.
Is first team all defense not enough?
No, it's not enough.
Why,
People
though?
want the
That's a
award.
huge
The award
claim.
is a big thing.
That you get an award for that.
You don't get an award for a first team.
You do.
You do not.
You do.
You don't get an award for a first team.
So you just get like
You
the
get it. You
acknowledgement.
get an acknowledgement that you've made their defensive first team.
I'm-
You only get an award for a trophy,
I
an
mean,
MVP,
That is
a DPOY.
I
No,
think
it's not
that is a
trophy.
trophy.
It's not a trophy.
You got to.
I think you get something that says
It's probably like a sticker.
But
or-
what
no,
this
no,
is
no,
this
no,
is-
no,
Come
it's
on,
just
it's
that
the NBA.
sticker,
Come on,
you know,
bro.
the,
Sticker is
the
crazy.
responsibilities of bigs and guards and forwards are so different in that guards and forwards are
Not
checking
award.
guards and forwards are checking
Mm-hmm.
the best players in the NBA, where centers are helping on those players.
That's what the center's supposed to do.
That's why I think it's. I would love for a different format to happen when it pertains to this award, and maybe have two awards awarded to one guards and forwards, and another one to big forwards and centers.
So, what is the criteria when Rudy Gobert is getting these DPOYs? Like, is it numbers?
Statistically, when he's off the
Field goal
court, they're
percentage,
horrible.
yeah, field goal percentage around the rim, blocks.
So we can all
Opponent
defense
agree,
rebounding.
Opponent true shooting, stuff like that.
Drew. We can all agree Rudy Gobert has never been the best defensive player in the league. Can we
I
agree?
think he's been
There's
one,
an argument
like 1
for
year.
it, but can we agree? Here
Like
at this table?
definitively, he's never been the best.
Yes.
Definitively, no,
I
he's
can't
never
agree
been
to
the
that.
best.
I can't agree to that.
I think Draymond's always in the conversation.
Listen, last year you
Kawhi
could have
healthy,
argued it, like you
Giannis,
mentioned, his
always
first
in the
defensive player of the year. You could argue
Kawhi,
it.
wait, when was Rudy's first DPOY? If that was when Kawhi was healthy, he was no way the best defensive player in the
My
year.
point, and
Defensive player
Kawhi
in
doesn't
league
guard
that
the
year.
rim.
He won
No.
one.
You're
Then
right, but that's
Draymond won
Kawhi.
one.
So Kawhi won back-to-back 2014, 15, 2015, 2016. Draymond won 2016, 2017. Draymond won 2017, 2018.
And then Rudy Gobert started winning.
And then so Rudy went back-to-back, then Giannis, then
Rudy
Rudy
Gobert
again.
won the year Kawhi won a championship with
2019,
Toronto.
you told me his defense was mid that year.
Who?
So I'll tell you what.
Him right there.
Kawhi,
First,
I
told-
did not.
You did tell me that.
hey, King.
Whose
You
defense?
told me in Toronto
So, the second
his,
year.
his defense was mid that.
I
You
said
did-
he had help. You know that.
No, you
Mid?
told me he was playing mid defense throughout the regular season because he wasn't going hard.
He was coasting. He was coasting.
That's what you told me.
He was coasting.
And then in the playoffs is when you saw.
But we know
playoff
when
defense go
Kawhi
off.
decides to, he's the best.
It's not about a win. No. It's about no. We're not
Okay,
going to give
the
a guy an
20
award because he decides to play defense. He was not playing
That's
defense
right.
that
All right,
regular
Let's not get
season. But
sidetracked.
he wasn't playing defense.
Let's not
that
get
regular season.
sidetracked. That first season, Kawhi did not play.
Oh, okay.
He did
So
not.
Rudy Gobert won when?
He won 2017, 2018. Then he won back-to-back that 2018, 2019, which is Kawhi's championship.
I think Gobert was the best defender. One of those.
I would say, you could argue too. I think his first defensive player
You
of the year.
have to argue
and last
all
year.
three.
Agreed.
But
No,
I
the
think
Kawhi-
one is
Yeah.
a firm. Like he was definitely the best for one of them. That's insane if he wasn't the best for one
I
of them.
agree. I agree.
Maybe not two.
What year?
What was it,
2017,
2018? I think he
and
was the
you
best.
could argue last year he was the best defensive player in the league.
Last year?
Last year.
No.
I thought Giannis. No, I thought Draymond. I picked Draymond to win the award.
Okay.
I thought Draymond.
Did
I
Draymond
thought
finish
Giannis
top
was the
three?
best defender last year.
Draymond. I think he finished top three. He should
Ben
have
Simmons
finished
was two.
Oh my God! Never mind. I'm pretty sure Giannis was probably top three.
Gobert's a better defender than Simmons?
It's a great question, man.
That is a great question. Let's think about that.
He's not.
Oh my God, Ben Simmons is
He's not.
rated on defense.
No, I mean Simmons is
Over-
not a better defender than Gobert. That's what I meant.
Got him.
Yeah, that's what I actually.
It's a
meant.
good question.
What's up? What?
What's your answer?
I like
Last season,
I take my
Because
dad back.
Simmons gets cooked by centers all the time and bigger players.
Yeah, he cannot guard bigs.
But he puts guards
In what?
hell.
Trey gave him 40.
Trey gave him. He put him in hell.
Kawhi put him in a blender sauce. So all that defensive guru.
That's Kawhi Leonard.
Don't do that. If you're that guy, you're that guy. Don't do
but
that.
it's close. I'm gonna go Gobert, but last
Fair.
season
Can't
It's
listen to
fair,
him.
it's
He's a
fair,
Ben
it's
stand. I'm gonna go Gobert. And
I said
close.
Gobert.
You said Gobert.
Oh,
and
sorry.
that makes
Shut
me,
your
that
ass
makes me
up,
say it's
man.
fair.
I thought you said
Shut your
Ironically,
ass up.
moving off from defense, we're going to talk about a team that doesn't play much of it, the Sixers. Right now, it feels like
That is ironic.
Similar to the Heat, it feels like they are imploding a little bit. Not as much though, because Doc Rivers called out James Harden in a way. He said that it was more James Harden than what Detroit was doing when they lost to the Pistons. And the question is, do you think either Doc Rivers or James Harden are more the problem in Philly currently? Keith, I feel like you have something to say when it pertains to this.
I'm handing it off first.
All right, I'll go. I'll say this.
What will you say?
Doc Rivers isn't the best coach by any means, no. But in this situation specifically, Harden's play has been inconsistent. There's some nights where he drops 30 effortlessly. There's some nights he's shooting under 20% from the field. But you can never fail with him to at least put up a near triple-double. We had this statement said on the show a little bit I want to say a few shows ago, where he's becoming Russell Westbrook slowly but surely.
Oh, my God.
And that is such a strong thing to say. And I don't mean it in an ill way, but it's getting to that point where...
You said that?
No. It was said on the show. We spoke about that.
That doesn't hurt me.
No, and I don't mean it to... I'm not
I'm
saying
trying to
it.
figure out who
I know.
said that. You said that?
I might have. I said it the other day.
Oh, damn.
No, it was...
think so?
No,
I said
no.
he's reaching that level.
What happened? It was someone said that on Twitter, and then we brought it up in the show. Like he's trending in that direction, and I don't necessarily disagree in the sense of the stat line's always gonna look good. He's averaging 20. He's I want to say second right now in assists in the NBA with 10.1.
23, 10, and 8. I got you.
Like his stat line is pristine, but then you really dig deep
41,
into it.
33 splits.
That's where I really struggle with. His efficiency is too inconsistent night in, night out. And when you need him to really be that guy that gets the engine going, of course you have MB, but at the same time, you need both of these guys clicking on all cylinders if you want to see Philadelphia be that dominant team in the East that we at least believe that they can be, given the fact that they have two. Well, you have at least Embiid, who's a top 5 ball player, but then you have James Harden, who's at minimum a top 13 ball player in the NBA. And in a past MVP. I think, do I blame Doc Rivers to a degree? Yes, because we know his history. We've seen that he has a history of putting players in wrong spots and not maximizing their abilities. But right now, I look at James Harden, and he's his own coach to a degree. He understands that he has the keys to the offense. He's allowed to facilitate it as much as he wants to. And I need to see him take on more responsibility. I need to see his play continue to be consistent before I can place blame on anyone else but him.
James Harden is the one to blame for the Sixers' recent struggles, and I think he's going to be the one to blame for the Sixers not reaching their maximum potential. Doc Rivers has blown multiple series. There's no doubt about that. Harden also isn't the best in his playoff history, although I think those performances are a bit overblown. And people do shed light on those. No, I'm talking about just playoff. Those playoff chokes that Harden has. There are a few of those that are super bad, but the rest aren't as bad as people like to make it out to be.
I'm with you.
With that being said, James Harden has had arguably one of the more historic 5-year peaks a player has ever had in NBA history. Offensively, the step backs, the usage being so high. I think Luka right now is playing similar to how Harden played back in Houston. We know Harden right now is dealing with a hamstring injury. He's still nursing it. He's a player that historically has not taken the greatest care of his body. He's a player that historically has not performed at a better level than how he performs in a regular season, although he puts the bar very high. In the regular season, he averages 30, 29, 35. He's never averaged over 35 once in the playoff run. He averaged that in a season. With that being said, I feel like James Harden right now, you watch him, he's not the same player. His first step is not there. He's passive. He's a pass-first point guard who's very turnover-prone. His passes are lazy. It's as simple as that. You'll see the occasional highlight multiple highlights, in fact, of Harden making these exceptional passes in the pick and roll to Embiid. It looks effortless. Then there are some times where he's just lazy with the ball and he doesn't put enough force and he doesn't think about it. And that's why he averages more than 4 turnovers a game. And that's that's a large number for somebody who has the ball that much. Since starting 4-0, the Sixers are 7-8. James Harden, 33% of his points come off free throws. He has not adjusted his game. And I know we don't talk about these new rules because it feels like players have adjusted past it. I don't feel like Harden has adjusted to these new rules. You still see him trying to foul bait. And I think that's been a knock on many Harden critics his entire career, that he doesn't assert himself without trying to draw fouls continuously. James Harden's an all-time great player. We're seeing the downfall of James Harden right now. We're never going to see Houston James Harden again. We're not going to see that, and that's the truth of it. He's a player who's 32 years old. He doesn't take care of his body. He is notoriously known for hanging out with rappers and going clubbing and doing a lot of late night stuff. And when you're younger, you can get away with it. But right now at 32 years old, LeBron is an anomaly. What he's doing doesn't happen. Players regress around this age. We've seen it with Westbrook. He's around this age. We're going to see it with Harden. We're starting to see it with Harden. Harden right now is lowering. He's not a MVP superstar level player anymore. He's just not.
You know,
it's as simple as that.
He's not, and he's still a walking 23, 10, and 8.
It's because of his usage, and that's as simple as that.
I don't.
You look at James Harden.
Russell Westbrook.
You look at James Harden. 4 of his last 12 games, he shot 27% from the field or worse. In his prime years, the heyday of when he was scoring 30 and 40 and 50, everybody knows him for a step back 3. Now I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think Harden shoots on step back 3s percentage wise?
Right now?
Just in his peak in Houston.
Like 33, 32, maybe less. I don't think it was efficient.
He shoots 35%.
God didn't give me a chance.
His career 3-point percentage has been 35% around there. So he's never been an elite shooter. He's the only player He's never been an elite 3-point shooter.
Never been an elite shooter.
Has he ever been an elite 3-point shooter?
By the numbers, nah.
He's never been.
I guess because he takes them so much in volume. We're talking about a guy who's number 3 all time.
We're talking about
number 3 all.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And guess what? He's number 3 all time because of volume. He's the only player in history to take 200 plus threes in every season of their career and not shoot 40% once. He's not a great 3-point. He's not a sharp shooter, 3-point shooter. He's not. Steph has a high volume. He's a great 3-point shooter.
We're talking about the great
Clay
shooter
has
of all
okay,
time.
and you're talking about we talk about
way different.
Although Harden is third on that list behind Steph and Reggie Miller,
Is Dame a better shooter?
He's a better shooter than Harden. Ray Allen is a better shooter than Harden. Harden is third all time, but he's not a better shooter than Ray Allen.
He shot way more than Reggie.
He's not a better shooter than Peja Stojakovic. He's not an elite shooter from 3.
I would say he's elite, but he's not as good as the other elites.
He's not an elite shooter from 3. 35%.
You're the third most.
Wait, 35% is league average.
No, I agree.
That's his career average.
How is that
a great
He's a good shooter.
He's number 3 all time. Like, you got to give him that
because
respect.
of volume.
I understand, yes, but still, he still has the second highest most threes made in a season. Also,
just because you take them doesn't mean you have to make them. So you still have to hit those shots. Just because he's taking a lot of shots, he still has to hit them.
You're right, but it's the volume. 35%. 35% of them go in. KD is a way better shooter than James Harden.
35 with that volume is still pretty decent.
Yeah.
All these players.
He didn't say he was a bad shooter. He said he was a good shooter.
No,
he's not an elite shooter.
But that's what I'm saying. I still would classify him as elite. Like
that's
what
ridiculous.
What Curry's doing. There's a reason why he gets solidified
everybody we classify as
greatest.
elite has shot 40% at least one time. That's a fact. You get called an elite shooter when you hit that 40 mark. As Dame did 40?
And Dame's an elite shooter.
He's never touched 40.
I thought Dame touched 40 once.
No, I'm asking about James. Never?
James has never touched.
He's never shot 40%.
Has he even shot 38, 39?
I think he has.
He might have when he was in Brooklyn in that short stint.
I'm about to come through for us. Here we go.
I feel like we letting Doc Rivers off the hook, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Drew.
Nah, I feel you. No. They're 100% right. The highest he ever shot was 39%.
2011. 6th man of the year.
I ain't counting that. I'm talking about him as the man.
Highest he ever shot as
Houston.
the man, 37. 2018-2019 season.
Good
So
shooter.
look at this.
That was
Just
WCF, right?
I think so.
I mean, bro, we're talking about his attempts.
2017 was that?
And that year that he shot 37%, he's taking 13 threes a game.
let me ask
What
you
year was that?
something.
2018, 2019.
Let me ask you something. Do you think James Harden is a better 3-point shooter than LeBron James?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. I think LeBron's actually a better 3-point shooter.
I think that's
Not gonna lie.
a little crazy.
I think he is.
I think it's a little
LeBron
crazy.
for his career shoots 38% from 3.
But he doesn't shoot as much as Harden.
But as of recently, he's picked up his volume and he's
He's
still
been
shot at
better.
a high
He's
clip.
been really good as of late. Yes, I would not say he's a better 3-point
I think
shooter than
LeBron is
Harden.
one of the more underrated 3-point shooters of our time.
I
But
don't
surely-
disagree. I don't disagree.
People think he can't shoot. He can shoot.
No, people that think they don't shoot don't watch basketball.
Right.
My point being, I just think that given the volume, you can't necessarily look at that field goal percentage and really.
LeBron is top 10 all time in 3-pointers made.
Yeah, I mean he's a
Is
beast.
he an elite 3-point shooter?
No,
But he's top 10.
James Harden is number 3. He's not an elite. He's not an elite 3-point shooter.
He's number 3
LeBron,
now.
well, he's also number 10, 19 years in.
Would you call Kyle Korver a better 3-point shooter than James Harden?
Yeah,
He's behind him.
because that was his job.
He's behind Harden.
I understand, but I'm classifying him as elite. But there's still shooters that can be elite and be better than him.
I wouldn't say he's elite though, but we're nitpicking.
I think
elite
it's fair.
is shooting over 40% for your career from 3.
I mean, but again, we're talking about
That's
someone
what I
who's-
think is elite.
The NBA completely changed, and him and Steph Curry are part of that revolution where Steph Curry gets all the credit for sure, but you still had James Harden in that line of seeing, wow, Steph Curry is taking a lot of threes and is translating to more points put on the board. I should follow that blueprint. And he didn't do it as good as Curry, but he did as good of a job as you could in mimicking that.
It hurt Harden's game. In hindsight, it hurt Harden's game.
We're talking about MVP.
Why are we letting
35
Doc
points per
Rivers
game.
off the hook, man?
Go ahead, please tell us.
Like I feel like,
Tell us.
bro, this man has been gifted elite team
After-
after elite
That's how I
team
feel.
after elite
That's
team,
how I feel,
and
bro.
it's just like he has one ring.
But at
Hey.
this point right now, look
He
at
has
Harden's
one
incomplete
ring.
All right, we're talking about right now. Look, we're talking about right now this team with Philadelphia.
I'm not
we're not
letting
talking
him
about
off
the
the
grand
hook.
scheme of
I'm
things.
not letting him off the hook with this team.
Because if we're talking about
No,
the whole
you can't.
grand, right
I'm not.
now, though, look at James Harden. He's been so inconsistent.
Doc
23,
Rivers
10, and
definitely has blame, and I don't think he's the coach to take a team to the championship.
I agree.
But the thing that bothers me about James Harden is that when things don't go his way, he pouts.
Yeah, that's true.
Doc Rivers is probably getting fired after this season.
But I feel like
And Daryl
sorry,
Morey
yeah.
is going to bring a coach that James Harden wants.
But when-
And Embiid,
But
right?
when
And
things,
Embiid, of
when
course.
things don't go Doc way, he blames a player.
I'm not saying you're wrong. But
Did he blame a player in
He blamed Paul
Clippers?
George in the bubble.
Okay,
Then he blamed
yep.
Ben Simmons.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, I get it, but where's your adjustment skills? You're a vet. Like, where's your adjustment
All right,
skills?
but
Where's
let's-
your
let's
attention
really-
to detail? Like, it's the little things that are reasons why Greg Popovich has 5 championships, reason why Phil has all
They
of
were
like,
not supposed to lose to Atlanta.
Let's address it quick. 100%, they should not have lost to
They
Atlanta.
shouldn't have lost to Denver. They
Oh
shouldn't.
no.
Like,
but,
you keep
but
it
you
like,
can also
come on,
you
bro.
can also acknowledge that Paul George was not who they were
yeah,
expecting to be.
and keeping Montrezl Harrell for that long
Agreed.
is not Paul George's
Fair
fault.
enough. Fair enough.
It's not.
Fair enough.
I agree
legit
with what
not.
you're saying,
Yep.
but at the same time,
No, Harden has to be better.
Harden
too.
has
Yeah.
pouted, and Doc Rivers is probably gone from Philly.
Yeah.
I would
Unless
say
they win.
right now,
That's Mike Budenholzer.
I
Same
would
shit
say
happened.
my betting favorite right now to be the next head coach for Philly is Mike D'Antoni.
It's got to be. But I'm tired of that. I'm tired of it.
What are we gonna get run?
Stop catering to him.
Where is he right now? Brooklyn?
James Harden's
Yeah.
been catered to
No,
almost
he's
his
not.
entire
He's not in Brooklyn.
career.
He's not in Brooklyn no more?
No.
They fired him?
They didn't fire him; he just left.
Really?
Yeah, but he was there for only one season, not there.
Wow, I thought he was there
He's
the whole
been getting
time.
catered to his entire career. I'm
Doesn't
tired
matter,
of it,
but-
man.
This is what I'm saying though is that
I'm about
I
to
know
look it
that
up.
we like Harden. Maybe I know like this going back to what we said. Karl Malone, I don't view as a top 10 scorer all time. He's not a top 10 offensive player all time. I think
But
I
he's
can
an
name.
elite scorer.
You can say that a lot of his points
There
came
you
from
go.
pick and roll.
I don't know.
That's tough, Joel.
New
That's tough.
Orleans.
He's not top 10 scorer all the time.
Yeah, that is tough.
Offensive player, I don't think so.
Okay,
I think-
offensive player, I could
Yeah,
dig
Well,
that.
offensive player, yes.
offensive player scorer. I mean, come on, it's like
Nah, but no, you bring
no,
passing
no.
into it
Because
automatically.
he's a big, so it's different. You can't. It's different. You can't put him.
I could probably name 10 scores. better than
D'Antoni's
him.
the
think so?
assistant coach
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
because his versatility.
Well, first MJ,
Duh.
LeBron,
Duh.
Kobe,
Yeah.
KD.
Okay.
Is for Steph,
Harden, Steph.
is a better scorer. Harden, Wilt.
Okay.
Kareem.
As a scorer, Larry Bird,
Kareem.
Kareem. That's like 8 right there. I think that's 9 actually. So I just
I
need
think it's
one
9.
more.
All right. I would.
Allen
throw-
Iverson, I think you can say he's a better scorer.
No.
Because of his versatility.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
but-
That's fine.
Yeah, no, AI's a better scorer.
It's just tough to wrap around when he's the second. He has the second most points.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I've never viewed Harden as an elite 3-point shooter. I don't. I don't think he's an. I don't think.
Am I
I've never
bugged?
viewed him as an elite 3-point
little
shooter.
bit.
Am I?
Just a little bit.
Elite is, I mean, it's all wordplay.
Elite means
It's
best
all
of the
wordplay.
best shooters in the
it's
NBA.
word-
What? I mean, was he not one of the best?
Nobody's
He's a great shooter.
I don't think nobody's ever called him. Wow, he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA.
No, but he's one of the greatest shooters
No,
in the
he's
NBA.
a great shooter. Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
but nobody's ever said, "Yo, James Harden is one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA." His name comes
That's
like
fair.
10 every year. Like we know it's Steph, we know it's Clay, we know it's Dame, we know it's KD. Kyrie's a better shooter than James Harden.
Facts.
I can name some more.
We're talking about like when him in Houston, or we're talking about him now,
Him, Houston is
or in the grand scheme of things.
him in Houston was
Everybody he just named
easy.
still shoots better.
Kyrie, I don't know if he's a better.
Kyrie's not a better shooter
shooter.
than Harden.
Oh, nah.
I don't know if that's true.
Kawhi's a better shooter than Harden as well.
See, that's another one. I don't know if that's true.
I don't
40%
know.
Paul
I don't know.
George
I- that I
Paul
don't
George is a
know.
better shooter
Paul George is a
than,
better shooter
Harden.
than Harden. I'll take that. I hate Paul George, but yo, he's a
Like
better
I
shooter.
classify Harden in the same.
He's a great shooter.
In the
Harden
same.
has the
Still?
second most threes made in a season ever.
I know y'all like him.
'cause of the
Is
volume.
Bradley
He's
Beal
taking
a better
13
So
It's
shooter?
a
what
game,
if it's
bro.
the volume?
Maybe.
We're again,
Bro,
Bro,
value
all those
matters.
guys have the same volume, bro. Relatively, most
No,
of
they
those
don't
guys,
have. They don't have the same value, but
their volume is pretty high, bro. Like,
There's
if you're going to shoot that many
this
threes,
is insane.
it's gonna happen.
Like the most threes ever made in a
see this,
season.
let me see.
You have Steph Curry with 402. That'll never be touched.
40%.
Number two, Steph Curry is the greatest ever.
but you
Greatest
keep
shooter
yelling
ever. They
us.
might
You
kill
keep
you.
telling us about what he's done in totality.
Greatest shooter.
What he's
ever.
done in
kill you.
totality.
Talk
I'm gonna
about
tell you
shooting.
about
I know.
what
All
the
right, so
percentage is.
I want to
bro.
finish. James Harden, 378. Next year, not next year. Excuse me. Next is Curry with 354. Curry 337. Curry
40%,
324.
40%,
Harden
299.
40%.
You
But
notice
there's two names in there.
Yeah, and
Harden and Curry.
Harden was at 36, 37%.
To say he's not
That's
elite,
not
but who-
elite, bro.
with the
That's
volume,
legit
it
not
is elite.
No, it's not
With
elite,
the volume,
bro.
it is elite. You're looking at Curry, who has the volume and is better than Harden, and you're
He's an
allowing
elite
that
shooter.
to cloud your judgment.
No, it's not
with
just
Harden,
that. I'm looking at
who
he
has
hasn't
similar
shot
volume, but a little bit
40%,
less.
bro. He shot
Curry,
30. He shot
Curry is
a
top
percentage
5 all
above
time
average,
3-point
bro.
percentage.
Say that one more time.
Curry, the reason why he's saying that with Curry, it's not him being biased about Curry. It's him.
No, who's saying he's
No,
being biased?
it's about him saying Curry is top 5 all time in 3-point percentage.
No, I understand because there's
Curry-
a reason
Curry can
why
take
we look
third-
at Curry like he is the greatest shooter ever.
So
because
by
he
your
has the numbers and
by
the-
your analysis, by your stats that you just brought up, your volume and taking into account all that volume, oh, he makes all these threes. Then for you, James Harden is top 3 all time 3-point shooter.
I don't think he's saying that though.
that is not what I'm saying.
I think what he's saying, right?
The reason why
No,
Harden
this
has
is-
those
this is what
records
he's
is
saying.
because
This is what
Ray
he's saying.
Allen didn't shoot that many threes.
This is what he's saying.
The era was different.
This is what he's saying, right? For the guys we're comparing him to that don't have this volume, right? They're shooting, say, 7 threes and make 3, 4, right?
You're right.
Now, if he's shooting, I'm going to make up a number.
No, you don't have to because he shot 7 threes in 2013, 2014. He shot 36%. He shot 7 threes the next year. He shot 37%. He shot 6 threes the 2 years before that. He shot 36%. So even at a low volume, he shot 8 threes. He shot 35. So even at a low
What's the
volume,
most he's ever attempted?
10.
No,
but even
no,
at a low,
the most he ever attempted was 13,
pardon me,
and
13.
that was the year that
Yeah,
he has
yes,
the number
but
2 most
even on
threes
a low
made.
volume,
he
he shot the
attempted
same
13.
percentage.
and that's his career high in 3-point
Bro,
percentage.
you don't think, yo, bro, you don't
Is it
think.
really?
Yes, that's his career high in 3-point percentage this season, where he had 13 attempts
You
a
don't,
game.
you don't think that all those records are going to be shattered
In
in
Houston.
10 years?
By who?
Trae Young.
Yeah.
he could?
That wasn't
all
his
those-
best year.
No, definitely.
Bro,
Houston.
but why?
No,
but,
it was 2015.
but why are all those
37%.
records going to be shattered? Because
Volume.
the volume.
Not
we
because he
know,
actually shoots better.
we
Okay,
know
no, but-
Reggie Miller and Ray Allen are
But
better
I'm not
shooters
saying.
than James
I'm
Harden.
still saying he's an elite shooter.
No, but I get it. But
He's
his,
elite.
even on low
Ray Allen's a
volume,
better
he was
shooter
a
than
Ray Allen,
regular
yeah.
shooter.
Reggie Miller too.
He's not an off-the-dribble shooter.
What?
That has to
Miller's
go.
not off
That
the-
has to
What,
go in
what
account.
did you say? Who's not an off the dribble?
Reggie
shooter?
Miller.
What are you talking about?
Bro,
Yeah, that's
he's
kinda
he's,
cap. That's cap.
he's creating his own
cap.
shot like Harden.
No, he's
Not like Harden, but he
Okay,
can do
but
it.
that-
But
that's
just
what
don't
I'm-
do that.
Bro.
He can do it, bro.
Bro.
Don't, just because he can't do like Harden
Bro,
doesn't
no,
mean he can't
because
do it.
y'all just like foregoing like, yo, yeah, like Reggie's just a better shooter than Harden.
Wait,
is.
what are you saying though?
I'm not saying he's not.
Oh, okay.
He is a
I'm
better
just
shooter.
saying like y'all just say that like it's foregone, like
It
we
is.
can't even think about it.
You can't
I don't
think about
think
it.
about it.
What's wrong? Come on,
Harden's
bro.
going tween, step back. Like he's taking
Harden's a
13
better
threes.
scorer
Bro,
than
we
Reggie.
just saw the stats. bro, we just throw the stats.
Harden's a better
A
scorer than Reggie.
volume thing. Like, come on, bro. I don't.
But he shot his career high 3-point percentage.
That wasn't
Let's not
even-
get off track. We're off track a lot.
That wasn't
Let's
even.
get back to Philly.
That
Let's get back to
wasn't
Philly.
even. No, you're right, but that wasn't even an elite percentage though. It wasn't an elite percentage.
That's a great percentage. It's not
That's a
elite.
great. It's not
37?
elite.
Yeah, it's a great percentage.
13 attempts. Like I
He
give
shot,
him that
but
respect.
I just told you he on
All right,
a
so
low
what's Trae Young?
volume. He
Tell
was
me-
at 37.
if you tell me
so
that
it didn't really matter what volume it is.
Look, Trae Young last season, if he had a better 3-point percentage than Harden that season, I'll shake your hand.
What you just said is a fact, though, bro.
What?
The last statement, nobody heard what he just said.
What?
Even if it's volume, high volume or no volume, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. His percentage doesn't change. It's 37, 36.
Okay. Now,
He's a great shooter.
Now, you can make that argument for guys that take a lot, but you can't make that argument for guys that don't take a lot. Because you don't.
Give me a player example.
Okay, like a guy like, I don't know, Peja Stojakovic, who doesn't shoot the ball every time down. He's not the focal point of the offense like Harden is.
I hope you're not trying to tell me Harden shoots better than Pacers.
No, but I'm not.
Trent,
No,
Trent,
but
Trent.
what I'm just trying to say to you guys is that, like, yo, volume, even though, like, it's like, yeah, he's taking more, so he should be making more.
Well,
that's not always the case.
Well, let me.
But we're just talking about 3-point shooting and who's has.
I just want to
who's
say
more
this. I
skilled
just want to
than
say this real quick because I have Peja stock. He's also taken that Harden
Stojakovic is-
type of
he's a beast.
volume early in his career, and Peja shot 40%, 43%, 40%, 41%, 38,
Elite
on
shooter.
6,
He's elite.
7
He is
That's an
volume.
elite shooter.
So Harden has took that type of volume, but obviously the league has changed and now he's taking more. But when Peja took Harden, when they both had the same volume, Peja's shooting 40%.
Serious question.
This is the
Is
thing.
Peja number one?
No,
And that's
terms
what
of
I'm
what?
saying.
Can I ask you, what was his
Being
field
the
goal?
number one
that
scorer.
doesn't matter.
What
It's
was
just
his-
about
When they
being a
come up
better
the court, they
3-point
call
shooter.
a play for him.
What
In
was-
Sacramento, he gets the first play.
What was his field goal attempts
You know
per
that.
game?
You know that. Don't do that.
What was
Who was
his
there
field
in
goal
Sacramento
attempts per
with him?
It
game?
was him, Weber, Bibby.
Listen to what you just said.
What do you mean?
Weber's
No, he
Hall of
averaged
Famer.
20. No, there was a year where he averaged 20 points in there. Where
It wasn't a year. There was 24 points per game year. Don't
was nice.
stop
He's
doing
the
that,
number
bro.
one option on
No,
that
not
team?
the number one option, but he gets plays called.
So you
for
think
him.
Harden's an elite 3-point shooter? That's all we're talking about.
No,
here.
I think he's a great 3-point shooter. I think you guys are trying to play him. No, I think you guys are trying to play him. You're saying he's shooting average levels, but he's shooting 13.
That's ridiculous.
a
That's
game.
his fault. I don't know why he's doing that.
Yeah, because he completely
37%.
that year,
That's three off of 40.
He completely removed the
Everybody
mid range
Steph, bro.
from his game,
Trying to be Steph.
and ultimately that's hurting his game down the line.
I mean, you guys went to the second round. The conference finals with one of those years of him doing that.
That's because that was his absolute prime. But now,
But again,
we
we're-
see.
we're
but
taking
if
his
you
whole
see,
career
okay,
into
but if you
account.
see Harden now, you're like,
now.
if you.
Not even Steph takes 13.
But
threes.
even at that time, when
He's
you
never
watch,
taken it. He's
even
never
at that
taken
time,
I'm looking at it right
Never.
now. He's never taken 13 threes.
I'm stunned.
never
be
done it.
honest with me. Do you guys not watch Harden and sometimes be like, you had the open mid range, why didn't you take it?
Yes, I'd watch that with a lot. I say that with a lot of players, though.
Hey.
A lot of
You're
players
right,
I
but
do
with
that.
Harden, it's like,
Yeah.
it happens a lot.
He makes the game a lot more difficult than what it really needs to be sometimes. All this to say,
Why are you looking at me?
because I thought you were going to say bad take.
that
No, it's
season.
not. I'm tired of this argument because this isn't the first time. Like, we've talked off camera.
You know that series, that
Volume.
Harden season, his shot chart was threes,
Oh, yeah, that shot chart
layups,
was
and that's
disgusting.
it. He had no shots around anywhere. There's just threes and layups.
All this to say, Doc Rivers and Harden needs to step it up and get better as men.
Oh, no doubt.
Individually.
No doubt.
Better as a
Definitely
coach, better as a player, because it's like they're gonna ruin Embiid's prime. And I feel like that's messed up for him because he comes to play every night. He comes to play hard every single night. And he's playing with bad knees and all that. And Doc Rivers, his adjustment sucks. And Harden, he's playing lackadaisical. He needs to get better.
This week in the NBA, I have something that happened. Killian Hayes
Yo,
had a breakout performance.
bro, his stat line's crazy.
He had 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists against the G League Thunder, who everybody's out.
Dead.
Lou Dort's
says-
out, Shea is out, Giddy's out, everybody's
Bro
out.
just told me he had a Luka Doncic stat line.
Yeah.
And they called it
So
crazy.
and Pistons fans, after that stat line happened, everybody on Twitter was like, "We
told
told you
you,
he was gonna be good." Oh, he was like,
Killian
Killian
Hayes
Hayes
still
is
sucks.
Killian Hayes has reached his 82-game rookie season mark. He's gonna be a breakout star next season. He's the future with Cade. No, but yeah, it was pretty good performance by Killian Hayes. Hopefully, he moves upward from this. So it was okay. I think it was cool.
How is he in the NBA?
His defense apparently and his playmaking.
That was the bright spot. He was supposed to be the defensive
Yeah.
playmaking guy. For me, my this week in the NBA, Trae Young had 30 and 10. This is his 19th time doing it. The closest guy doing it is Luka Doncic at 9.
Dude's
so
crazy.
Trae Young's been going absolutely insane. Even though they're playing Warriors, he still has the opportunity to get into the playoffs. But shout out to Trae Young. He's going to make All-NBA team. He's been amazing.
All right, my this week in the NBA, on a sadder note, unfortunately, Robert Williams, torn meniscus, one of the defensive anchors, if not the defensive anchor for the Boston Celtics. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks after needing meniscus surgery. Probably going to miss round 1. There's a chance he misses round 2, and this is absolutely devastating to Boston and Boston fans. Hopefully he gets back soon because he's a huge part and a huge reason why people, including me, are so high on the Boston Celtics. That defensive unit that they have is fantastic, but only when he's on the floor can it reach the heights that they can reach.
My this week in the NBA, piggyback off him with the Celtics. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum doing it again.
Talk, yes.
Doing it again.
Talk, bro.
Doing it again.
Don't do that.
What are you talking about?
I'm excited. Look, this
I'm the highest
all right.
on JB at this
I'm
table.
gonna
Even
Don't
though,
blame
even
me.
though, even though it's
Don't
just,
blame
even
me.
though I said this week, right? But I'm so like I'm so excited for the playoffs.
Why are you excited?
The Eastern playoffs this
Oh,
year.
okay. You know, you
That's
being a
gonna
Knicks
be
fan, I
fun to
forgot.
watch. Come on, man. Let's not get sidetracked, man. Like I really am looking forward to watching Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown do what they do.
Finally.
They look like they're comfortable with each other for the first time ever. And
God,
Oh, you're sick.
God for the
bringing
people.
that up.
Drew just passed me his phone.
you're welcome.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have scored 20 plus in 9 straight games.
For someone like they can't do it at the same time,
Didn't
right?
you-
We've heard that.
Look,
We've
look.
heard that. Can't
That's
do it at the
crazy.
same
Listen,
At
time.
some point,
listen.
it was like that.
But listen, it gets better.
Not anymore.
We'll just get better.
Do Celtics.
They're averaging
Don't play with 'em.
58 combined in that span.
Cute.
Don't play with them.
Only
Don't
lost
play
one
with 'em.
game.
Yo,
Disclaimer. Riv has been the highest on the Celtics all season, more than all of us. However, I just need to throw that disclaimer. I told my dude so every time I praise the Celtics. That being said, don't play with their name.
You know, Keys, I know you sometimes you miss shows because you're a busy man. You have a lot to do. You know, you're a blessed man. You've changed. You're a good man. Let me explain to you what these two knuckleheads did. So,
Chill, you gonna expose us after I just put the
we had a
disclaimer?
segment.
This guy's serious.
We had a segment.
You're taking
And
your
then-
victory
No,
lap.
talk to me.
We had a segment, and it
This
was
guy's grimy
and
for
the,
this.
And the first thing Joel says was, "I'm out on the Celtics." He says that automatically. He says, "I'm out." And this guy right here,
whoa. What are we gonna say
piggybacks
here?
off that. He's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much done with the Celtics." This, that, and
not
third.
what I said.
And I'm like, "Nah." You know what I'm saying? No way. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown missed the playoffs. There's no way.
How
no
gross
way.
is
No
this?
way. Hell. And now all
How
of a
gross
sudden
is this?
he's jumping on the Jaylen
All
Brown,
of a
Jason Tatum
sudden.
bandwagon. Yeah, they're locked in.
been at least a
Robert
month.
Williams, defensive anchor. It's kind of insane how they just flip in the middle of the
Joel,
season. But I
can
just
we
needed to
please-
let you know the flip flopping, and I've been here all year. All
Joel,
year.
can we please? Did I not?
You've always thought they were a playing team, though. You said they were a playing
Actually,
team.
Serge dropped our playoff previews. He dropped our seedings. I had Boston at 5, actually.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
but the segments that we've had on
I had
Boston,
Boston high,
you had
too.
them as playing.
Early in
Well,
the season?
The episode with Who Politics, bro. We
That's what
talked
we're talking
about.
about. But
we talked about our playing. You were like, they're
yes,
playing team.
But they were, at the time, that's what they were.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Boston first round.
Yeah, nah.
I mean, the Bulls, we know they're pretenders.
I don't want to see.
Definitely. And
But-
Wait.
Joel,
hold
all
on.
I need is
yo,
my-
listen. Last time
wait.
we had this, I was excited to see DeRozan and Levine. I know you remember me sitting here like, yo,
He just had 50.
You were wrong about Lonzo, though.
definitely. And
What was you wrong about Lonzo about?
I said that he
What
was
did
gonna
you
take that jump and thrive in his role as a traditional point guard. I remember that. He didn't. He shot the ball
He's
better.
a utility player.
Right,
Can
he
we
shot
just
the
admit
ball
it?
better.
He
That's what
got
is.
hurt.
He could be one of
He's
the
not
best, if not
thriving.
the best role player. That's his
I
ceiling.
think he can.
He's
be
not
good,
thriving,
too.
though.
He got hurt.
Huh?
He's not
He
thriving.
hasn't played
was
in
this
3
season.
to 4
Thriving?
months.
In that role?
12 points.
Yeah,
40%.
I mean, they were winning. They were winning.
42% from 3.
Thriving.
The job
Defensive anchor?
Correct.
He was
thriving.
No, I didn't say
No, but you
thriving.
don't
but-
know.
Lonzo
What's the
his
drop-off
rookie year was
between him and
11, 7, and
Caruso?
7.
Huh?
What's the drop off?
Well, when he
Caruso?
hasn't played and our defense hasn't been the same, so
Okay.
That's the thing. Listen, you can thrive in your playing role. Yes, 100%. Especially if y'all win.
They are.
That's a huge part of
I
it.
mean,
What happened? What was it?
Bulls are pretenders.
We know that.
It's killing me.
Let's not talk about the
Listen.
Bulls,
Okay, yeah, let's not talk about it.
the
Bulls
job
suck.
was to get into the playoffs. We did that. So
Oh, the job is to come on. We got
Job
not
was
with
to get
this
into the
team.
playoffs. I mean,
bro.
If we run into the Celtics,
what?
It's
We
a-
went to the Celtics.
it's,
What?
it's unfortunately a
You're going to
dub.
lose.
It's
I mean, they don't have
unfortunately a
Robert
dub.
Wills, so we move.
Nobody's scared of Vucevic, bro. Al Horford can
Al
lock him up.
Horford
At all.
he can cause him fits.
I'm not worried. Nobody can guard DeMar on their team. Or Zach.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen
Tatum.
Brown has
DeMar
That's just
averages
bad,
37 points on them.
in the regular season.
You
That's
said that
that's
like you've
'cause they
seen
weren't
Jaylen Brown
trying
in the
like that.
playoffs. We haven't really seen much, so relax.
That's
we haven't
because-
seen much, so relax on that.
It's true. It's
relax.
True. It's true.
Yeah,
He's right.
relax.
You
That's
gotta
because
see
they
it.
Hold your
weren't-
tongue on that.
But
Jason Tatum we've
correct.
seen.
Correct.
Jason Tatum we've seen, but relax on
All
the
right,
other
let you all
guy.
say what he was going to say.
That's because they weren't trying like that in those games.
They were literally bottom.
No,
They had to
no,
climb
that's not
up.
what
You're
I was gonna
lying.
say.
They had to climb back up into the
Oh wait, we're
playoffs. You're
talking about
lying.
the bull. Were we talking about in playoffs, or we're talking about regular season?
regular season.
That they weren't trying like that. You say interesting.
Yeah, they were at the bottom.
Ne-
of the
next
barrel.
segment is about the San Antonio Spurs. Recently, they made it into the play-in, and
good
because
job
of that,
for
a
them.
lot of Spurs fans came to the Pick a Side Pod Twitter. Were going back to an old tweet that we had put out, that I had put out, saying the Spurs are going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. I even made a $200 bet with this dude named Eric.
What was that?
It was if the Spurs are going to be a bottom 5 team in the West. Yep,
What are they right now?
I wouldn't have bet
they're a
against
playing
that.
team.
No, I mean if Lakers don't fold, we wouldn't be in this conversation.
No, but I mean, even still, like with Pop still active, I trust his basketball mind always. I
Listen,
would never bet against
I
that
did
man.
say that, unfortunately.
I would
not-
never bet
this
against
is-
that.
This
man.
this what I'll
Right,
say
do
though.
your thing.
Of course, the Spurs have been better than I expected. And looking back at my evaluation, I don't think I was totally off base. I don't.
Keldon Johnson.
Keldon
like
Johnson,
that.
I was off. He's been
pretty
super
much it,
efficient.
though.
I think he's been better as a playmaker too. Sometimes they ask him to do some stuff off the dribble.
Definitely improved.
I didn't think DeJounte Murray was going to rise to an all-star player.
We called that. We called that.
I like DeJounte, but I thought he was going to
No.
be a little bit of a step below. Not an all-star, but a step below. He's been there, and it's been their effort. I mean, all season long, they're in these close games with some of the top teams in the West. You're right. The Greg Popovich effect. He has this team playing super hard.
This is all the Lakers' fault, man.
But at the same time, the Spurs fans came to our Twitter and were acting like they just won a championship because they made the play-in.
They
And
didn't even
they
make
are-
the play-in. It's still decided on if they'll make the
And they
play-in.
are 10
They're
plus games.
13 games
And they
under
are
500.
Okay, that's even worse. So they're not even a good team, but this is their championship moment. And I'm here wondering why Spurs fans are so excited if they're ruining their chances of getting a top pick in the draft. Maybe they can still get it. But that being said, it helped that the Lakers got hurt. It helped that the Kings don't know what they're doing. It helped that Dame has missed the whole season for Portland and that the Thunder and the Rockets are blatantly tanking. There are teams at the West that aren't even trying. So I don't think it's that crazy. That
I'm
the
not.
Spurs are
I'm not
playing team.
apologizing for nothing. The Spurs still suck. They're 13 games under 500. It shouldn't even be a playing game for them. Shout out to DeJounte.
I don't think the Spurs suck.
I
I
mean,
think they have good pieces.
yeah. I mean, teams can have good pieces and still suck. You know, I think they
13
have.
games under 500. Like y'all say, we suck.
No,
they're
you guys
still-
legitimately are bad to watch.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The Spurs are fun to watch. I'll say
Spurs
that.
are very.
Yeah,
they
the Spurs
fun
are
to watch.
competitive,
We're not fun
and that's
to
why I
watch.
say they
That-
don't
that-
suck.
that hurts.
They're a competitive loser.
No, I mean, yo,
I
look,
know, you're right.
no,
I'm just coping
look,
right now. Like,
early
it's
on,
hard.
when I
I'm
was-
processing.
sidebar. Early on, when I was talking about Devin Booker, early in his career, you guys were telling me he was playing losing basketball, right? They were still
I
competitive.
didn't. I don't know why you say it.
But they okay,
I did. I will tell you right
okay,
now. I did.
But they were still competitive every single game
Moron.
with a loss margin of
moron.
less than 5 points that year. So with that being said, like even though they were losing, they were still competitive. So I can't say that team sucks if they're making you play your best game to beat them.
That's fair. So you know what? I'm going to say the competitive losers.
It's funny, but it's true.
Unfortunately,
it's 13 games
because-
under 5. I don't think they should have a play-in. I really don't. I think I tweeted like 4 or 5 days ago. I don't think the West should have a play-in at all. Like I think the 8 teams are set at this point. There's no reason why a team.
Selective play-in from here on out.
There's no reason why a team 13 games under 500 should have a chance to win a couple games and get
They
in.
have a
been-
top 5 point guard though.
There's been teams in
And
NBA.
what?
The NBA.
DeJounte's not top 5.
Give me 5 better.
It's literally 5 in the West. I
yes,
think.
Trey,
I- yeah,
Steph,
yes,
Trey is not better than
John
DeJounte.
Moran.
Oh my God, you're delusional.
Trey's not better than
He's
DeJounte.
trolling. He's trolling. He's trolling. He's trolling. He's trolling.
Okay, Jesus, I'm gonna corner.
Glad Rivers the only person that knows me.
He's definitely trolling because that's insane. To say.
Like, come on.
I don't think the Spurs they've been
Might not be
competitive,
top
but it's
10.
like, why make the playoffs? I mean, I get the experience part, but they were just in the play-in last year. They lost. This year, they should have been trying to get a pick to kind of upstart, their lottery. But
One thing I was gonna
The
say to you is
Spurs
this.
feel a lot like the Raptors without Scotty Barnes.
I strongly disagree.
Because they kind of have a Scotty.
Who?
DeJounte,
No.
Who?
I mean, even though Keldon's not a two-way, he's that forward
He's
Does he
scorer.
have the
decent on-
potential
he's decent
like
on
Scotty,
defense
though?
now, but
No, because
I
Scotty has like
disagree.
a good
I think
handle on the
Toronto's
ball.
starting 5 is very solid. One of the better starting 5s.
I'm talking about they both have competitive teams, but the Raptors have a piece that can potentially take them over the top in the next couple
But
of
then
years.
Pascal Siakam still clears everyone.
He's not going to take you anywhere as a number one option.
Toronto's
as a number two,
competitive
won
and
the-
they have
won
a
the
number
title.
Yeah, but they don't have a number one right now.
was-
I think
he
you
was-
could
he
win
was
a
the number two
championship
on
with
off
DeJounte
nights.
Murray.
Kyle Lowry and him split time.
As like the third option, yeah.
No.
Yo, stop.
No, like now I'm not joking.
Oh, what do you say?
No, I think you can win a championship with DeJounte Murray.
Oh yeah,
That's
but
just-
but you need others.
Of course, not just like him and like nobody.
Yeah, I think if he's on Boston, they have
No,
their
it took
championship
him some
contenders.
time to get here, though.
If
Like
the-
this, like
If
it's-
DeJounte's on Boston, they're
No,
championship
but
contenders.
DeJounte walked in the league as one of the better defenders in the NBA. Like as soon as he was in the league, he was
Yeah.
one of the better
Ooh.
defenders.
if he was on the Celtics,
Do you have DeJounte Murray on Boston?
They
They
win.
are championship
They
contenders.
win.
They probably win it
but
all.
they're already championship contenders.
Right
Yeah.
now?
Without Rob Williams, it's hard. But I think with Rob, you have to respect that.
With
Like,
Rob,
but
they're
with
championship
Rob,
contenders.
they're like the 5th, 4th team for me
No, they're a liable chance.
I don't know, man. They've been the best team in the NBA,
since January.
which is a good amount of time right
Yeah,
now.
but
That's the second option. You think it'd
I
be
still
that?
think they're like the
Who?
4th, 5th best.
DeJounte?
I still, you got the
Milwaukee Suns
As the second best player on the
obviously,
team?
Warriors. I would lean Boston
so.
respectfully.
Yeah, man.
I don't see how
You
do
think
that.
In my opinion, Celtics
a
would be
team
3.
with LeBron and DeJounte could win a
ridiculous.
championship?
Not ridiculous. You're saying 4, so
Definitely.
I'm taking
I don't
3.
think so.
Is it
4 or 5.
ridiculous?
It doesn't fit.
I'm not. Name another.
DeJounte's just a two-way player. I mean, he doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but he doesn't need to because he gets his spots.
You're actually crazy for
There's
saying
certain
that,
guys
bro.
that can't shoot it.
Just
Just
'cause
they
we've
don't
been
get
hurt.
there.
That's why.
You know what I mean?
Healthy? No.
Exactly why I'm saying that though.
But I'm saying who's better?
But
Right
what
now?
do you think? What do you think about the Spurs though in their future? You think that they're kind of
The problem
getting
is,
into the playoff for no reason because it's going to cost them a top pick?
I mean, if they lose it, no. But the problem with the Spurs is they have Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich is never going to settle for less than trying to win. So in that sense, he's always, no matter who's on the roster, going to try to make the playoffs because that's just how he is. That's how he's always been. So they're kind of in a position. I'm not saying fire Pop. You should never ever think about firing Pop. I think Pop should stay. But Pop has to understand. Yeah, Pop has to understand. Is he going to realize this team needs to rebuild, or I'm going to keep trying to win games?
They've already rebuilt though. This is their rebuild.
It's
I
the
don't think
start of
that
it though.
that's
They just
They
traded DeMar
rebuilt.
last year.
I
They were
mean,
trying
they-
to win that
And
year.
they just
When they traded
Derek
Kawhi,
White
they
also.
What do you
No.
not like about the Spurs?
What do you mean?
Like,
I don't like that they don't
I
have
feel like
any
okay.
They need
I
more
feel like
scoring,
their
their
cloud in
defense
here,
is,
like the cloud over the Spurs is like dark.
I don't know how you
I
can
don't
say the
dis-
Spurs aren't a rebuilding team when most of their players are 24
No,
years
they,
old. and
they
younger.
are. A
No, I'm not
rebuild team.
saying.
I'm
I'm
saying-
not
But you're
saying that.
this is their rebuild
I'm saying
team.
it sounds
It
like
is their rebuild team.
I
saying-
still think that it's still
I
going.
give you an example. I look
no,
at
but this is what I'm saying to clarify because Joel misinterpreted. I'm saying like, why does it feel like you guys don't have faith that the Spurs have a bright future?
I'll say this. I look at for me personally, like this is just for me. I look at Detroit, I look at Cleveland, I look at Toronto. Cade can be a superstar. Scotty Barnes can be a superstar. Evan Mobley can be a superstar. I look at San Antonio. There is not one person on that roster, and I'm the biggest DeJounte Murray fan in the world. There's not one player on that roster that I believe can be a superstar. That's why.
So
And Greg
you don't ever
Popovich
think
is
DeJounte can
tired.
grow into one?
No, I don't think he can be a superstar. I think he's going to be an all-star player for a long time. I don't believe he can be a superstar.
Why not?
I don't think he has it in him.
And
He
who's
has
their
the
next
vision.
coach too?
He has the motor.
He's
plays
25.
deep. DeJounte?
Yeah. He's
Nah,
pretty,
but this.
he's pretty much gonna he's pretty much
that's
gonna be
basically-
maybe a
You
little.
said it like that was old though.
No, I'm saying like we
No,
kind of.
I'm telling you,
not
with them and young guys, when they finally really start going off, 25 is
Oh, I just
old.
I think we kind of know, like we kind of have an
No, I
idea
sit
what
here every
DeJounte
week
is
with
gonna
that.
be at his peak.
Like Cameron Johnson, for him doing what he's doing, they don't like him because he's 25.
we don't like him.
You specifically also.
No, that you're misinterpreting that. It's not that we don't like the players.
I'm exaggerating.
But you act as if they're going to be superstars when we're like they kind of already reached their peak. If you're
DeJounte-
20,
Johnson hasn't reached his peak. DeJounte hasn't
I
reached
think we
his
know
peak.
what DeJounte's gonna be at this.
we know what
point.
Cam
I
Johnson's
agree.
going to be too.
See, that's the thing. I
don't know
can't
what he's
sit
gonna
with
be.
that. I can't sit
he
with
could, he
that.
could definitely go to a team and have higher volume, but we know what he is as a player.
Now, what if he gets a tighter handle in 2 off seasons and becomes a shot creator?
Now,
talking about?
do
Who we
we
talking
know
about?
what Desmond Bane's
Cameron
going to be?
Johnson.
Do we know what
Desmond Bane's
going
a
to be?
second-year player.
And Cameron Johnson's been in the league for
But he's
what, 2, 3?
older.
See, who
That
cares?
matters. He's older.
So
And Desmond Bane's
older.
already better than Cam Johnson.
I
as a
don't-
You can
second-year
make
I
the
don't-
player.
argument
I don't
that
disagree.
you can make the argument that Cam Johnson's tenure with UNC helped him, like prepared him for the NBA better than it did.
we can't frown upon
Desmond
players
Bane
staying
coming into the league.
in college longer because I want to see
I
that
don't,
more.
but I just think that like plays into potential.
So I mean, For one, this all came about because you think DeJounte's going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
No, I think
I don't think anybody thinks DeJounte's going to be a superstar.
Let's clarify it. What I said was
Why
I think
can't
there's
he
a why can't he be? There's a chance.
Okay.
I'm not saying that definitively in a couple years.
you think he
Well,
might be
there's a
top 10
chance
player
for
in the league?
everything.
You think he'd be a top 10 player in the league? That's a superstar.
Nah,
No, stop. Don't say nothing.
Well, top 15 is now. a superstar.
Don't let him drag that. Exactly.
That's
Thank
not
you very
true.
much.
Okay, fine. Do you think he could be a top 15 player in
Hell
the league?
no.
No.
He won't even be a top 5
I'll tell
point
you
guard
what,
in his prime.
top 20 borderline, because even, let's say, if Zion's not top 15, I still say Zion's a superstar.
21
All right.
years
Zion's
old.
will be top 15.
He
I
would be
agree.
top
No,
10.
but I'm just saying
probably like 4 or
27
5
Top
years.
20, you could still
I'm
debate
saying
that they could be
DeJounte's 25
superstars.
years old.
Oh, no, listen,
And
I'm not
this
signing
is-
You think Zion's gonna be a top 10 player?
He can
Could
be.
be. Bro,
I think that's more liable than saying DeJounte could be a superstar.
In year 227. In year 227.
Zion's floor is DeJounte's ceiling.
That's even. I don't even know about that.
yeah,
That
for
might-
real.
That might
No,
be.
you're right,
Zion's
Rev.
floor might be better than DeJounte's ceiling. Honest to God, like not even trying to be funny.
That's
It might be.
That's how you see it.
Can
I don't even say
DeJounte
it.
Murray
Zion's
ever
floor
be?
might be better than DeJounte's attic.
Can DeJounte
Sky?
Oh, y'all trying to violate.
I love DeJounte, but
we're
I
not
know he's gonna
violating.
be.
We're comparing him to the best of the best.
We kind of already know what DeJounte's going to be. Bro.
Can he
He's
ever
gonna
be
a good
better
player,
than
but-
Ja Morant?
No,
Hell no.
especially no.
There's no way in hell.
No,
It's just
Or
unfortunate.
Trey or
But all these
Luka.
top guys struggle against him.
because he's a lock. We know he's a lock-up defender.
But he
Nobody's
needs to-
denying
his
that.
offense,
That's
like,
why
he-
I think he
his
can be like
offense-
He's not a
playmaker.
shooter. He's not a shooter.
he can be a third guy.
No,
But
and his
he-
field goal
he
percentage
gets-
is butt.
But he gets to his spots.
He's
though.
not. He's not that guy. He's not
he
that
has
guy.
the ability to get to his spots.
He
It's
is.
all about
He's,
knocking
you know who
down
he's
these
like?
shots
He's
now.
like Drew Holiday. He's not that guy you can build a championship team around. He's that guy where you plug in and he's the championship missing piece. That's the
Question:
guy.
If
he
you
is.
put him on Milwaukee and switch him with Drew, are they still the same?
Ooh, I think Drew's still a little more
I
seasoned
agree.
and experienced.
I
That's
agree.
I
the
would
wait.
say
Hold
no.
up. That's a perfect comp, though. I kind of feel like
That is a
we
perfect
kind of
comp.
feel like DeJounte's going to be a Drew Holiday level player.
I don't think that's a valid comp.
It
Don't
why?
hate. Don't hate.
I wouldn't jack that.
I'll tell you what.
Right?
He's
I'll
feeling
tell you,
good.
but I'll tell you this: DeJounte's more athletic. He's a little bit better of a playmaker.
Drew
can
is sneaky
rebound.
athletic. He just doesn't
Yeah,
use
no,
it.
agreed.
He's sneaky athletic.
Agreed. I'm just saying, like quickness in terms of like being that
Yeah.
twitchy type player, but
And Drew's a better shooter.
better shooter, better defender
But Drew's also 30s.
But we got into this
for sure.
We got
DeJounte would
into
be
this
better.
tangent
Drew's a better
because
defender by far. Like he's a better defender. Like
because he can guard bigger guards better than bigger players better than
this-
DeJounte. He can. You're putting
This-
I'm
Drew
not
and
a
Kevin Durant.
DeJounte fan, bro. I've watched a couple Spurs games this year, bro. And what I've seen from DeJounte, like
Drew Holiday's getting put on Kevin Durant for games. DeJounte Murray's not doing that.
3-4 years ago.
No, he just did it last year in the playoffs. Drew just did that, bro.
Okay, I understand. Hold up.
Did he not, bro?
He gets cooked. I ain't gonna say.
Yeah, like I'm about to say, like
He
here we
gets
go, look
cooked.
at-
He gets cooked. He gets
Right now, this is what I'm saying. We're
He
going
gets
on a
cooked.
tangent right now.
Yeah, we are, we are.
because
You're right.
of Keith's word choice of
7 feet.
he can be. But ultimately, you don't think he's going to be that. That's why I'm kind of confused here because you're like defending the case, but you don't think he's going to be that.
I don't think he can
thinks
be in San Antonio.
He wants to be- he wants
it's
to
all
keep it
bro.
an
You
open
could say
discussion.
yes. You think he can be. Just you can be real. You
Bro,
think
Giannis-
look at the smile on his face.
He don't want to get destroyed. That's why.
Yo, bro.
We all been there, Keith. I feel
I'm just
you.
saying, bro.
Keith
like,
is gonna wait for somebody to comment. I believe, and he's gonna be like, "See, I
Stamp.
believe it too."
Like,
I said it
Just
right
like
to Rev. Like, yo, I
just-
said it right to you. Like, yo, bro, look, see, I knew I was a
That's
while
exactly. It's okay, bro. I think he could
So
be
a lot of
third guy,
things
though.
can happen, but I don't think they will.
I think it's like a 20%.
Sometimes you got to say things with your chest, and
live with it later.
Just do me a favor. Search up who's second in the league in triple doubles.
It's probably DeJounte because clearly the answer.
He
The way,
he's not even top two.
Oh.
Luka and Jokic are definitely over him. Top
All right,
two.
I
You want to bet?
you
I
just
bet- I
told
bet
me
you
an
50.
hour ago
It's
you're not a
probably
betting
because
man.
DeJounte Murray
I bet you 50.
stat pads. That's why.
stop it, bro. You're not a betting man.
You just told me you're not a bet.
I know.
Stay true to
That
yourself.
would have just been. He'd have just had to pay me.
While Drew searches up,
Oof.
on to the next.
He would have
segment.
had. You
You
would
would
have
have just had to pay me. It would have just been free
DeJounte?
money. Of course it is with 13.
Yup, it's true.
And Jokic at 18. And
19.
Luka's at
Got
9.
him
You looked it
tonight.
up before you got in here.
No, I just knew this.
Yeah, Jokic has 19. Murray has 13. Harden has 10. Westbrook has 10.
don't need to know the
Doncic
rest
has
of the
10.
list.
I'm
Yeah.
just they were tied
How
for
doesn't
third.
Luka have more? It's because DeJounte's stat pads.
No, he does not. Right. Every triple double I seen DeJounte get was needed.
So on to the next segment.
Stat.
Go ahead.
We're going to talk about who's better or debate this between Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, and Scotty Barnes. It's not a rookie of the year debate, by the way. It's
Okay.
who is the better player. Now, Rev, I feel like you don't think this is the debate. I mean,
Where'd you get that feeling from?
you've blatantly disrespected Scotty Barnes time and time again. You have said that Cade is the better player. There's no doubt about it.
Nah, yeah.
I put up a poll on my Twitter. Who's better between Cade and Scotty? It was 90% Cade, 10% Scotty.
Damn, really?
Yeah. So I want to ask you, who's the better player and why? And why do you feel that way? And what's your disdain towards Scotty Barnes?
Oh, man. First of all, I don't have a disdain towards Scotty Barnes. I like Toronto. Toronto's a good city. I like the team. Who do I think is the better player? I think it's Cade. I think it's been Cade for the past 3-4 months. I think it's been Cade since high school, since college. Since Montverde, it's been Cade nonstop.
That's the biggest Cade fan on the planet, right?
Yeah, and I think we can. Cade is first in points, fifth in rebounds, second assist. Like you watch Scotty Barnes, you watch Cade. Obviously, both of them have contributed all year for the teams. Both of them has been great acquisitions for the team. But I look at Cade and I look at what he's done for Detroit, and it's hard. I don't want to say I'm not going to tell you go watch Detroit games because they suck. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say if you watch Detroit and you watch the way Cade controls the game, it's just like on a different type. Like he looks so advanced in the way he just controls and operates the game. For me, he's the best. He's been the best scorer in his class. He's been the most clutch player in his class by the numbers. He's beaten all rookies by like 12 points in clutch scoring. He's been He's been great as a playmaker. He's been great as a secondary option. Any role Dwayne Casey put him in, he's been amazing at it. And especially late in the stretch, he's been great. He's not the defensive player Scotty is. Scotty's otherworldly as a defender, versatility. But Cade ain't no slouch defensively. Off ball, he's been good. I just think offensively, what he brings, the leadership, the intangibles, for me, that's why I go Cade.
Tell you what, he's 100% right. And there's one stat here that, credit to Riv, I have to give my guys props. Through 59 career games, he has 1,012 points, 338 rebounds, 328 assists. The only other players to record at least 1,000, 320 rebounds, 320 assists through 59 career games: LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Luka Doncic, Alvin Adams, and Oscar Robertson.
Bro said RJ.
I'll tell you what, this guy Cade is everything you can want in a franchise guy. And in a position where you look at it and yes, teams are more... You look at Scotty, his team's more successful than Cade. You look at Mobley, his team's more successful than Cade's. But there is no... These two players do not have the same responsibility that Cade Cunningham has on a night-in, night-out basis. Cade needs to do significantly more to give his team even a chance to be in a game. Playmaking, Cade's the best. Scoring, Cade's the best. Defensively, he's not the best, no doubt, but he's not a slouch defensively, no way, no how.
Cade's a better playmaker than Josh Giddey?
I'm saying...
We're talking about
okay.
three.
Okay, I was talking about like rookies in general.
Well, we were really knocking down these three.
Right.
Word.
Yeah, he is the best
it was
player.
Mobley, it was Barnes, and it was Cade. Shooting the ball, Cade's the best shooter.
Better than Wagner?
No, we're talking these three.
I'm sorry.
I understand.
I'm sorry, bro.
Better than Suggs?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nah, come on, don't do that to me. That's how he looked at me like that. You see how he looked
Why,
at me?
you're a Suggs guy?
I was a Suggs guy. It's all right. It's not too late, though.
You're not. Listen, I'm still not out on Suggs.
Better than
Not out on
Davion?
Suggs.
Me either. Go ahead, kill your point.
But
man.
my whole point being is this guy has all the intangibles to be a superstar caliber player, and he's already showing it early on. I think that once you get the pieces around Cade, he's going to show you why he was deserving, and he's already showing why he's deserving of the number one pick. But he's going to show you in the sense of in the playoffs when it really matters. He's going to really highlight why he is that guy and why he's still the best rookie in this draft class.
Go ahead. Sorry, before you finish, games with 25, 5, and 5. Cade has 7. All rookies combined have 7.
Bro, you can read that whole list because there's some insane things here.
Yeah, just leave that. I just wanted to throw
It's
that
kind
out
of
there.
an unfair comparison because they have different roles. Scotty is a utility
100%.
player on the Raptors who he's the third, fourth option
Exceeded
behind
expectations.
Pascal, behind Fred, behind OG when OG does play. On the Cavs, Mobley's the second option there, Darius Garland and him. And even then, I feel like if Mobley really decided to be assertive on offense, I don't think this is a debate. But because he's passive, this is the debate.
Right.
And Scotty, we haven't seen him in a role like Cade. Cade right now is one of the more double-team players in the NBA. He's top 10 in double teams, top 10 in double-team percentage.
As a
Wow.
rookie.
But you got to give Scotty his credit because offensively,
rookie.
the blemish.
As a rookie.
Because coming into the season, his worry was that he's not this great offensive player, and he's put that to bed immediately.
Scotty?
Yeah.
He's not a great offensive player yet.
Okay, semantics. He's better than advertised than what initially was the worry.
I don't think so. He can't shoot.
Whoa, can't.
The only thing I worried about him was shooting, and he can't shoot.
He can hit the midi.
Shoots 29% from three though.
He got that midi down packed though. A little hey.
Yeah, like my worries for Scotty was just offensive creation, and he's done it, but he hasn't done it at a crazy level.
I understand. That's fair.
For me, when making my analysis on who's the best rookie, I just had to go by head to head. That's really it. Head to head games, who's been better against each other. You look at Mobley versus the Raptors, he's averaging 16 and 10 with 2.3 blocks. Mobley versus the Pistons, he averages 14-9, 3 blocks, 52% from the field and 50% from three. Scotty Barnes plays the worst out of the three when they verse each other. Barnes versus the Cavs averages 15 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, shoots 45% from the field. Barnes versus the Pistons averages 13-8, shoots 42% from the field and 17% from three. And Cade keeps a steady clip at 16, 7, and 5 versus the Raptors, shoots 46%, 33% from three. But versus the Cavs, he averages 15, 7, and 7 and shoots 33% from the field and 33% from three. All around, I think Mobley has the better numbers. I do think Cade is the best rookie right now because of the responsibility he shoulders. But when I look at Cade, and this was my pre-draft comparison, and when I told it to you, you were kind of shocked. Cade reminds me a lot of Tatum, of Jason Tatum, and his game. He's a far better playmaker than him, especially at this young age. To me, I view Cade more in the light of Tatum, where I think Scotty can become a Giannis level player. His ceiling is that high.
That mic drop is crazy. He said it and just.
His ceiling is that high.
Giannis?
Scotty can be an all-NBA performer.
Giannis?
You heard that.
Scotty can be an all-NBA performer.
Giannis?
Well, I mean, they're both all NBA.
He can be an MVP.
I don't want to hear anything I've ever said that was dumb.
Yeah, no, calling
ever.
You understand now?
I just need you to
any
explain
player that's
that.
compared to Giannis is automatically being called an all-time great player.
You said Ben Simmons was Giannis.
Never. If Giannis, no,
Point the finger because
I said that if you were more aggressive.
I don't know where
That was a great rebuttal. I'm not gonna lie.
How was that a great rebuttal?
You
'Cause I
said
really
Ben
never
Simmons was
said that.
Giannis in year 6.
That's
that's
what I
even
said.
worse.
When did I say that? All I said was that Giannis epitomizes what Ben should do.
Wait, can you explain that?
What are you talking about?
Scotty,
If you
Giannis?
compare any player to Giannis, you're saying that he can be a top 20 player all time.
Not necessarily.
That's his. You're saying his ceiling is Giannis
because he didn't compare his game. He said Giannis level.
That's what I'm saying,
bro. That's why I looked at you and said
I'm
you heard it.
out.
You heard it.
You don't think Scotty Barnes? You don't think Scotty Barnes' ceiling can be the best player on a championship team?
No. Giannis isn't just the best player on the championship team.
We're talking about
he's arguably the best
all-time
player in the league.
In order to be the best player on a championship team, you kind of have to be.
Yeah,
top
but
10 player.
you're saying Scotty can be arguably the best player in the league. If you're saying he's Giannis-like, that's what you think?
I mean, it depends. I didn't specify what year Giannis. You know.
So what year Giannis you talking about?
I mean, I can imagine Scotty Barnes averaging 20, 13, and like 4 or 5.
Oh, I mean, that's
still
best
not-
player in the championship team.
And that's
now?
still not Giannis.
That was Giannis?
I need a different
That
player.
was
Just give me a
Giannis.
different player.
No, you're
Give me
talking
a
about
different
Giannis
player.
year like 3.
No,
That's
exactly.
Giannis
His
year.
first year breaking out.
Yeah,
No,
that's what
Giannis' first year breaking average 22.
Okay.
25 is different from 22.
I hate when they do.
Oh, you
No,
said
I hate when they do this.
2013
They're like-
and 4.
No, I said 25.
25.
I think Scotty can average 25.
You
at
think-
his
no,
peak.
I thought
And what do you
said
think Cade could do at his peak? Or like 27?
I think 20,
6
20
and 6.
25
20?
to 28 a game. I think so. I mean, I think obviously it sounds crazy because he's a rookie.
I don't think
But
K's the best scorer in the draft.
What you got, Jalen Green? I mean, we were talking about these 3. So, you know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, with
everything is
Scotty,
just
the
based
skill
on
set. With Scotty, the skill set is similar. They are both athletic freaks. I mean, Scotty's measurement scores. I mean, athletic composite score is at the top 1%. He's one of one as an athlete.
Yeah.
He can handle the ball very well for his size. He has a good floater game. He can finish around the basket. He's already one of the better defenders in the NBA. He's going to be an elite defender for years to come. And the jump shot is already more developed than Giannis at the same age. Like, I'm not saying Scotty Barnes is going to be Giannis, but to say that the comparison for him is not absurd. That was his
disrespect.
That was his pre-draft. That was his pre-draft comparison.
You know who his gameplay reminds me of? No disrespect. Jersey, Kyle Anderson.
I compared him to pre-draft. I think Scotty's already exceeded that though.
Not in terms of level. I'm talking about in terms of play.
In terms of play style, I agree. That was my comparison for him before the draft. Yeah, that was exactly my comparison. It was Draymond and Kyle Anderson.
And now it's Giannis.
Because because I mean,
but
Riff,
that wasn't even comparison. That was saying,
I know.
I think
I
Scotty
Riff,
on that level.
you and I before the season, when we did our projections for these rookies, we thought Scotty Barnes' ceiling was 15-5-5, like a Draymond.
Yep.
He's doing that as a rookie. Like, Scotty Barnes has exceeded everybody's expectations. I don't think it's far off to say he can be the best player in this draft over Cade because of that defensive prowess.
See, I'm fine with you saying that he could be the best player in this draft.
So what do you think Cade Cunningham's ceiling is?
I still don't see a superstar.
No, I'm just asking Drew. I just want to know what he
He
thinks.
could be a
I'm
top
not
20
moving
ball
off
player
Okay. So if I think
in the league right now. Jesus Christ, come
I'm sorry.
Me too.
You thought you said all time.
Because you know why? Because we were talking
Scared me,
about
dude.
Giannis, him being
So
top
if you
20. No,
think-
Cade
so
could
if
be
you-
top 20
so
in
if-
the NBA easy.
I think
you
Cade
scared
can
me.
actually be top 10. And I
Top
think
20 is kind of like
that's actually
underselling.
Yeah, that's underselling.
All
him.
right, fine. I mean, either way you shake it, he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA.
So you think Scotty cannot reach that type of ceiling?
I think Cade is going to be the best player in this draft. And there's going to be seasons where maybe we debate it, but even still, I look at Cade and he has all the intangibles I need.
So if you debate that, then that means if you're debating it back and forth, that means that you would have Scotty around that top 15, along with
Again,
Cade,
there's going to
them
be
being top 20 players.
Fine. But you're trying to tell me that he's reaching Giannis. That's my only issue, King. I have no issue with you saying that he's a great ball player, that he's
because
XYZ.
you look at the skill
You're saying
set.
his
What about
ceiling
Mobley?
is Giannis.
I think
You're
Mobley
freaking me
is
out.
Anthony Davis, Chris Bosh's.
So you think
I
he'll
see
be like top
Bosh.
10?
I see
You
Bosh.
think he'll be like
having
top
Mobley.
10, top 15?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
Player?
because I think what
An
Drew's
NBA?
getting
he's
held
Chris
bent
Bosh with
on
that
is
defense?
Yes. and
what you
that's-
think is but the
that's
thing
it.
about it
That's
is that it sounds so off because Giannis has accomplished so much in his career.
It just
already.
sounds at first. It sounds a little.
You're saying,
say-
and saying ceilings Giannis, automatically I take everything he's ever accomplished. You're telling me that he can accomplish or
Giannis
around Giannis level. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
No, I never said he was going to be like a 2-time MVP and a finals thing and like that. It's just
But that's Giannis level of
his
play.
ceiling is he can be the best player on a championship team.
So different player. Give me a different player. Just give me anyone else,
Just he gonna be Scotty.
and I could sit with that. I
Actually,
can't sit with Giannis.
I'm gonna counter that with this question to you: what player in the NBA is similar to what Scotty brings athletically? The body, the stature, the skill set.
Don't laugh at me.
Don't laugh at me either.
Ben Simmons.
Kuminga.
I don't even see that. I don't see that. I don't see that. I think
Either
they're
one?
Simmons, I do. Yeah, for sure.
What
I do see
What about you said? Wait, what'd you say? Athleticism.
Body.
Athletic. So being 6'9" with the long wingspan, your long strides.
I thought you just said athleticism.
Because the only person that mirrors Scotty, I mean, is Giannis in terms of that athletic build and what they can do. Their long strides, their long arms. That's what he mirrors him.
I could see Ben Simmons a little bit.
I think Jalen Green is the best scorer in the draft because you started breaking down like different aspects of the game. So you said playmaker, I give it to Cade, definitely. Defender, I'd probably say Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley or Scotty Barnes has been consistently the best defender.
I would say Mobley. He's kind of like generational.
Right.
Yeah, Mobley's been crazy defensive.
What are the aspects of the game? Rebounding, probably Evan Mobley, right? With all that said,
Playmaking, Josh Giddey.
yeah,
He can't score the way that Cade does.
Talking about playmaking.
Exactly, but you've told me that you take them together,
Without
Cade or
Shea,
Josh
Giddey
Giddey?
averaged 16, 8, and 8.
and even still, Cade's averaging the most points out of rookies
He's averaging 17, and Giddey averaged 16, 8, and 8
when Shea was in a short sample size.
No, it's actually a big enough sample size to see that he can do it at a consistent level. He dropped a 29-point triple-double on the Knicks.
I'm not saying that
I saw it
Cade's not
firsthand.
awesome.
I still think Cade is the best scorer in this draft.
I mean, scorer, but we're talking about playmaking. Giddey's a better playmaker than Cade.
I agree.
Yeah.
But after Giddey, it's Cade. I think Giddey is the best playmaker. Though.
I better Davion Mitchell. I'm playing.
I like Davion, but yeah,
He's a backup point guard.
yeah, no,
That's what he is.
don't look at me like that. I'm not about to say he's an all-star. He's just a good player. He's gonna be a good NBA player.
I think he could be a back. I don't think nothing wrong with being a backup point guard. Not even like I'm that
I know you for years. You hiding that smile. Look, see, it just came out.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a backup point guard, bro. I just think, like, I don't know, like these three are so different, and it's the situations are really gonna matter.
They are really different.
Scotty in Toronto being able to play with Fred, being able to play with Pascal. He got Nick Nurse. That's gonna be huge. Evan Mobley being able to have a point guard in Darius Garland. Like Cade is the only one who hasn't really had that type of guidance in other. Like really
He's
good.
got Sadiq Bey and Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, he's learning with. Like they're learning with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I have a question for you, Rip. Actually,
talk to me, boy.
Because you scoffed at the Giannis thing, but you have repeatedly compared Pat Will to Kawhi.
Because of his hands. There's a difference. I don't compare Pat Will and Kawhi games. I compare because of his.
Their games the games are similar too.
Yeah, but that's not why I do. I call
at
him,
least the looks of it, the aesthetic of it.
I call it because of the way he's built. He's physically built like Kawhi. His hands are like Kawhi. That's why we call him the.
It's like you can't even say that Scotty's built like Kawhi, like Giannis.
He is built like Giannis.
He's
like
just not 7 feet tall.
Exactly.
He's his long arms. He was built like Giannis coming in. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, Scotty already looks like Giannis in year 6 as a rookie.
He does not.
He does.
He does not.
Do you see Scotty? Have you seen the picture of him?
He's fake, swole like Scotty.
He's a big.
Scotty
he's
6'9".
Giannis came in like 6'8".
Year 6. He said already like year 6 Giannis. That's cap.
Well, Scotty's 20, so he hasn't gotten developed into that.
For sure.
You know.
He's got time,
but he already has an NBA body, like something that players aspire to have.
Yeah, he has an NBA body.
He had that in college.
He has an NBA body. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, in college, that was the thing about him. He had a great body already, NBA built, NBA ready. As simple as that.
25, 13, and 6, you could see?
I could see Scotty doing that.
Okay.
Especially learning in Toronto's development, bro.
I could dig it.
Do we not see that?
I could dig it.
With Toronto's development?
I'm not going to say I was wrong about Suggs, but I was definitely wrong about him being...
You had him rookie of the year?
Yeah.
That was a nut take.
Was it really, though?
No, he was. He's not. He might not make an all.
He just plays.
Team.
He plays.
No, he actually won't make an all rookie team.
He won't. He plays too fast, and he plays too much like he needs to do everything. That's his problem.
And he has no jump shot.
None.
Where did Suggs go? Gonzaga, right?
Yep.
He was bugging that year, bro.
He
was 11 points.
Bro, they won how many games?
Hey, you said he was bugging.
He was literally the focal point of that offense, though.
How many points he averaged?
I mean, bro, it's college basketball we're talking about.
Drew Timme was the focal point, but I hear you.
True.
Drew Timmy's been a focal point for like 2-3 years now.
He's pretty much a dog.
Jalen Suggs made it go.
Made what go?
That whole team.
Yeah, he was a point guard. Good point guard. Now look at him. He won't make it.
He's Eric Bledsoe.
He was great at Gonzaga.
He was good.
He was great.
Prime Eric Bledsoe.
Yo, I hate when you say shit like this.
The Suns, Eric Bledsoe?
He loves to say that. he loves that Bledsoe, Jalen Suggs thing.
Because you guys are going to see it like a couple years from now and be like, wow, he was so right about that.
Or I'm going to see it from now and be like, yo, where's Joel? So I can go find him and tell him he was so wrong about that.
That's how I was right about Giddey, too.
What about Giddey? You said he was going to be an all-star.
He can be. He will definitely be one.
So we'll see.
He got a lot of Luka in this game, bro. Playmaking-wise, he definitely does.
I don't know. Cade is Luka, bro. Luka, Paul Pierce, like, bro.
Cade is more Tatum than Luka.
I don't even see that.
I disagree.
Yeah, like
I see a lot of Paul Pierce in Cade games.
I do
bro.
too.
Like,
Yo, it's weird.
Like the scoring, I see so
just
much.
Just the way he attacks the game, I see that too.
Like,
but it's like his playmaking can't allow me to call him Paul Pierce.
Yeah, his playmaking is just better. But I understand
that's why I say Luka, Paul Pierce. Like, it's like
Tatum. I don't hate. I don't hate it.
I see I'm gonna watch more. I don't know.
I see it. I see it.
I don't know if I see it.
The thing with Tatum is that his post game is just so spectacular.
I don't know if I'm
Cade posts up a lot too.
No, I know, but it's just that Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I don't know if I'm being blind to see it or if I just can't. Maybe I just can't.
It's because you have a certain
love
image.
and admiration.
No, it's not that.
I have a fixated view.
You have a view of Cade as a scorer plus playmaker, and you don't view Tatum as plus playmaker. So I'm viewing as a scoring sense.
Do you think
he's an average?
He's been getting better as time's gone on, especially this season.
He gets better at a lot of things. I need him to be consistent.
He is. Whoa.
I need him to be consistent.
Take it easy.
I know you've been watching the NBA, Ruben.
Exactly. Come on.
What do you mean?
He's been amazing.
He hasn't been consistent with his playmaking. He just
Okay.
got better.
All right.
He just got better.
All right.
That's a fact.
All right. I'm fine with that.
What did he have this year? 4 times? 5?
Yeah, 4.
He has to get better. I don't care about I'm talking about eye test. He has to get consistent with it.
He makes the right plays. And
he has been.
And
the
that
fact
in
that
itself,
him and Jaylen Brown have been able to split as well as they have as well.
I mean, you guys like to be nice.
Those guys make the right play.
I like to see it for a year stretch.
They're not dot you up guys, dime
you
up.
You don't
but
like
they make the right
you don't
plays,
like to
though.
project. You're not a projector.
I really don't like.
I would love to see you project here and there.
So what do you want me to project? I really don't like.
I don't know. You just
I
gotta-
don't like
projecting
to,
is guessing.
I don't like to see something for 2 months and then say, "Oh, he can do it."
Projecting
like
is an educated guess. You can project certain things. I want to see you do that more. Can you do that for me?
Okay.
All right, sweet. Good looks.
I like that.
Okay.
That's it.
On to the last topic of the show.
4.4.
Donovan Mitchell. Should he request out of Utah? Do you think it's time? What do you think is wrong with the Utah Jazz? They blew a 20-point lead to the Warriors. Mitchell was 0 for 4 in the fourth. The Clippers had a 25-point comeback win against them, not too far off from now.
Paul George. Sorry.
Yeah. So what's happening in Utah? What's happening with Donovan Mitchell? It feels like people are on both sides of the spectrum. They're either on Gobert's side, on Mitchell's side. There's a lot of stuff coming out of Utah right now.
Well, let's hear from you because, right, you have them going to the Western Conference Finals.
You have Utah going to the WCF?
That's it. You know what? I realize that's what we got to start doing now as a collective. Call out these guys for their takes.
I did. I don't shy away from
Tell me
what I
you
say.
changed your
Neither
mind.
do I.
Huh?
Tell me you changed your mind.
You know I can't change my mind. I would knock my morals. You know that.
Come on,
You know, I
don't
gotta
play
stand
with them.
on
I
that.
respect it. I
I
respect
gotta
that.
stand on that. So they are going to the WCF, but they're imploding. They're definitely imploding, and I don't think anybody should knock on Donovan's side or on Gobert's side. It should be on both of them. Honestly, I think
Respect.
being as the stars of the team, being as the leaders, Donovan Mitchell. And, you know, I was watching the Warriors game. Donovan Mitchell misses Gobert a lot. Like I looked at, it was this fun stat I tweeted like 2-3 hours ago. Donovan Mitchell averages 2 passes per game to Rudy Gobert. 2. The game is 48 minutes.
What are you passing him the ball for?
I mean, if you get a screen and Rudy Gobert has Jordan Poole on you,
Yeah, you
and
gotta
he
give him the
has
ball.
him sealed
Give him the
under
ball.
the basket.
He had Klay Thompson sealed last game.
He's having multiple. He's 7-3. I'm sorry.
I'm scared what he's going to do with it.
I don't. You have to make the right basketball play. Like you as a like if I'm a 7-3 player and you pass me the ball down low, if I mess up, it's not your fault. It's literally not. You made the right basketball
Gobert
play.
shoots 70% from the field this
So
year.
it's like Donovan Mitchell, he misses them a lot. I don't know what their friction is, like if it's beef or not, but the team is obviously imploding. Quinn Snyder seems like he doesn't know what he's doing anymore, and he's a great coach.
Can Spider win a championship there?
No, I think he should go to Miami.
Then that's the answer. I mean, if Donovan Mitchell wants to win, he goes.
And I think Rudy Gobert should go to Toronto.
He just signed this contract, though. Like, that's the thing that bothers me.
Listen, I think the Jazz situation is easy to dissect. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert don't like each other. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that.
I think Donovan doesn't like Rudy. I
What
don't think
started
Rudy doesn't like Donovan.
I think it's both.
It was COVID.
I think so too.
COVID started it.
I think it's both. I mean, the reason why it's not even just Donovan. I think Jazz players don't connect with Rudy because he calls guys out all the time.
Respect.
He got quoted
What's
saying
wrong
this.
with that?
I
I'll
respect it.
say what's wrong with that in a bit. He
Oh,
said,
okay.
we get disconnected, we stop playing, we lose the values of this team, which is moving the ball, Gobert said. And that really affects our defense. It's like everything flows, and then it flows the wrong way, and we get disconnected more and more. And then he said, we're a good basketball team, but we are not being as physical as we can be. It's a physical game, but we have to get to the point where we do that more to the other team than to us. Rudy Gobert, when he's saying they're not moving the ball, is talking about Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell in the post game when they lost to the Clippers, he said all the finger pointing is childish, which means that he is directly responding to Gobert and saying, this guy keeps talking about our team. I think it's childish. The problem with Utah is that they don't have a leader. Rudy Gobert is too childish and too much of a loose personality to be a leader. The COVID incident alone proves that he's not a leader. And Donovan Mitchell is not, he's the one that's supposed to be holding people accountable. He's not doing that. He's just saying, we'll figure it out. Let's not point fingers. Let's not do this. He's not a leader. And I feel like we've gotten to the point that Donovan Mitchell has plateaued. He's plateaued as a player. And he's young, so it sounds insane. I don't trust in a 6'1" guard to be the best player on a championship team. Donovan Mitchell will never be the best player on a championship team. Last year, when Shaq said to Mitchell that he's not good enough to do it, he was 100% right. And the entire world overreacted to that statement. Because Mitchell succeeded so much as a rookie, and in his first couple of seasons, he has lifted the standard to what we expect from him. And I don't think he will ever get to a higher standard. He will never break those barriers because I don't view Donovan Mitchell as a top 10 barely cracking in the top 15 of best players in the NBA. I don't think he can be the best player on a championship team. That's why Utah has to move on from him. Him and Rudy Gobert are awful fits. And Miami, it sounds nice. It really does. But are you trading Jimmy? Are you replacing Jimmy with Donovan Mitchell? You know, how far does that really take them?
Tyler Hero?
I'm not sure. Does he go to the Knicks? The Knicks are the one rumored destination. What will Mitchell do in New York? What is he doing on
Nothing.
the Knicks?
There's not many people that can go into New York right now with your current roster and is doing much.
Mitchell, I believe is plateaued. And I think Rudy Gobert, if both these players get traded, will have more team success in the future. I think Rudy Gobert goes to Dallas. It makes the Mavericks a contender for real.
I really don't understand how you can say Donovan has plateaued and when he's ever done in the playoffs is consistently get better, be that guy for them down the stretch, and his team is consistently
It's too early
folded
to say plateau.
on him. I think if you,
And it hasn't resulted to anything.
but I don't think that's
And
his
it's not
fault.
a direct correlation to him.
It's really not.
Perimeter
shot bad a
defense,
couple
definitely him. He's somebody.
That's the fairest point you could have.
No, I
That's
agree.
it.
I think
And the reason I say plateaued is because when he was behind Ben Simmons in Rookie of the Year voting, when he went on these awesome playoff runs and eliminated Westbrook, we held Mitchell to such a high standard. Shooting guards have passed him. We once didn't have Devin Booker over Mitchell. He's over him now. Zach LaVine is a playoff run away from being over Mitchell now. Guys are starting to pass Donovan Mitchell.
Devin Booker has gotten past him because they've built a pretty great team.
Say it with your
around him.
chest out. Devin Booker.
No, it's a fact.
Best shooting
Devin
guard
Booker has gotten past him because
in NBA.
And I don't know, like that's just I don't know, like because not saying
Best
he's
shooting guard.
plateaued is it does sound crazy, but
Can he be the best player on a championship team?
Donovan Mitchell?
I'll tell you this.
I
If
think so.
Utah had better wing defenders,
Yeah.
that Utah Jazz team could have gone to the
I'm
finals.
telling
last
you, if
year.
you put
And
him,
how does that happen
if you
when
put-
Mitchell's getting paid that much?
if you
And Gobert.
if you can get him to Miami and they're
Look at
able
the
to keep
Suns.
Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they're championship contenders in the East.
I just
But
look-
he's not the best player on the championship team at that point.
He's better than Jimmy. He's just not the leader that Jimmy is. Donovan
I
Mitchell
don't
is
agree.
better than
I don't-
Jimmy Butler.
I don't agree with
He
that.
just isn't the leader.
I don't agree with
Jimmy
that by
is.
an inch.
I mean,
it's a
we could go back and forth.
I mean, you're gonna look at Jimmy's like statistics, like threes.
No, I wasn't
or,
even
like,
gonna look at it. I just think
but, like,
Donovan's a better.
when it's
he's
come
a
time to
better-
ball. Like
when it comes down to ball, what?
When it comes time
Exactly.
to-
Nah.
when it comes down
When
to
it comes
ball,
down
what?
to
When it
ball,
comes down
you
to ball,
gotta
what?
go Donovan.
I'm going Jimmy
However,
Butler.
Defense.
You don't want to win.
And
You don't want to win. You don't want to win.
who are you going with? Come time to ball.
Mitchell is the better player, and that's because Butler
He
is
is.
on a downtrend right now.
And it's
But
because of
Butler
injuries.
has proven he can be the best player that takes the team to the finals.
And one thing we have to continue to remember, he's had 5 ankle sprains this season. 5 ankle
His jump
sprains.
shot has
is-
been declining.
No, but that's not. No, it's never been really great. Never been good. Barely good, honestly.
So
He
it
was-
was.
he
He
was an
shot
average shooter
37% from three.
in
Was
Chicago.
that in
Early.
Chicago?
He was an average shooter in
Mhm, mhm.
Chicago. He was a good shooter.
What I'm saying is that I don't view Donovan Mitchell as a superstar level player. I don't think he doesn't have the intangibles to be a leader either. And you mentioned that point about the Suns. The Suns got very fortunate with good management at the perfect time because they drafted Devin Booker. They drafted Mikal Bridges. They drafted Cameron Johnson. They drafted DeAndre Ayton.
That's my
Chris
point.
Paul came in. The Utah Jazz don't have the luxury, I guess, of drafting that high in the draft year in year
Not
out.
anymore, at least.
They have to find gems, and they spent a second-round pick on a Jared Butler
I mean,
when
they
they
did
could have
find
been.
gems.
They did
It
find
could have been a
gems.
Herb Jones.
Gobert was a gem. Mitchell
was a
essentially
gem.
a gem. So
No,
they did some-
essentially, he's a gem.
They did
Easily.
find some gems. I don't know.
I just
Mitchell's a
don't
lottery
see.
pick, though.
Yeah, but he wasn't supposed to be that great, especially
But
year one.
Mitchell is a player
Booker
who
wasn't a lottery pick.
No, he was.
Okay, that's my point, though.
Mitchell just
No, but
made
I mean,
the All-Star game for the first time last season. He's never been an All-NBA performer, I don't believe. He hasn't made an All-NBA team.
Devin Booker hasn't either, though.
but he'll make it this year.
But you can't just because they haven't done it. Don't mean they haven't played at that level.
Yeah, but in
think
one
that's unfair to say.
playoff run, Devin Booker has already accomplished more than Donovan Mitchell
Devin
has.
Booker wasn't an All NBA player last year.
I don't think so. No. Neither the 1 seed and the 2
Who was
seed.
above him?
They weren't in. I don't think.
I'll
Maybe
look
Booker
it up.
might have made it, but they both were one. Utah was 1. Denver, Phoenix was 2.
So Mitchell, no, he's a 3-time All-Star, no All-NBAs. It's just I worry about
That's
how far my team
disrespectful.
can go with Donovan Mitchell. I think, and in that case, I think he's plateaued because we had such a
That's disrespectful.
high roller coaster ride with Donovan Mitchell early in his career. And now it kind of just feels like it's stalemating.
Yeah. The All-NBA team, first team, Giannis, Steph, Luka, Jokic, Kawhi. Second team was Joel Embiid, LeBron, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Julius Randle. Third team was Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Rudy Gobert, and Kyrie Irving.
Makes no sense.
Neither of those guys made it. So I don't know.
Rudy did. Crazy.
Do you think the Jazz blow it up and trade Rudy and Mitchell?
I mean, if you want to,
They're giving a lot of money to Gobert, like an absurd amount.
send him over to Chicago, man. Send Rudy over here.
Rudy would be crazy with
Send Rudy
y'all.
over here, please.
You know what I think Utah is
Yo.
missing? Just like wing stoppers.
Ben Simmons.
That's
That's all
it.
they're missing. If they would have drafted Herb Jones, they would have been good.
Yeah.
They needed to look at my draft board.
So if they get wing stoppers, do you
They
think Donovan
should've.
can be the best player?
Yes.
It makes their chances significantly better.
If you replaced Donovan Mitchell with Booker, they're in the same position.
No.
No. They go to the finals.
Exactly.
Who goes to the finals?
Utah.
Oh, you're bugging. You're bugging. Respectfully.
Dead serious.
Respectfully. No. Because then the same thing happens. Gobert's getting exposed.
You that serious?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
What? And
No, why? All jokes aside.
no, but
can you
let's
explain that?
let's go to the regular question.
Trust Devin Booker.
Devin Booker doesn't fix their problems though.
Yes, he does.
How?
Second in defensive rating amongst guards.
Thank you.
With Chris Paul.
What was I saying last time I was up
But didn't you
here?
say defensive rating was a team?
These
stat?
players. No.
It
Hold
is,
on.
but
Before
it's
you answer that,
flawed, but it's not
bro,
a
this is
horrible
what I was
stat
trying
sheet.
to
But
say.
I don't like
no,
that.
but this is what I was trying to say.
Let me-
Hold on.
go ahead.
Before you go into it,
No, yeah.
these great offensive players that we give their praises on offense.
Like who?
Okay. Like one right there, Devin Booker. Another one who's underrated defender, DeMar DeRozan. We don't give him credit. You hear the name. You go,
What did you just say?
right. You hear the name and go, what did you say?
I'm saying I watch games. What did you just say?
DeMar DeRozan
Is
is
a
an
what?
underrated defender.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. I'm not.
I don't even think he's.
He makes guys work. Riv, you're telling me he doesn't?
You know what? I can't call somebody a good defender if they take plays off.
That makes no sense because
So
Kawhi's
LeBron-
not a good defender.
No, Kawhi's a good. Even
Kawhi
when he-
has taken
when
multiple
Kawhi,
plays
When Kawhi
off.
takes plays off, he's still a good defender. I'm talking about DeMar takes plays off. He becomes putrid. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't
because he
get
has to
into
turn
that.
around and be that guy.
Nah, he doesn't have to be that guy.
For y'all, he needs to be that guy.
He can take some plays off on offense. He has
No,
Zach right there.
no,
he can.
but
he
there's-
can literally
but
take
how many
plays
games
off
has
offense.
Zach
Why did they go get DeMar?
Obviously, to build that
Add
two
more-
man
and
duo,
more
but in
offense,
the
and
regular
more-
season,
correct.
he can take plays off on offense and work on defense. He can do that.
I want to
But
know your guys' picks.
Wait, no, I do
for-
want to keep
But-
going on that point. If you replace Devin Booker with
I would like to. 'cause
Mitchell.
I feel like Chris Paul has benefited
Actually, I
Devin Booker
misspoke.
so much.
the Suns make the finals still.
Yes, I
but
agree.
Mitchell worsens their defense and playmaking. Mitchell's not a good playmaker.
the playmaking, 100%.
You don't
That
think
was
Chris
the only
Paul
thing I was
helps him
going to
with that,
say.
though?
No.
Facts.
I don't
Y'all,
know.
y'all really are
He's
like,
6'1". He can't pass over defenses.
yeah, but I
Oh
feel like
my
y'all really are
God.
like not forgetting that Chris Paul really benefits guys, bro. Like he really helps guys
But
get
the one
better.
thing we can say when Chris Paul was out, Booker really stepped up in the playmaking department.
No, I understand that, but that's because Chris Paul was already there. He helped him in that
Develop.
department.
For sure.
In that development.
I
feel
agree.
like Chris Paul, Mike Conley isn't that guy.
Yeah.
He's not a Chris
He's
Paul.
not.
Chris Paul can definitely aid Donovan Mitchell. You put Devin Booker on
Mike
Utah.
Conley has
There are
been
problems
bucked
on the
this season,
perimeter.
too.
Devin Booker is not a stopper. He's a good defender, but he's not a stopper. You're not telling Devin Booker, go stop this guy all game. And that's why Utah will still have a problem because you cannot
I want
do
to
that,
finish
bro.
with this though.
Mm-hmm.
For one, you're right about the wing defenders going to
I
Utah,
was
but
about to poke holes in that. So crazy.
I don't think a guy like Herb Jones changes Utah's trajectory too much.
It doesn't.
Like
It helps a little bit.
It helps a little bit. You're
The
right.
thing about the Suns, they have the depth at the wing position defensively.
Michael
100%.
Bridges is an
one
elite
person,
defender.
one person can't change a unit. Four guys potentially could.
Let's just go under the assumption
Potentially,
that
they definitely do.
Let's go under the assumption that Utah Jazz, they will trade away Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert this summer. What's the best team fits for both those guys? I'll start with Donovan Mitchell for you.
For
Rick.
me, it's Miami. If he wants to win, if they're able to keep Jimmy and Bam, I think that would be the spot where he can get he can be more competitive and possibly get to a championship.
Man.
You gonna say LA?
No, we can't. I guess I want to say Dallas because he doesn't necessarily have to have the ball in his hands at all times. Him and Luka could feed off one another. You really add another scoring option to that squad. They really get nasty there. I feel like I guess Dallas, but I don't know what assets they would use to acquire him.
What's so funny?
No, I'm just laughing.
You guys get ready for my answer?
Yes.
I think Donovan Mitchell's best landing spot, if they could somehow, would be Cleveland.
You want 2, not 1.
Yeah,
But 2,
they
6'3" and under guards
exactly.
in the backcourt.
Sexton makes that tough.
Okay, Damon, CJ.
No, but
So-
Sexton probably be
Sexton-
included in that
this
trade.
is what you-
this is-
No,
okay,
no,
Sexton's
he's,
gone.
but that's what I'm saying. He's
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm
had to
assuming.
break this up. I had to break this down last time I was here for this.
Do it
guy.
for me.
Okay. Anytime you have a great scorer who's primary ball handler on the team, he is not going to flourish the way he will if he had somebody there to unlock him. Now, Mike Conley, you just told me, isn't that guy.
Yep.
But I guarantee you, Devin Booker's whole career, he was struggling with winning games because he didn't have a floor general or somebody to unlock him. Now, with that being said, if Donovan Mitchell went to a backcourt with a young floor general that can create his own shot, that's unlocking Donovan Mitchell to take away some of this
6'1".
offensive
But
ability.
that's why I say Dallas
Where's
is a perfect
but
option.
I think you're forgetting the other side of the ball. You forgot that, didn't you? I think
Not
you
really,
did
because
forget-
Cleveland's a good defensive team and they make up for his defensive lapses.
Who makes up for Garland?
No, you got Mobley, you got Twin Towers down there, you got Allen and
And then you got
Mobley
Laurie
down
at the
there.
3, right?
They really do play Laurie at the 3, which makes no sense, but they do it. I mean,
I just think that's
They
too
do
small.
play a big lineup.
I think that's too small.
Now, but you can have small guards if you have if you
Right
have,
now they play Garland, Okoro,
Yep.
Laurie, and then
Okoro's
the
a good
Twin Towers.
defender.
That's what I'm saying. Look how big the lineup. That's why they suffocate you because they're so big.
Okoro's a good
But-
defender, though.
But now you're plugging them
No,
out.
he's really
and you're,
good.
And you're putting.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But now you're putting in Darius, Donovan, and Laurie or Okoro is gonna go.
You're
Who's
not
going
with
to guard that?
Yeah, but I'll be
Who's
honest.
gonna, who are
that's
they
kinda
going to
nice.
guard? That's like, why do we forget the other side of the ball?
Facts.
Devin Booker's now not a liability. Like, he's a good defender. So now Chris Paul and Devin Booker are good defenders, bro. So it's like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like now they're both good defenders, so you can't really
Thank you,
pick on
bro.
one of them. You can't. But now you have Garland and Mitchell. Pick your poison. You do whatever you want to do. That's why I was like, Cleveland.
I don't think
know.
Mitchell is terrible defensively.
He's just small.
He's
I
not
feel, like
think-
Joel's, I feel like Joel's about to say something that contradicts what I just said.
I think it's a long shot, but it would be very fun to see Donovan Mitchell in Orlando.
all
does
that
nothing.
defense
That does nothing.
with all that defense around him, like Franz.
Yeah, I just
Isaac.
think a lineup like if you still believe in Suggs, then Suggs, Mitchell, Franz, Wendell, if they get a Chet, could be very fun to watch. Right now, they just need a go-to scorer. They're a really good defensive team.
That team doesn't win more than 40 games.
They're a playoff team in the East, for sure.
They just all continue to get better. They'll have.
But I
another
like
pick.
the Miami one, but I don't think I think Butler would have to go.
I think Harrow's can go. Harrow,
Duncan,
Robinson,
facts.
and then somebody else.
Gobert and Golden State would be unfair.
What the? We get
Yo, that
Gobert
would
and
be
Golden
nuts.
State would be unfair.
That
That's
would
why
be,
I think
that would be.
Rudy Gobert makes so much more
Teams
teams
unfair.
contenders.
Or not-
I think
yeah,
he makes the Mavericks
contenders,
contenders, the Bulls he makes contenders. Golden State, I mean, they're unfair at that point if he
swing
goes
them over.
there.
But who we have to give up though?
Moody gone. Kaminga probably.
Kuminga probably
I'm
has
not
to be
doing
in
it.
that.
I'm not doing it.
As long as you don't touch Poole.
We have to touch somebody with money. So Wiggins,
Toronto, if he goes to Toronto.
I think Toronto for Gobert for me is Toronto,
No.
Chicago.
I like Chicago a lot.
I don't think Chicago. I mean, I don't think Toronto has to make any changes.
The
for
Hornets?
Toronto, look at that. Think about that 5-man lineup.
You don't think the Hornets
I
are
don't-
Rudy
Yes.
Gobert away from taking that
Yes.
next step?
The who?
The
Hornets.
No.
Yes, bro.
But
They
no,
need a big
you know what?
desperately.
But wouldn't
Oh.
it be the same thing as Utah? None of them
Utah.
play defense.
Right.
So it's like
It would be the
Gobert's
same
just
thing.
Right.
now I gotta help
But
you
LaMelo's
guys.
going to pass you the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
LaMelo's going to
I mean,
do what he does.
offensively, but defensively, it's like he brings them from 30th to 28th.
Rudy can average like 20 and 15 if he's with the point guard that passes.
He averages 12.
He can average 20.
You think he can get 20?
If y'all got Rudy, I would be
Nah, I'm
I
guessing.
think that if you
I'm
want to
not-
win, son,
either y'all or Golden
He doesn't
State.
average 12.
I know it's-
averages 15.
Really?
15 and 15.
Gives me a 12 type of vibe.
Rudy Gobert is 15 and 15.
Okay, 15
70% from the field.
Send him
Still
to Chicago.
can't
If
hit
he
a jump
wants to
shot.
win, Chicago is the vibe, bro.
That's going to do it for episode 168 of the Pick Aside Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram
Good
and on
episode, boys.
TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast, on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod. Thank you guys for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.